"You're just trash. The only thing you're good for is bait." Those were the last words Lee Haoran heard before his captain threw him into the jaws of a level 5 titan snake to save his own skin. But where others found death, he found destiny, awakening the blood demon god system, a forbidden power that allows him to siphon stats and skills through the blood and absolute loyalty of his conquests. Rising from the ashes as a legendary predator, he binds succubi, ice queens, and beast matriarchs to his soul, slaughtering the elites who mocked him and turning their armies into dust. Now standing amidst the corpses of warlords, he faces a supreme sorceress and her world-ending thunder calamity to prove that he is no longer prey, he is the king. At City J, in a certain hospital, the main character is standing outside in the rain. His name is Lee Haoran and he's just an ordinary person. When he was 6, his parents died in a battle between the evolved and mutant beasts. Since then, his sister and he was passed from one relative to another, growing up in a cold and harsh environment, but misfortune never comes alone. The mutant disease is a special ailment caused by mutant beasts. Some people just can't resist the energy from interdimensional beings and are gradually corroded by it until their bodies become paralyzed and they eventually die. The erosion process varies from person to person. It can take between 3 to 5 days or even extend to 7 or 8 years. However, no matter how long it takes, anyone afflicted with the mutant disease has no chance of survival. Facing imminent death, he had lost all hope, but for his sister, and to fulfill his mother's wish, he must fight to stay alive. A few days later, on the outskirts of City J, the leader of a group asks if everyone's here. He will explain the mission for this hunt. A few days ago, it was reported that dozens of level 1 mutant beasts were present in this area attacking residents. Their mission is to infiltrate their nests and exterminate them completely. For their team, level 1 beast pose no threat. He's Chen Zijian's skill, lightning wind, and evolution superior steel. Chen asks if they follow his orders, then they will complete the mission without any problems. If there are no questions, then they will depart immediately. His teammate says let's go because his fist can't wait any longer. Chen then tells Lee he's the only one on the team who hasn't evolved. As a carrier, does he understand his responsibility? Lee agrees as he's holding up a bag. He thinks for an ordinary human, the only way to join a hunting squad is as a carrier. He don't need to fight, and he only has to follow the team to ensure the supply provisions. After the battle, he will also be in charge of collecting the valuable materials from the beasts while telling him not to worry because it's not the first time he has done this. Afterwards, Chen and his teammates are defeating the beasts one after another when Lee thinks it seems like the hunt is going quite well. It shouldn't take much time to finish. Ordinary humans and the evolved are worlds apart. Suddenly, he feels the ground shaking when he gets surprised thinking level 1 beast couldn't cause this kind of disturbance. There's something much more dangerous here. Just then, the ground breaks and a level 5 mutant beast, Titan Snake, appears before them. Looking at it all, the team members get scared, saying they have seen this creature on television. It's a level 5 mutant beast. The information said that there were only level 1 beasts here, so this is completely beyond their capabilities. Just then, Lee asks everyone, what are they waiting for? Run. If they stay there, then they will die. Hearing him, everyone starts running, saying they almost fell into absolute terror at that thing, but thankfully someone shouted, which made them react. The other says that thing is too damn big and it's too fast, they won't be able to escape. They need a bait. He says snakes stop when they have something to eat. Just then, Chen says they have a bait. All of a sudden, Chen appears in front of Lee. Looking at him, Lee gets surprised, but just then Chen attacks him. Lee gets shocked, asking why, what does this mean? Chen then grabs him by his throat, saying on their team, he's the only one without any combat ability. He's the least valuable, so he's the best option for bait. He read his file and found that he was diagnosed with the mutant disease not long ago. Anyway, he doesn't have much time left to live, so before he dies, why not do something useful for them? He then throws Lee towards the snake, telling him he just have to blame himself for being too weak. Lee falls on the ground and starts breathing heavily. The snake rushes at him when Lee thinks if this is his end. He remembers his mother's words as she told him she won't be able to take care of him anymore. He must promise her something, that no matter what happens, he must take care of his sister and he must stay strong and survive. Just then a portal appears beneath him and a beam of light appears. As the light fades away, Lee is standing there thinking what's happening. He should be dead, but why is he here? The wounds on his body have disappeared and this clothing, wondering if it was because of that red light he saw before dying. He then hears people talking about him, saying he's a man. Nico has managed to summon a man. Who would have thought that the old scroll would actually work? They got lucky this time, as it's been a long time since they have seen such a perfect man. A group of succubus are standing in front of him, saying their blood is already boiling and they are so excited. Besides, he's emanating an incredible magical aura. Such a charming being, they wonder what it will be like to play with him. Lee looks at them thinking what's going on here and why are there so many succubi? Besides, can't they see this right in front of him? A system is present in front of him showing him his stats. A succubus is standing beside him as she tells him she's the one who used an ancient summoning circle to bring him here. When it was activated, the heavens and the earth trembled and an incredibly powerful magic emerged from the ritual. They were extremely scared. She's a level 3 mutant beast succubus, Nico. Nico says if it has caused such a commotion, then he must be incredibly strong. She then swears absolute loyalty to him for all eternity and that she will never betray him. Lee thinks first follower. She just swore loyalty to him and a notification already popped up. He clicks on the notification. Nico's stats appear in front of him when the system tells him when a follower's affinity reaches 100%, then they can be added to the harem and a mysterious reward will be granted. It was at that moment that Haoran finally understood he has been reborn thanks to this thing before him. He had acquired a power even greater than that of the evolved, the blood demon god system. This time he finally has the means to take revenge. As he was thinking that, Nico gets close to him asking what's wrong with him. Why does he look so excited and why is he touching the air? Is it because he has slept for too long and feels uncomfortable, so does he wants to move a little? He agrees, telling her he wants to move a bit when he says if he really needs to touch something, then please touch her body. If her body can help him relax, then it will be an honor for her. Even though this is her first time, she will do everything she can to please him. Looking at her, the other succubi says this kind of thing should be left to them. How shameless, let them take the lead. Just then Lee tells Nico he has no intention of taking advantage of her, so hold on. He asks if all succubus are this eager. Just then the system tells him Nico's affinity has dropped to 85%. Nico asks what's happening. Does her body not interest him? Lee says no, he shouldn't say that. Affinity is supposed to be a key function of the system, so if he wants to take revenge, then he must use the power of the system. He has to do something. He must maximize his affinity with all of them. He tells Nico it seems that she has misunderstood him. She's beautiful. All of them are beautiful, but he has never seen a woman as special as her. Nico asks really while her affinity increases to 90%. She says if he keeps talking like that, then he will make her feel embarrassed. He says but he has just been summoned by her and he hasn't adapted yet, so he needs energy. She asks energy, telling him since he's the blood demon god, then as long as he has blood, he can recover energy. She then shows him her neck, asking him to drink as much as he wants from her. It's an honor that her blood flows within him. Just then Lee thinks what's happening to him and why does he feel so much anxiety inside? Is it the natural instinct of his vampire lineage? It seems he can't control himself. His fangs come out and he bites Nico on her neck. He starts sucking her blood when her affinity increases to 92%. She thinks it's incredible as now she's completely united with her master. The system tells him he has acquired a new skill, blood fusion, and strength has also increased by 1. After drinking blood, he thinks a new skill, so it works like this too. Let him see what it's all about. Blood fusion is a passive skill. When absorbing a woman's fresh blood, he will randomly gain an attribute point. Each target can only trigger this affect once. He thinks a skill that grants attribute points without needing to level up. Even though the points are granted randomly, if he has enough targets, then he can gain a considerable amount of attributes. This skill is incredibly powerful. He then calls Nico when she says here she is. He tells her he needs more blood. She tells him to let's keep going. He can drink as much as he wants from her when he disagrees, telling her not just her blood, but he needs the blood of the others too, women's blood. The more the better. Hearing this, all the other succubus gets excited, asking if this is a new kind of game. Lee says if they have no objections, then come on all together. After that, he starts drinking blood of the others and keep gaining attribute points. The succubus says incredible. They have never experienced anything so thrilling. Even though the bite hurt a little, their heart is about to burst with excitement. It's as if their soul and the master's has a deep connection. It felt like they have reached enlightenment. Lee thinks every succubus here has activated blood fusion. Thanks to them, he has gained a huge amount of attributes, but he only bit their necks. Isn't their reaction a bit exaggerated? All of the succubus's affinity increases when he wonders if succubus have such sensitive bodies. At the succubus town, Nico walks inside the room telling Lee she's coming in. She says there were too many people outside a moment ago as she couldn't manage well. She then gets on the bed saying ever since he bit her, she has been obsessed with that feeling of sensation. Let's have a deeper connection now that it's just the two of them. He can give it his all. Let her become a real succubus tonight as she's going to get on top. Just then she feels something wrong, saying this sensation is too intense. She takes off the bedsheet and gets surprised to see a wooden log there. She says if he already found something more important than her. On the other hand, inside of a cemetery, Lee is standing there thinking even though his level is only 1, but after a whole day of absorbing blood, his attributes are already pretty solid. The most important thing now is to seize every real combat opportunity, so he must level up and then he will get revenge on that guy. This cemetery is filled with dark energy. Based on his experience with the hunting squads, places like this are usually inhabited by mutant beasts of the undead race. If he unleashes his magical energy, then he should be able to attract them. He unleashes his power thinking let him show them what he's capable of. Because of his power, the spirits wake up saying, says who is it? Who has disturbed their eternal rest? Level 1. Mutant Beasts. Faceless Spectre appears. They say he has disturbed their eternal rest, so die as they all rush towards Lee to attack. Lee hits one of them, saying the level 1. Mutant Beast is trying to kill him. He starts fighting the others and keeps on gaining experience. After defeating quite a few, the system tells him he has unlocked a new skill, Crimson Flash, that allows him to perform 2 short dashes within 5 seconds. After that, in the middle of the night, Lee is breathing heavily when he thinks if this is what it feels like to fight mutant beasts the way the evolved do. It feels incredible. The system tells him he has reached level 8, so please assign his attribute points. He thinks he's no longer that despised baggage carrier. For now, the attributes that benefit his combat the most are strength, endurance, and agility. He only needs to assign his points to strength and endurance. That should be a pretty reasonable distribution. Suddenly, the system gives him a danger warning telling him a level 2 mutant beast, Butcher, has appeared. Just as the beast was about to attack, Lee gets surprised but dodges the attack thinking level 2 mutant beast. Despite its enormous body, it's not slow at all, and there's another one. The faceless specters before appeared with their names in green, which meant they didn't pose a challenge, but the Butcher's name is in yellow. What does that mean? Does it mean it's a formidable enemy for him, but since fate has given him a second chance, no matter who stands in his way, he must defeat them? Afterwards, Lee is fighting with the Butcher as he hits him, thinking this thing is tough. There's no way he's hurting it with just fists and kicks. Lee then uses his ability Crimson Wine Burn, thinking that was close. These two cover each other well, which makes them a real pain to deal with. Luckily, he managed to grab a weapon from the Butcher's back earlier, so as long as he don't drag this into a prolonged fight, he would have enough power to take them down. The Butcher attacks him back, but he blocks its attack, saying he's not scared of him. He put 80% of his points into strength, and so if they go head-to-head, it's risky, but he can win. He blocks the attack and then disappears when the Butcher starts looking around. Just then, Lee asks where's he looking at, and then jumps up at him to attack, saying it's too late to react now. He stabs the Butcher on its head when the system tells him he leveled up. He says one monster actually made him level up twice in a row. No wonder fighting strong opponents is so addictive. The system tells him he has reached level 10. He has unlocked a new skill, Blood Prison Burial. It summons a blood swamp in the targeted area to slow the enemy and launches blood blades for heavy damage. The other beast roars when Lee asks what's wrong. Is he upset that his buddy died? He then says his name just turned green. He knows what that means. He's not a match for him anymore. He will send him to join him when the Butcher throws his weapon towards Lee. Lee dodges its attack quite easily, saying it's slowing down. He then says he may not have much combat experience, but as a porter, he has watched enough battles to know how this works. His strategy is too easy to wait, so let him finish him off with his new skill, Blood Prison Burial. Lee then kills the beast and levels up again. He says even though he already knew what this skill does, seeing it in action still sends chills down his spine. This skill is absolutely brutal. The system tells him he has earned a new title, Undead Slayer. Lee says even the title system is activated. System tells him when equipped, this title grants plus 5% damage against undead enemies. After that, Lee says that was risky, but making this much progress in a single day is totally worth it. He then checks his stats, saying at this rate, it won't be long before he catches up to Chen at the steel upper class level. Just as he was looking through his stats, the system tells him his daily quest has been generated, so please complete it promptly. He says what could it be, as there got to be a reward for completing it. The system says before the next sunrise, absorb fresh blood from at least one opposite character to trigger. Each opposite character can only trigger blood fusion once, and failure to complete this task will result in a random deduction of 5 attribute points. Lee says a task. Sucking a woman's blood every day. Is this just a vampire thing? And the penalty for failing is losing 5 attribute points. That's a terrible deal. He already drained all the succubus in the village yesterday, and now they hit him with this task. Isn't this just screwing him over? He's out here in the middle of nowhere. Where is he supposed to find another woman? Just then, he thinks who said there aren't any women left as he looks at the ghost specters. He thinks even though he already defeated them, they are technically a female ghost. A female ghost still counts as an opposite character, so this makes perfect sense. Her blood should work. Just as he drinks blood, the system tells him the target blood has rotted, so he's unable to trigger blood fusion. He says if it's because she's been dead for too long, but there are still plenty of faceless ghosts around here. One of them has to work. After that, he tries everyone but fails to trigger blood fusion. He then gets sad, saying it's probably because they are undead. Their blood wasn't fresh to begin with. This is all his fault for draining all the succubus blood yesterday as he got too greedy. He then unleashes his power, saying he needs some women. Where the hell is he supposed to find one out here? On the other hand, Nico is lying on his bed, saying even though Master isn't here, his scent still lingers on this bed. Lying here feels like being in his arms, so it's amazing. Suddenly, she gets a feeling, saying it's Master Haoran. She gets up quickly, saying he must need her right now. Meanwhile, elsewhere, 2 guys are sitting inside of a car when one of them says they have been searching all day and they still haven't found anything. Is he sure he didn't take a wrong turn? The other tells him yesterday there was a strange surge of magic. It only lasted a moment, but he's certain it came from this direction. That magic was unlike anything he has ever seen, so it must belong to some incredibly rare monster species. If they bring it back to the corporation, then they will definitely get promoted and earn a raise. The first one says he said it himself. It's rare, that means they know nothing about it. If they can't handle it, then they're in serious trouble. Just then a woman sitting behind says hesitating doesn't align with their company's fearless spirit. Is this how the corporation trained him? The guy apologizes to her, calling her leader. He says he's just worried because they haven't reported this yet. The lady tells him not to worry because she has got it covered with the corporation. With her here, nothing will happen to him. She's Great City Corporation, Evolution Squad leader, Polar Rose, Li Shuer. Shui says they are not the only one who sensed that magic surge. They need to move first and strike before anyone else does. Just as they were driving, Lee appears in front of the car. He looks at the car thinking humans. Could there be a woman inside that car? Both the guys gets out of the car, saying if this is the guy they are looking for. The other agrees, saying this is the magical signature they were tracking. It's an exact match, but the magic level is only around tier 2, not very strong. Lee gets angry thinking a man, judging by their setup they are obviously here to hunt him. Just then Zhu walks out of the car saying judging by his appearance he's probably a vampire-type monster, definitely rare. She's at the gold lower class level when she says it's too bad it's just a tier 2 monster not even worth her time. She asks her subordinates to handle it for her, stuff him in the trunk when they are done. Lee looks at her thinking a real woman, but she's a gold tier awakened. There's no way he can take her on because the red title proves it. Even her subordinates are way more than he can handle easily. He can't just sit here and wait to die when he uses his ability Crimson Curse and then appears behind Zhu. She gets surprised thinking why is he moving that fast when suddenly he holds her. She gets startled thinking what should she do? She has never been in such a situation before. Just then her subordinates asks him to get off their leader. What does he think he's doing to the leader? Zhu asks him what is he trying to do and what is his intention. Why is he holding on to her when Lee apologizes to her telling her he can't help himself? He smells her neck and then starts sucking her blood when the system tells him his daily quest is completed and his attributes have been increased. Sue says she has lived this long and not a single man has ever touched her body. She unleashes her power telling Lee not to go too far. Lee falls back and hits a tree asking too far. He doesn't think so at all. She's acting like she hates this. Sue says isn't that right? Not only did he touch her, but he even left this mark on her neck, which is unforgivable. The system tells him Shu's affection has increased to 30%. Shui says the only way to settle this is to freeze him into an ice sculpture. Lee smiles, saying a woman who says one thing but means another. He sees right through her. Shui gets surprised, asking how dare he spout nonsense. She's not saying one thing and meaning another. Lee thinks it looks like he guessed it right. If she doesn't truly want to kill him, then he might have a chance to escape. Just then Lee notices an attack coming at him, but suddenly Shui blocks the attack, asking what kind of a coward fights from the shadows. They should come out and face her properly. Two guys are standing in the shadows when one of them says, "What a fiery woman." There's no need to be so mad as they didn't mean any harm. They say she just seemed hesitant, so he figured he would help her make a decision. The other says since they both aren't planning to kill him, why not hand him over to their elite center? Lee looks at them thinking two more red tier opponents. A gold lower class, Yu Wen, and a gold upper class, Zheng Ji. He wonders why does everyone wants him dead today? Hearing that Zhue says they are people from the elite center, forget it. They from Red City Group were the first to find him. He's their prey, so handing him over to them is out of the question. Lee says that's right. Only a beautiful, noble, and cool woman like her deserves him. Both of them aren't worthy. Hearing that Zhu's affection increases to 40% when she says he belongs to the Red City Group. She tells them if they want him, then they will have to get through her first. Lee tells her what an overwhelming presence, just from sheer aura alone, those two already lost to her. Zhu's affection increases again. Lee then says besides these two handsome guys seem pretty strong, there's no way they would lose to those two sleazy guys over there. Zhu's subordinate says that's right, their Red City Group has never been afraid of anyone. Yu Wen says what a pity the negotiations failed. He asks Zhengzhou to go on ahead. Zhengzhou says they already gave them their chance, so they asked for it when he attacks. Zhui blocks his attack and then attacks him back using her ability Blizzard. Zhengzhou gets caught up in the attack thinking what an annoying skill. The wind is so strong he can barely keep his eyes open. Yu Wen says she uses the snowstorm to restrict their movements and creates an advantageous situation for her. That's pretty smart. He then tells Zhengzhou they have found a great opponent. Zhe looks at him evading her attack when she thinks her snow melts before it even gets near him. That dwarf isn't simple at all, but judging by what he says, it seems he doesn't intend to fight. Is he underestimating her? She then asks her subordinates to keep a good eye on him so he doesn't escape as both of them agrees. She then jumps up in the air and then uses her ability Ice Song Polar Rose to attack. Zhengzhou gets surprised by her attack, asking what kind of joke is this? Who fights using a flower as if she's making fun of him? The attack hits the ground when Zhu's subordinates say it hit him squarely. Now he really can't keep acting arrogantly. The other says there's no doubt their leader is incredible. This is the power of their group. Zhengzhou gets turned into ice when Yu Wen says his situation is putting him in trouble. How is he supposed to explain this to his father when he gets back that he was defeated by a woman? Hearing that Shui asks what's wrong, as if he underestimates woman, she tells him he's next. Just then, Yu Wen tells her it seems like she still hasn't understood the situation. Suddenly an attack hits her subordinates that turns them into stones. She gets surprised, thinking petrification? What is happening? Yu Wen thinks another new contender when suddenly Nico appears and hugs Lee, saying she finally found him. Lee asks how did she get here? She tells him she felt that Master needed her a lot, so she ran here to help him. As long as she can be useful, she's willing to give it her all. Looking at them being all lovey-dovey, Zhui gets angry. Lee tells Nico having a subordinate like her is awesome as she replies, it's an honor for her to have a master like him. Zhu thinks why is she trembling with rage? Is it because those two are flirting in front of her? Impossible. She's not that shallow of a person. It's because she turned his people to stone. That's definitely why. Just then she asks both of them to stop flirting and quickly turn them back to normal. Just as she loses her focus, Yu Wen says it seems she she choose the wrong opponent. He appears in front of her as she thinks he's too fast. He says she hit his people and now she wants to leave while attacking her. Sui falls back as she hits a tree when Yuen tells her it's not that easy. Lee looks at him thinking, is this the power of a superior gold? It's too strong. Even the lower gold leader can't stand up to him. Nico and him is no match for him. He then looks at him thinking the system mentioned that if one of his followers' affinity reaches 100%, then a secret reward will be unlocked. If he wants a chance to survive, then he must beat everything. Nico thinks the enemy is strong, but she can't back down in front of Master. Yuen says he came for this rare blood beast, but it turned out there's also a succubus as a bonus. Not bad. His luck is incredible. If he brings them back, then his father will surely see him in a new light. He tells them not to be afraid as it will be quick. They won't even feel any pain. Nico attacks him, but he blocks her attack saying pathetic. They can barely handle trash. They don't even tickle him as he appears in front of Nico to attack. Just then Lee uses his ability, Crimson Flash. He then grabs Nico and then disappears in an instant when Yuen gets surprised thinking, did he disappeared? What does that mean? A mere level 2 beast is faster than his eyes? That's impossible. Lee is standing on top of a tree thinking he has already used 2 flashes. He has no more ways to escape. He must get that secret reward before that guy notices, but why hasn't Nico's affinity increased yet? Was it too fast to her? Just then, Nico gets sad telling him she's useless, having her master intervene to save her. From now on, she will work harder. Lee tells her now is not the time for apologies as he gets closer to her. He then kisses her as she thinks if it's appropriate to do this with Master in the middle of the battle, but it doesn't matter anymore. If Master wishes it, then as his follower she must please him. Her affinity increases to 99% when Yuen finds them. He gets angry saying, a beast is still just a beast. He asks if they are hiding there to kiss during the fight. If he had arrived a little later, would they have started mating? He's going to reduce their bodies and souls to ashes. Yuen unleashes his power when Lee thinks only 1% left. Is it still not enough? Yuen rushes at them to attack, but suddenly Lee gets protected by a wall. Yuen gets annoyed saying, why are there so many obstacles in the way? Shui uses her ability, Extreme Ice Protection, as she protects both Lee and Nico. Yuen looks at her and says he didn't kill her only because of the red group, so don't get twisted when she tells him not to talk so nicely. Would someone like him let an enemy live? That vampire is her prey, so if he wants to touch him, then he will have to get past her first. While Li Shuier and Yuen started a fierce battle inside the ice prison, Li's reached the final stage. Nico's affinity reaches 100% when she thinks the master kissed her in the middle of the battle. She feels so happy she could melt. Just then, the system tells him he has unlocked the secret reward. Congratulations. He has obtained permission to use Bloodthirsty Beak once. By using Bloodthirsty Beak, he will unlock all the attributes and abilities of the Blood Demon God, obtaining incomparable combat power. Bloodthirsty Beak's duration is 10 minutes. Lee uses his ability as an enormous surge of power breaks out, surprising everyone. He walks outside asking Yuen if he wasn't going to turn him into dust and ashes. He should go on ahead. Yuen gets surprised thinking, what's this? Wasn't it just a level 2 beast? Why does he suddenly have such terrifying power when Lee asks if he isn't going to move? He says he gave him a chance, but he didn't take it. He uses his ability Devil's Hand to pull him closer. Yuen thinks what's happening, he can't control his body. Just then, Lee grabs him by his throat when Yuen gets scared. He asks Lee not to kill him as he knows he was wrong, but he begs him not to kill him. Lee says sometime before he didn't talk to him like that. Yuen tells him before he was a fool who couldn't recognize greatness. He was too stupid, so please forgive him. Lee says this scene feels very familiar to him. Back then, he was also picked up in this way as if he was a piece of trash that could be discarded at any moment. If he remembers correctly, that guy was a registered evolved from the Elite Center. This makes it even harder for him to forgive him as he throws him back and then punches him pretty hard on his stomach. Yuen coughs blood and then falls back, hitting everything in his path. He's then lying on the ground, badly injured, when Lee thinks if this is what it feels like to be above everyone else. The power of the Blood Demon God is truly amazing. Will he ever truly possess this power? Shu looks at him thinking, is he still that little vampire that bit her a moment ago? Did he still had such terrifying power hidden? Was he letting her win before? Nico thinks inconceivable. He's truly worthy of being the master she chose. This is incredible. Just then, Genja breaks out from the ice saying it was just a momentary lapse that got him caught, but luckily, he managed to get out. Now, he's serious. Lee is standing in front of him when Genja asks what does that posture means. Lee uses his ability. Red Storm as a bunch of bats appear and starts attacking Gen. Genja says get out of his sight, but the bats devours him, leaving only his skeleton behind. System tells him he leveled up when Lee thinks he leveled up 5 levels at once. What satisfaction gold level enemies provide. Impressive experience. And besides, he permanently unlocked a new skill, Red Storm. It summons a swarm of bats to attack enemies, causing great damage, especially effective against multiple targets. Yuen asks Lee to forgive him when Lee asks what did he say. He can't hear him. Yuen tells him he doesn't want to die, so forgive him. He says his father is the president of the Elite Center, so if he let him go home, then he will give him whatever he wants. He doesn't want to die. Lee asks does he wants to go home? He will help him. Yuen thanks him saying he's a great person, so he will repay him somehow. Lee makes him float up in the air, telling him he doesn't have to repay him because he's just someone who enjoys helping others. Lee then throws Yuen towards the city when Shui thinks if isn't that the direction to City J. Don't tell her he's really sending him home. On his way back home, Yuen hits multiple mountains and then lastly hits a building. Lee levels up thinking it seems he reached home safe and sound. He leveled up another 5 levels. Although in theory his experience should have been even greater, it seems that the higher the level, the more experience is needed to level up. He then turns when Shuei gets surprised, asking what does he plans to do. Is it her turn now? Lee calls Nico, telling her there's something he is curious about and he needs her cooperation. Shuei thinks, what does that mean? Doesn't this have anything to do with her? Nico tells him at his command, Master can do whatever he wants with her. Lee then activates his skill, Soul Resonance, when power starts emanating in Nico's body. She says what's happening. All her energy is concentrating on her chest. It looks like something is about to emerge. It's huge. When did her chest hide something like this? A sword starts coming out from her chest when she asks if this is Master's secret sword. She can't take it. It's too big. Lee holds the sword, telling her this is the result of their soul resonance. There's nothing to worry about, so hang on a little. He then takes out the sword, thinking the soul resonance skill can only be activated when the follower's affinity is at maximum. Through soul resonance, a special piece of equipment materializes from the follower's body. He looks at his sword, saying this is the Bloodblade Bredso. This is the piece of equipment that Nico has given him. Shu in surprise asks, he pulled a weapon out from her chest. With his strength, he shouldn't even need a weapon to deal with her, or did he specifically wants to use that sword to finish her off? Just then, Lee tells her she's overthinking it while tearing her clothes. She gets surprised, thinking this cool sensation, could it be? She then gets flustered, telling him there's no honor in combat. Kill her or torture her, do whatever he wants, but why is he undressing her? Lee says enough talk. That was just a little warm-up earlier. If she doesn't want to end up like them, then follow him to the small woods behind them. He has something to discuss with her. After that, Jue thinks, what does he wants to talk about and why isn't he saying anything? Why did he specifically call her to a secluded place like this? A man and a woman alone, it's so awkward. What's he planning? Just then, she gets surprised, thinking she get it now. He held back earlier and didn't land a fatal blow this time either. There's only one explanation. He must have taken a liking to her and wants to take advantage of her beauty. Even though he's a vampire-type monster, aside from the heavy demonic aura, his body isn't all that different from humans. By normal standards, he's actually pretty handsome, so could it be that he's planning to forced conquest her? Lee looks at her confusingly as he pins her against the tree. She thinks if it's starting now, is her first time really going to be taken by this vampire-type monster? This goes against all moral principles. Lee says whatever he says next, repeat after him. His subordinate Li Shuer swears eternal loyalty to him for all eternity. She will never betray him. Shuei asks, what is this? As if this is some kind of role-playing game. He tells her he saved her life not so she could question him, just do it. Shuei gets scared as she repeats after him, asking if he's happy now. A notification appears telling Lee he has gained his second follower. Shuei's stats appear in front of him when he tells her not bad. He's satisfied. He gets close to her when she thinks, what is he trying to do? Is he going to kiss her? Then the next step would be logically be her first time. Even though she was expecting this, isn't this moving a little too fast? Just then, Lee moves back, saying time is up, the reward ends here. Shu asks, that's it. What about the rest when he tells her the petrification on her subordinates should wear off soon so she can take them and leave? Don't tell anyone about what happened here, as she agrees. Lee then says he doesn't have time to waste on her anymore and was about to leave when she calls him, asking him to wait. Lee asks what now, as if she's still not satisfied. She tells him if her teammates wake up and sees her like this, then it will be kind of awkward, so help her figure something out. After that, she thinks he actually gave her his clothes to wear. She can still feel his warmth and scent on the fabric. This is so intimate as it is embarrassing. Her affinity increases to 60%. On the other hand, at the Succubus village, Lee says today has been crazy. Not only did he reach level 21, but he also unlocked so many new skills. The feeling of getting stronger is amazing. He needs to keep pushing forward. Just then, the system tells him he has reached level 21 and is now qualified to challenge the Blood Prison Arena. The system tells him no experience points can be earned in the arena, and injuries will not heal automatically upon advancing floors or exiting the arena. However, successful completion will grant generous rewards, asking would he like to enter. He says injuries don't heal between fight. That could seriously mess with his leveling pace. Logically speaking, it would be safer to wait until the level of more before attempting this challenge, but he has already come this far, so he can't just sit around and do nothing. He asks the system to open the Blood Prison Arena, saying as they say fortune favors the bold, so there is no turning back now. Lai walks inside the portal as he transforms. He says he even got all the little details on his outfit, but this doesn't really look like an arena at all. The system says welcome to the preparation room. Please choose a weapon for battle. He asks a weapon when a bunch of different weapons appear in front of him with their names and abilities. He checks all of them, saying every weapon comes with bonus stats. No matter what he picks, it's going to give him a serious power-up, but he doesn't even have any weapon skills. How is he supposed to decide? Just then he notices a long cucumber as a weapon. The system says this weapon has a special effect. Poking the enemy repeatedly makes them pleasant for a bit. Lee says then he's picking this one. He means sure it looks kind of ridiculous, but if he uses it right, then this thing could be crazy useful. The system then asks him to choose a buff to help him in battle. Several buffs appear in front of him. When he says so, he got a pickup buff without even knowing who he's fighting. Well, based on his gaming experience, reducing the enemy's defense is always a solid choice, so he's going with Armor Breaker. The buff activates when the system tells him it's now transporting him to the battle arena. Lee appears on the battlefield looking around, thinking this is the arena. This place is definitely creepy. The system welcomes him to the first floor of the Blood Prison Arena. There are 50 floors each with their own defender. Beat them to win rewards and move on to the next floor. Now introducing their official arena commentator, the one and only, the always fabulous, the tiny but deadly demon Sally. Sally says today's challenger is Lee Haoran, a vampire with scarlet power. Lee thinks there's even a live commentator. This is going to be annoying. Sally says he's from a super rare race, but let's be real. He's still a total newbie. Will he pull off an upset today? Now let's meet the first floor defender. Straight out of the dark forest, bringing bad luck and straight up death. It's a heavy. Lee looks at his opponent, asking her why is she crying when she tells him she's the one who speaks to the dead. She can see when people are about to die. When death is near, she appears and she will wait for their doom. She's Banshee, Binhida. She tells Lee she can sense it. An overwhelming aura of death is around him, so she wails for him. Lee asks if she's saying he's going to die here, while thinking why isn't her name showing a power ranking? Did the arena mess with the system's display setting? But whatever. All he needs to know is that he can feel how strong she is. He then uses his ability, Red Storm, but to his surprise, Binhida blocks his attack, telling him his little bad attack isn't going to do anything to her. She tells him he can't beat her. This flight is already over. She jumps and then appears behind Lee in a glance to attack, but Lee dodges her attack, saying she doesn't even realize he baited her on purpose. He then takes out the cucumber, saying Red Storm didn't work on her. Let's see how she can handle his long cucumber. Seeing the cucumber, Binhida gets surprised, telling Lee she would rather not get poked by that thing. She kicks his weapon, throwing it away when Sally says Lee's weird weapon got smacked right out of his hand. It looks like Binhida don't like stick-shaped objects. Is the fight turning in her favor now? Just then, she says the match is suddenly going in a completely different direction. Lee somehow managed to grab Binhida and her in an extremely awkward split position. Binhida thinks she can't move. How is he stronger than her? Just then, she slips and falls down when Lee gets on top of her. Lee says he never thought his weapon choice would work out this well. The second she saw it, she totally lost her composure. He then tells her to give up already because she knows he's stronger than her and she's not getting away. Lee tells Binhida that position must be painful. If she doesn't want to suffer, then just give up. Then, he will go on easy on her. Binhida gets surprised when she screams all of a sudden. Because of her powerful scream, Lee falls back, hitting the wall. He thinks her wailing has insane power. Her strength is nothing to underestimate. Sally says here comes Binhida's ultimate move, Wailing Alpha. Just hearing this cry can awaken the deepest fear of death in a person's heart. It crushes the enemy's mind, draining their will to fight until they're dragged into the abyss of death. If Lee's mental fortitude isn't strong enough, then he won't be able to resist her wail. Lee gets caught up in her attack when Sally says, just as expected, Lee Haoran can't handle it. The outcome of this match is practically decided. Lee, on the other hand, gets startled when he sees his mother. She tells him it's been a while. He hasn't forgotten what she looks like. Lee looks at her, asking if that's really her. His mother calls him a fool, asking who else would it be. Her little Lee has grown into such a fine man. She says he must have been through so much all these years, so come now, take his mother's hand and let her see him properly. Let's never be apart again, as they will be together forever. She reaches out to him, asking him to take her hand, telling him to let's go to paradise together and never part again. As Lee is walking towards her, he suddenly stops when his mother asks what's wrong. Why did he stop? She tells him to hurry up and take her mother's hand, asking if he doesn't miss her. Just then, Lee says, death isn't unfamiliar to him. He was betrayed by teammates, thrown to monster as bait, fighting off strange illnesses, living under the shadow of constant death or barely surviving battles between awakened beings and monsters when he was a kid. His mom risked her life to save him and his sister from that incident, not so he could throw his life away because of some cheap trick. Lee unleashes his power when Binhida thinks this can't be happening. Sally says that's unbelievable. Lee actually resisted Wailing Alpha. His mental fortitude is incredible, as this fight just got a lot more interesting. Lee then activates his skill Blood Concealment when he tells Binhida he has already figured out her abilities, so now it's his turn. He then disappears when Binhida asks a stealth technique, but does he really think that will stop her from finding him? Just then, she launches another attack when Sally says this version converts her cries into raw energy. It's even more devastating than Alpha. Against an attack that floods the entire arena, even invisibility won't to save them. Just as Binhida is screaming suddenly, Lee appears in front of her and then puts his cucumber in her mouth. His buff Armor Breaker takes effect when he asks if she can stop crying already because it's really annoying. Sally in surprise says he broke through. Lee then says they're not done yet. The real fun is just beginning. He then uses his long-threaded cucumber and then starts poking her. Binhida thinks, how can a mere cucumber be this strong and every poke hurts more than the last? It's unbearable. She can't take much more of this. Lee tells her his combo isn't even over yet when the system tells him the target has entered spasm state. Binhida thinks she can't move. She can't resist. Her body is convulsing uncontrollably as she has no control over it. What's happening to her as she falls back on the ground? Lee then asks if she wants him to keep going. She tells him to please stop poking her while surrendering. Looking at the fight, Sally thinks it's too terrifying. Just by looking at it makes her whole body shake. Just then, Lee says she has already surrendered, so can she wrap this up and announce the result? Sally apologizes, telling him she lost her composure. She then announces Lee as the winner of the match since Benhita surrendered. She tells him he's now qualified to challenge the second floor. The system tells him he has gained abnormal status resistance that increases resistance against mind control, poison, bleeding, and other negative effects. He also got a skill point that he can use to upgrade and unlock its skill to enhance its effect. Lee thinks so these are his rewards. Not only do they boost his attributes, but he can also upgrade his skills. This place was definitely worth coming to. Just then, the system asks if he would like to proceed to Blood Prison Arena, second floor. Lee thinks he got what he came for, but he's not fully recovered yet. Pushing into another battle just to show off would be a dumb move. He will come back once he has leveled up more while turning down the offer. He then gets back when the system tells him he has unlocked a hidden skill, Victor's Pact. Lee thinks a hidden skill reward. Why did it only triggered after he left the arena? The system tells him Victor's Pact allows defeated opponents in the arena to become his followers. Outside the arena, this skill allows him to summon them to fight by his side. He thinks so he can summon the opponents he has beaten even outside the arena, as if he clears 50 floors, then wouldn't that mean he would have an entire army to summon? Just then, weird voices start coming from his room when he says that voice sounds familiar. He walks inside his room and sees Nico sitting on his bed. Nico thinks even though her master isn't here, his scent still lingers all over the bed. It's so strong, so intoxicating. This is pure bliss. This is heaven. Just then, she thinks Master's scent just got even stronger. She opens her eyes and sees Lee standing in front of her asking what's she doing. She gets startled, telling him it's not what he thinks. She swears she wasn't doing anything weird on his bed. She just came to bring him new clothes since he gave his coat to that human woman, so she stayed up all night making him an identical one to replace it. Seeing the coat, Lee pats her, saying just when he was wondering where he would get a new coat, she showed up with one. He really can't do without her. Hearing that Nico thinks Master said he can't do without her, that's basically a confession. This must mean that he wants her by his side forever. After surviving 2 intense battles, Lee finally gets the chance to rest properly. However, the next day, a succubus shouts, telling everyone the village is under attack. There are orcs. The leader of the orc comes raiding and telling his men to get in there and take everything that's not nailed down. The orc laborers follow his order and starts attacking, tying the succubus and taking stuff. The leader asks them to tie them up tightly and make sure they don't escape halfway through. Take all the food, goods, and valuables in the village. Just then, Nico intervenes as she attacks some of the orcs, turning them into stones. Seeing that, the leader gets furious, asking who the hell is she? She dares attack them. He asks if she's tired of living when Nico says what a disgusting bunch to run into first thing in the morning. She tells him if he doesn't want to end up like them, turn to stone, then drop her people and get the hell out of here. The leader says she really doesn't get it. What does she think she can do, as if she has got some kind of a trump card? A bunch of orcs jumps up at Nico to attack when Lee appears. He uses his skill, Blood Prison Burial, level 2, attacking the orcs and killing them. His skill, Blood Prison Burial, level 2, is no longer restricted to a fixed area. Blood spikes now automatically lock onto multiple targets and activate faster. Looking at the attack, Nico thinks this technique and this aura, it's her master. Their village is saved. Lee says they're so damn loud in the morning. Can't a guy get some sleep? Nico looks at him when Lee tells her it's fine because he will handle this. The Tier 3 Beast Orc Centurion says a Blood Clan member, asking why is he mixed up with the succubus. He tells Lee this doesn't concern him, so he suggests he stays out of it. Lee tells him he carries the blood of every one of them. He dares say this isn't his business. Lee then tells him he has pissed him off. It's too late for regrets as he activates his skill, Victor's Pact, and then summons Benhita. Benhita appears when Nico looks at her in astonishment while thinking that creature that Master summoned is incredible. Even his summoned beast has such overwhelming strength. The leader of the orcs says that's just a summoned helper. Is that his summon? He tells Lee he has at least 80 to 100 orcs under his command. Just the Benhita uses her wailing when the orcs gets consumed by it. They start attacking themselves with no will left to live. Just as the orcs were killing themselves, the orcs centurion thinks what a haunting cry. That voice is messing with his and his head is being filled with dark thoughts. He then thinks he won't fall for their tricks, telling them he carries the pride of all orcs. He resists her attack when suddenly Lee Ni kicks him on his chin, asking if he means looting, burying, and killing. He says that's a pretty cheap definition for horror. He keeps on attacking him, saying he carries the weight of his entire village's survival. The leader falls back when Lee uses his ability, Red Storm. A swarm of bats appear and start attacking the orc leader when he says his defense is top tier. His bats can't kill him. If it weren't for that cry, he wouldn't stand a chance against him. Lee says he came here with a whole horde of orcs to attack the village, and he expected a one-on-one duel. That's a little too naive, don't he thinks? Just then, both Benhita and Nico prepares an attack and then hits it, causing severe damage to the orc. The orc falls back when Lee says holding back against an enemy is the same as betraying themselves. Strike when they are weak and finish them off. That's the law of battle, as he uses his Blood Prison Burial and then kills the orc. Just then, the system tells him he has leveled up and he gained 5 attributes attribute points. Lee then says it's over, asking if everyone is okay. Nico says thanks to him, the village made it through without much damage. She then tells him he's amazing as he looks so cool defeating the orcs. All the other Succubus says after this, those bastards will think twice before messing with them again, as from now onwards, they probably won't dare to come and harass their village anymore. They say Lee has done so much for their village. How do they repay him? Lee, on the other hand, tells Binhida this was his first time summoning her, and she did great. Thanks to her crying cleaning up those orcs was a breeze. Binhida gets surprised when she blushes, telling him it was an honor to serve him. Whatever he commands, she will give it her all. Lee says good, then come with him, as he has an important mission for her. She agrees as she follows him into the forest. Afterwards, she asks Lee he tortured her all night with that cucumber, and now he's biting her neck and won't let go. Is this important mission of his is just an excuse for his taste? She then tells him it hurts, but if it's what he wants, then she will endure it to the end. Just then, the system tells him Binhida's affection level has increased by 50% and he has completed the daily mission. Lee then tells her this isn't some weird kink. As a member of the Blood Clan, he needs to drink fresh blood daily to stay strong. It's essential for him. He then asks she doesn't look too good. Don't tell him that she's anemic. She tells him ever since their fight yesterday, her body has been hypersensitive. Just seeing him makes her relive her defeat in the arena, and now with him this close to her, her whole body feels strange. She then says she can't take this anymore, as this is humiliating. She tells him to please forgive her as she needs to excuse herself immediately. She disappears when Lee wonders if she's really that sensitive. Afterwards, Nico is taking a bath when she says Master saved their village. How can she repay him? The other asks if it isn't obvious, give him her body. Nico says that's the most sincere way to show gratitude, but Master seems only interested in battle, and he's already surrounded by beautiful women like Binhida and that human commander. Besides, she has no experience with men at all. Can she really satisfy him like this? The other Succubus asks Nico if she's worried that Lee isn't interested in her. Nico tells her sort of. She has tried a few times already, but it didn't work. The other tells her that's easy. Seducing men is a mandatory skill for a Succubus. She's just too innocent, so she needs to loosen up. She then tells Nico she knows a way to make Master completely obsessed with her, asking her to take off her towel. She will show her now. Nico takes off her towel, telling her she's ready. What's next? All of a sudden, the other Succubus points at Nico and then gives her a lust mark. Nico asks what's this when she tells her her combat talent is stronger than most of her kind, but only with this can she call herself a true Succubus. On the other hand, Lee thinks the mana cost for Victor's Pact is insane. If he wants to use it more freely in battle, then he needs to boost his spirit stat. As for strength and stamina, he will just have to train like hell to keep those up. Just as he was training, Nico walks inside his room saying she finally figured out the perfect way to repay him. Lee looks at her asking what got her so excited. Nico looks at him shirtless when she thinks that's such a nice view. Master's physique is like a sculpted masterpiece, a true work of art. She then feels hot thinking this is too much, her body won't stop trembling. All of a sudden, she takes off her towel when Lee gets surprised. Nico's spell takes effect when the system tells Lee, status resistance maxed, he's now immune to the lust mark effect. On the other hand, the other Succubus thinks she forgot something important. If the lust mark fails to charm its target, then the user suffers the backlash. Master Haoran is a blood demon god. There's no way Nico's charm spell would work on him, but now what the hell is she gonna do? Lee asks Nico. She doesn't look so good in that mark on her body. What is it? Nico tells him she feels so hot. Her head is filled with indescribable thoughts. It's like something inside her is about to explode. This is unbearable. She then asks Lee to help her, as she can't take it anymore. Just then, Lee hugs her tightly, saying he understands how she feels, but right now she's not thinking clearly. Nico tells him it's fine. He can do whatever he wants with her when suddenly, Lee kisses her. The next day, Nico wakes up thinking, what's this feeling? There's an unless surge of mana flowing through her. She has never felt anything like this before, as it's like she has broken through another level. She then looks at Lee thinking, could this be because of last night? Does Master really have this kind of effect? Even though her lust mark didn't work, Master went all the way with her. It was like he was devouring her whole. It was the most intense, mind-blowing experience of her life. The system tells Lee follower Nico has obtained the Blood Demon Essence. Her stats have drastically increased, and her beast rank has advanced to tier 4. Lee gets surprised thinking a breakthrough, his essence can do this. The system tells him Blood Demon Essence activates when a follower reaches 100% affection. Each follower can only receive this affect once. Lee thinks so it can't be repeated, but even once is overpowered as hell. Tier 4, that means her stats are higher than his now. Just then, Nico asks what's wrong, as if he's not satisfied with her performance last night. Lee disagrees, telling her she was amazing. Nico says being able to serve her master is her greatest honor. From now on, she belongs to him completely. The system gives Lee a daily quest, asking him before the next sunrise. Drink fresh blood from an opposite individual to activate blood fusion skill. Lee asks Nico if there are any other tribes around here, preferably ones with females. Nico tells him actually that orc group from yesterday, their tribe is just on the other side of the forest. They raid, plunder, and terrorize the other beast clans. After that, both Nico Nico and Lee arrives at the orc tribe. Lee says there should be female orcs there, so this is their camp. They have tormented villages for too long, so now it's time for payback. He asks Nico to show him what she can do after her breakthrough and remember to leave the woman alive. Nico agrees when she unleashes her power, thinking Master is letting her take revenge herself, so she has to prove herself. She then prepares an attack, saying this is the incredible power her master has bestowed upon her. Now it's time to make them filthy beasts suffer as she attacks. Lee starts gaining experience when he thinks just as he thought. It's just like when Benhita killed the enemies with her cry. If his followers kill the enemy, then he will gain the same amount of experience. A huge crater appears on the ground when Nico says in the name of her master, the blood demon god, she has come to exterminate this orc tribe. Today is the day they all die. The orc warriors jumps up at her saying she's just a succubus spouting nonsense. A blood demon god like that even compares to their centurions. Just as they were about to attack, Nico grabs both of them and then slams them both together, saying she has waited for this moment for so long. Now let her show them the Succubus clan secret technique. She takes out a whip, saying this is the perfect way to send them all to hell. Orcs, every single one of them, come at her together. All the orcs jumps up towards her to attack when she uses her ability Passionate Whiplash. As Nico is fighting, Lee keeps on gaining experience and leveling up. He says with Nico helping him level up, this is much more efficient. The system tells him level 25 reached and a new skill is unlocked. He says let's see what it is when the system tells him skill Dark Affinity. It increases movement speed by 30% at night or in dark environments. Attacks also inflicts bleed effect. He says Dark Affinity. He guessed he should only fight at night from now on. Now he's really turning into a full-on vampire. Nico on the other hand asks if this is all those rampaging orcs can do. What a disappointment. She's standing on top of corpses of orcs when a female orc gets angry, telling her not to get so cocky. They will teach her a lesson right now. Looking at her, Lee uses his ability Crimson Flash appearing behind her. The female orc thinks when did this guy came there? Lee says he won't hold back then as he starts sucking her blood. The system says his daily task is completed. Afterwards, the battle results are enemies defeated 178 orcs and captured 30 female orcs. Lee appreciates Nico telling her nicely done. Her tier 4 breakthrough really made a difference. Nico tells him not at all. That's all thanks to his training. Lee tells her with her current mana, she should be able to extend the petrification duration of love arrows. He tells her after they take these captives back to the village, turn them to stone and keep them stored. He will need them later. Nico agrees when Lee thinks they might not be the prettiest, but they're still females. As long as he keeps them preserved, he won't have to worry about his daily task for a whole month. Nico then tells Lee she found this orb earlier. It seems valuable. She would like to offer it to him. The system tells Lee, rare item acquired. Magic Breathe Pill. It increases max MP upon consumption and conceals demonic aura blocking external detection. Lee thinks if he eats this, then he can hide his aura completely. That means he can go back to J City without awakened hunters sensing him. He then eats the pill, thinking now that he thinks about it, he guesses it's finally time for him to catch up with an old friend. The next morning, after using the orc captives to complete his daily task, Nico asks Lee he's leaving. Why? Did she do something wrong or if she displeased him somehow? Lee disagrees, telling her she has been perfect and he's more than satisfied with her. It's just that he has some personal business to take care of and he needs to make a trip to J City. It shouldn't take him more than a few days. While he's gone, Benhita is under her command. Don't just sit around doing nothing. Expand her control from the village output. Wipe out every beast within a 10-mile radius, and if she runs into any female beasts, then follow the usual protocol. Nico agrees when Lee leaves, telling them that's all, now get to work. Benhita asks why does Master had to go to J City? Who is waiting for him there? Nico tells her Master's plan are beyond anything they can guess. At J City's residential area, Xu is holding on to Lee's coat, saying that's what he goes by the name Haoran. Ever since that night in the woods, she hasn't been able to stop thinking about him. The next day, the sun comes up while Xue is still sleeping. She then hears sounds as she wakes up, saying, "What's that sound?" Just then, she gets surprised to see Lee working out in her room. Lee looks at her asking if she's awake as if he woke her up. Xue looks at him in shock, saying it's him. She asks, when did he get here and how did she not sense his presence at all? How does he even know her home address? Lee tells her she swore loyalty to him, so what's so strange about him being able to sense her location? Does he really need permission just to check in on his own subordinate? She tells him of course not, while her affection level increases to 63%. Lee says actually he does have something he needs her help with. He needs her to gather intel on someone. Chen Zizhen, a steel tier awakened from the elite center. He needs to know his upcoming missions. Zhu tells him that's easy. She's a squad leader in Red City Group. After all, she has got connections. Lee says that reminds him there's something else he's curious about. She tells him to go ahead as she can answer anything she can. Lee says last night she was hugging his coat while she slept and she kept murmuring his name in her sleep. What exactly was she dreaming about? Xu hesitates as she jumps on top of him, saying it's time to pay back what he owes her from the woods. She has waited long enough. Lee says since she's putting it like that, he won't hold back when suddenly the alarm rings. Xue says she's going to be late for work. She then runs, telling him she will have the information he needs after her shift. Lee thinks she reacted that strongly. That must have been one hell of a dream. Afterwards, at Red City Group underground parking lot, Xu thinks he saw her last night in that state. That's so embarrassing. How is she supposed to face him now? He's probably laughing at her at home right now. Just as she was walking, suddenly someone calls her saying he needs to ask her something. Two guys are standing there when one of them says, "A few days ago there was an unusual mana surge in the outskirts of J City." She remembers that. His younger brother, Yu Wen, was sent to investigate it with his partner, but both of them were killed. His brother's corpse was even dumped on the Elite Center's headquarters. From what he knows, her squad also investigated that mana surge. Even a golden tier like Yu Wen couldn't made it out alive, so tell her, how did her team made it out unscathed? He is legendary tier awakened, Elite Center's young master. Why Yu Wu? Zhu asks if he is accusing her of killing his brother while thinking he's a legendary tier awakened. This just got complicated. Just then Yu Wu's subordinate tells him there's no need to waste words on her. She won't talk unless they beat it out of her. He's golden tier awakened, Firebull, Wang Meng. Wang unleashes his power and then rushes towards Zhu to attack using his ability Blazing Fist, but Zhu blocks his attack, asking if this is how the Elite Center operates. They think just because they have a legendary tier backing them up, they can act like thugs. This is Red City's group headquarters. They realize everyone here is on her side, so if they want to start a fight here, she will gladly oblige. Yu Wu tells her not to misunderstand. His subordinate is just hot-headed like his brother was, but deep down he's actually pretty gentle. They don't mean any harm as they just want answers. That day, when they got to the scene, there was nothing left but a skeleton. Su tells him they never even saw the beast. That's all she can tell him, asking if he's satisfied now. Yu Wu tells her he appreciates her cooperation. Zhu then leaves thinking the Elite Center is really keeping an eye on her. This is getting more and more dangerous. Most awakened ones never make it past Golden Tier in their entire life. Reaching Diamond Star Tier is already a miracle level achievement, but Legendary Tier, that's above Diamond Star, the best of the best. That guy, he may act polite, but underneath he's beyond dangerous. She needs to warn Lee before it's too late. Yu Wu outside is vomiting when Wang asks if he's okay. Should they call a doctor? Yu Wu tells him he's fine. It's just his OCD acting up again. He's been forcing himself to endure it this whole time. That asymmetrical hairstyle of Jue is driving him insane. He then says, didn't she had two subordinates with her that day? Grab them and interrogate them. If their stories don't match up even slightly, then all three of them will join his brother in grave. At night, Lee starts gaining experience when he says he's at level 27 already. It looks like Nico and Benhita didn't slack off. As long as he keeps increasing his number of followers, he will never slow down his leveling pace. Just then, the system tells him he has acquired a new title, Battlefield Commander. Lee checks it saying Speak of the Devil, a title that boosts all followers by 10%. It's way better than Undead Slayer, no contest. Just then, Sue arrives telling him she's back and she got the intel he wanted. She tells him Chen Zizhen is leading a squad out of the city at 10 p.m. tonight. The squad consists of 8 Steel Tier Awakened ones. She hands him a file telling him this file contains their mission details, squad members' skills, home addresses, and even their phone numbers. She did what she could, but this is all the intel she managed to get. Lee checks the file asking all the intel. She basically handed him their family registry. He then tells her she really is the best. This is a huge help. Hearing the praise, her affection level increases to 69% when she tells him it was nothing. It's no big deal, and praising her like that won't make her happy. Lee says she's such a liar, but more importantly, what's with that box? She tells him it's a gift for him. She then gives him a bunch of stuff including armor and healing potions. System tells him new equipment acquired and his stats are increased. Lee gets happy saying this is insane, but this whole set must have cost a fortune. He doesn't have that kind of money, so why is she giving him all this for free? She tells him he's being targeted by the Elite Center and his opponent is a legendary tier awakened. She just wanted to make sure he has something to rely on when things go south. Hearing that, Lee holds her when she gets surprised, asking what's he doing. Just then, he kisses her out of the blue when her affection level increases to 83%. She thinks her first kiss, he stole it. Lee then thanks her, telling her he will take her kindness to heart, but right now there's something even more important that he needs to do. The system tells him his equipment stats have been applied, but visual appearance is hidden. Lee walks outside saying he's still got time before 10 p.m., so he should go check on Xiao Yu. At J City First High School, inside of a classroom, Li Xiaoyu, Li Haoran's younger sister, is studying. Li comes as he stands by the door concealing his presence. He looks at her and then apologizes, thinking right now he's too dangerous to be near her. If he shows himself recklessly, then he might drag her into something she can't escape. In a world ruled by the awakened, being weak is a sin. That's why he has to keep growing stronger. Only when he's strong enough, he can stand beside her without fear. He will never have to lower his head again. Just then, Xiaoyu looks at the door thinking if that was just her imagination. Tear starts falling from her eyes when she thinks why won't her tear stop. On the other hand, Chen Zizhen defeats a monsters alone, saying mission complete. He asks his team to gather all the White Bear Warlord's gear and any valuables from the corpse. His teammate says even a tier 3 elite beast like the White Bear Warlord couldn't withstand his blade. At this rate, he will be silver scale tier in no time, there's no doubt about it. Chen asks them enough with the flattery and just hurry up so they can go home and sleep. Just then, Lee asks go home when everyone looks at him. Lee then asks if he thinks he's going home tonight. If he wants to suck up to him, then he should better do it now because after tonight he won't get the chance. Chen looks at him saying he's alive. He took his blade and still escaped the Titan Boa. That's impossible. Lee says nothing is impossible. just like how he never imagined his own teammate would stab him in the back. He's here for only one reason, that is to make him pay. Chen gets angry when his team member asks Lee if he's out of his mind. He's not even awakened and he thinks he can take on a steel tier. He then asks him what's with that outfit, as if he's cosplaying Dracula. His captain sacrificed him for the greater good. They don't see anything wrong with that. If anyone is to blame, then it's his own weakness. Besides, he's alive, so what's the big deal? The guy running his mouth continuously is Zhang Weiwei, a steel tier awakened. Zhang then asks if he came all this way just to whine at them. He takes out $200, telling Lee to consider this compensation for his emotional distress. He should take it, and let's call it even. By his remarks, Lee gets furious as he summons his blade and then beheads him in an instant, saying he doesn't want their money but he wants their life. Looking at that, Chen gets surprised, thinking Lee has no aura at all. He's just an ordinary human, so how the hell did he kill Zhang, a steel tier awakened? It doesn't make sense. Chen then says that idiot must have gotten lucky. Zhang let his guard down. They all should kill him and avenge Zhang. Liu Chen, a mid-rank steel tier, says a lowly piece of trash like him killed a steel tier. His luck won't save him twice. Liu Chen uses his ability, Thunderous Wrath, to attack, telling Lee this is his full power attack. Dust and debris spreads everywhere when he says that attack should have fried him into charcoal. Just then, Lee kills him, surprising all the others. Lee says so this is a full power strike from a steel tier mid-rank. It was just a little static shock. He says he's still far from turning him into charcoal as they're pathetically weak. Seeing this, Chen gets surprised, saying this guy isn't an ordinary person at all. He was hiding his true strength this entire time, but he's still just one person. He asks everyone to attack together, take him down. Everyone jumps at Lee to attack when Lee asks who said that he was alone. He uses his ability Victor's Pact when suddenly Benhita appears, killing two guys. She says they pathetic weaklings think they can kill her master. They should know their place. Both Benhita and Lee starts killing them one by one. After killing the others, Benhita tells Lee, there's only one left now. Let her take care of him. Just then, Lee grabs her shoulder, telling her there's no rush because this one is his. Chen becomes frightened when he says he will admit it. He's surprised that he was able to take things this far, but he has figured out his little trick. He has been trying to hide it, but every time he attacks, his mana leaks out for a split second, and that beast by his side keeps calling him Master. He's not even human anymore. Did he really give up his humanity just to kill him? Lee says thanks to him he had no other choice, but who the hell is he to judge him? Chen says he only dared to come after him because he thought he was still at steel tier high rank. He assumed he could win, but he miscalculated. After their last mission went sideways because of that tier 5 beast, he prepared for this day. Just then, he injects himself with something, telling Lee this is the new experimental drug he bought off the black market. Not only does it unlock his full potential, but it lets him temporarily break past his tier limitations. Right now, he's at silver tier mid-rank. He tells Lee he's 100 years too early to take revenge on him. Just then, Lee says he changed into an orange nameplate. That's too bad because it won't help him. It's nighttime. He doesn't stand a chance. Chen asks Nighttime, saying he has no idea how strong he is now. Even a silver scale, high rank, wouldn't be able to keep up with him now. He still can't escape his death as he rushes towards Lee. Just then, Lee activates his skill, Night Affinity, and jumps away. Chen says he's not getting away when suddenly, Lee starts jumping everywhere. Chen thinks there's no way. That's impossible. He took the injection so his eyes should be able to keep up with him. Just then, Lee hits Chen and then keeps on hitting him. Benhita gets surprised, thinking Master had a clear chance to kill him instantly, but instead he deliberately avoided his vitals. He's enjoying this. Chen, while being injured, asks Lee to show himself. He tells him he's not losing to a piece of trash like him and he will personally kill him. Just then, Lee stabs him from the back, saying, an eye for an eye. He then tells Chen an old friend of his is still hungry. Lee gives Chen another slash when Chen asks him to just end it already. Lee tells him he was just trying to kill him and now he's begging for mercy. He takes out the high-grade health potion, telling Chen he's not going to kill him so easily. That would be letting him off too easily. He's even going to heal him. Lee uses the potion on Chen and then stabs his leg when Chen screams in pain. Lee says he doesn't have to worry. He has plenty of potions. After every 5 seconds, he will stab him again as he wants him to experience endless pain and despair. Chen says he's pure evil. Lee says once he's done, he will throw him into the belly of a titan boa. Let it enjoy the meal. Benhita, looking from afar, thinks she knew it. Her master enjoys torturing his enemies, just like when he tormented her in the arena. Master is a total sadist. On the other hand, inside Yu Wu's office, his secretary walks in telling him the tech division just detected a unique mana signature. It's faint and fluctuating, but it matches the one that young master Yu Wen was investigating. The location is near Chen Zizhen's squad mission site. Yu Wu says after all this time hiding, he finally slipped up. A tier 5, Abyssal Titan Boa appears when Lee asks Chen to take a good look at this as if he recognizes this. Chen begs him, saying he doesn't want to be eaten by that thing. Just then, Lee gives him a finishing blow, cutting his neck. He then throws him towards the boa, which eats it. The boa then leaves when Lee thinks it's just going to eat and leave. It seems like it doesn't see him and Benhita as threats, probably because they're both classified as beasts. The system tells him he has reached level 30 and has unlocked a new skill. Lee checks the skill he has gained, Soul Resonance. If a follower's affection level reaches 100%, then their soul will resonate with their master, generating a powerful exclusive equipment. Lee thinks this skill only activates at max affection. He already experienced Nico's Soul Resonance. Even though he only used Bloodblade Bredso for 10 minutes, its stats were ridiculously powerful. If every follower can generate exclusive equipment through Soul Resonance, then his potential is limitless. Benhita is currently at 50% affection and Li Jue'er is at 83%. He guesses he will have to focus on the two of them for now. Just then, the system starts giving him a danger warning saying an extremely high-threat target is approaching rapidly. Immediate evasion is recommended. Lee gets surprised when he tells Benhita to cancel the summon and hide now. He too jumps away when Yu-Wu lands, thinking he could have sworn he sensed a faint presence just now, and the blood trail on the ground stops here. He gets angry thinking where the hell did they go as they couldn't have just vanished into thin air. Suddenly, the Titan Boa rushes towards Yu-Wu to attack when he jumps, saying this measly Tier 5 beast is daring to challenge him. He doesn't have time to play with filthy animals like him. Suddenly, he notices something saying something's off about that snake's face. Its right side has an extra horn. He says it really think it can show up looking like that and screw with him. He can't stand disgusting creatures like them. After that, the system tells Lee he's entering Battle Zone Arena. All equipped gear will be disabled, asking him to please select his combat weapon. Lee thinks for the system to give such a severe warning, this must be the guy Jue mentioned who wants revenge on him. Even though Magic Breathe Pill can conceal his mana presence, once he enters combat, he can't avoid releasing his energy. It looks like until he reaches peak strength, he should keep a low profile. Lee is looking at the weapons when he says it looks like once they entered the arena, they can't leave until the match is over. Even though his gear from Zhu got disabled, with his level 30 strength, he should be fine regardless. He then says, is it because his level is higher now? The gear stats are clearly better than last time. Moreover, the variety of weapons are still very comprehensive. Whether it's offense or defense options are plenty. Since last time he even found a screw-threaded yellow cucumber with a special perk, he bet he will find something good again. Just then, he finds Loving Heart Punishment Mini Whip with a special effect of hitting the target that puts both the user and target in an excited state, increasing each other's attack power. Lee says it boosts both his and the enemy's attack power at the same time. Talk about high risk, high reward, but if he's confident he can dodge everything, then there's no risk at all. He's going to pick the mini whip. The system then asks him to please select one buff of the following as it shows him random buffs. Lee checks them saying adventure mode has too much risk for too little gain. Turtle shell is too passive. Without knowing who the opponent is, it's useless. However, his 3 followers are quite strong. No matter who he picks, it's a win, so he selects good partner. The system tells him it's selecting followers for him. On the other hand, Joy is taking a bath, thinking why Lee's not back yet. Don't tell her he got caught by Yu-Wu or ran into a situation. She should forget it as there's no point in worrying. She has seen how strong he is, so there's no need for her to worry. Just then, she notices a strange light, wondering what's that light. The system summons her into the arena. It says the follower is detected without clothing. The system is replacing her outfit. She appears in front of Lee naked when she says he saw her naked body. She asks he brought her here, asking what the hell is this place. Lee tells her to relax, saying he swears he saw nothing. He just wanted to get another read on her skills, that's all. Zhu thinks still does he really need to hold such an embarrassing weapon. Sally says today's second floor challenge, Lee Haoran and his follower. Their opponent is Flame Witch, master of the fire arts. The Flame Witch walks into the ring saying 2 against 1. Interesting, don't expect her to surrender like Benhita. She's Flame Witch, Balo telling them she will burn everything here to ashes. She then attacks them using a huge fireball when Lee thinks those tiny fireballs can become so big. This is the power of fire attribute skills. Both the power and range of her attacks are beyond his wildest imagination. If he uses the mini whip to boost her attack on top of that, it's way too risky. Damage taken in the arena carries over to real life. Whether it's him or Jue who get hurt, it's going to be bad. Just then he notices something, thinking the description said it puts both target and self in an excited state. It doesn't say the target has to be the enemy. Balo says now they know how powerful the Flame Witch Balo actually is. No matter how many they are, it's all the same to her. Let's see how long they can dodge as she fires more fireballs at them. Just then, Shui makes an ice wall protecting them as she says she hates fire types the most. Just because her damage is high, she thinks she can act all high and mighty. She will put her flame out today. Looking at her power, Balo says what a coincidence. She also hates ice types the most. She wasn't really trying just now, so it's time to get serious. Zhu tells her to let's see her when suddenly out of the blue, Lee hits her with the whip. Zhu screams, asking why the hell did he hit her when Lee says change of plans, telling her to just bear with it. He hits her again when she screams. As she's bending down, Lee says this angle is just perfect. Sally says what's going on. Lee is attacking his own teammate and it's intense. Her screams can be heard everywhere, wondering if they're fighting each other. Looking at them, Balo gets flustered when she says they're in the arena. What the hell are they both doing? Lee is hitting Zhou using the whip as her affection level keeps on increasing and reaches level 90%. She says she's a mid-level executive at Red City Group, yet here she's getting whipped in public with a little riding crop. It hurts, it's humiliating, yet she doesn't hate it at all. On the contrary, she's getting more and more excited. It feels like she's bursting with power. She unleashes her energy when the system tells Lee the target is in excited state. Attack power increases by 69%. Title, Battlefield Commander is activated, increasing all followers' stats. Lee says him too as he never felt too much better. He uses his ability, Night Affinity, that increases movement speed and attacks, causing bleeding effect. Just then, Balo attacks the ice wall, saying so much for her ice walls. Exert a little force and they're already crumbling. Balo asks, how dare they pull that stunt while fighting her? She starts storing energy in her mouth, saying she will never forgive them. Sally asks if Balo is preparing her ultimate move. It seems like Lee's behavior really ticked her off. Balo uses her ability, Lava Breath, to attack when a large fireball approaches them. Zhu asks Lee to leave it to her, telling her to feel the bite of extreme cold. She unleashes her power and then uses her ability Forzen Fang to counterattack when her attack hits Balo's attack, freezing it. Balo gets surprised. What? How is that possible when she freezes too? Sally says Lee Haran's follower not only blocked lava breath, but she turned the tables and completely froze Balo. Her strength is no joke. The winner of this round are Lee Haran and his follower. He now qualifies to challenge the third floor. The system tells him, fire resistance 20%, it improves resistance to fire damage and reduces damage taken. He also gained a skill point to enhance existing skill effects. The system then asks if he would like to proceed to Blood Prison Arena, floor 3. Lee thinks with his current stacked attack boost, he could totally keep going, but he's a little too worked up right now. This mini-whip's side effects are seriously getting to him, and he's not thinking straight anymore. Lee then tells Xue, she did great just now, he's impressed. He then asks, how is she holding up when she tells him she feels super weird. She has never felt so excited before in her life. Her butt still stings, but it feels so good. He thinks she's clearly not in her right mind now. If he continued challenging, then he might end up like her. Her then tells himself to forget it. Better use the arena portal to send her home first. It works out well in case someone is hunting him down. After coming back, Xue tells him, her body is getting sore everywhere, asking if he could give her a massage. He agrees, saying that's only fair since it's all his fault. The system removes her outfit when he gets embarrassed, asking what's happening to her clothes. She then asks him to let her change her clothes. After a bit, Xue is lying on the sofa. When she tells Lee she's ready now, he can start. He looks at her thinking if she seriously go change into black stockings just for the massage. He starts touching her body, thinking that's too smooth. This texture is unreal, so this is the magic of black stockings, thinking that's pretty massive. He then thinks, why is he thinking about this? This stimulating effect from the mini whip isn't wearing off. If anything, it's getting stronger, and with every physical contact they have. Xue, on the other hand, thinks his technique is amazing. He has got real skills. The stinging pain got swept away after his hands worked like magic. Instead, she feels excitement spreading throughout her whole body. Her affection level increases to 94% when she thinks not only did he steal her first kiss, now he has touched every single part of her body. She guessed that means he has to marry her. Her affection level increases to 96% when Lee says in her dream. He remembers her saying she wanted to finish what they couldn't do in the woods, so why don't they pick up from where they left now? He takes off his clothes when she tells him she just wanted a massage. Not to go that far, because she isn't mentally ready yet. He whispers in her ear, telling her she has been calling him the whole time. It doesn't seem proper, especially after getting whipped by his loving heart punishment whip. He asks what should she call him when she says daddy while breathing heavily. Her affection level increases to 98%. Xue's affection level reaches 100% when the system tells Lee followers' affection reached 100%. He has unlocked a special reward, Pinnacle Blood, that can be used only one time. Xue is on top of Lee when she tells him there's an endless surge of energy within her. It is amazing and it feels too good. She asks if he opened the door to a whole new world for her when the system tells him Xue has obtained the blood essence and significant attribute boost is applied. She's promoted to Star Diamond level when he gets surprised. She tells him she has come when the system tells him Blood Demon Essence can only be used on followers with 100% affection level when Lee thinks this mechanism is insane. Even a gold tier like Xue was instantly promoted to a whole new rank. Would this effect also work the same on someone at an even higher level? Lee tells her to remember the blood blade he pulled out of Nico's chest. Now she has the same qualifications to generate an exclusive weapon for him. She asks really as let's try it out. He uses his skill, Soul Resonance, when Xue starts breathing heavily, telling him
it's coming! I wonder what kind of weapon I will create for Master!
Crown of the Knight, Intelligence 100, Magic Critical Hit Rate plus 10%. It also increases magic attack power by 20% at night or in darkness. Lee says an exclusive piece like this is in a league of its own, and now with this crown on, he looks even more like a vampire, but wearing a crown feels a bit flashy. The system tells him, system has applied hidden appearance mode, his equipment attributes remain active, but the crown will not be visible. Lee then tells her thanks to her, he managed to wrap up everything he needed to do here, but he can't stay here for any longer because of his identity. She asks he's leaving when Lee agrees, telling her one more thing, she's pretty loaded, so does she mind lending him some money? She asks borrow money, telling her they just did that, and now hey, asking for money. That's kind of awkward, but what's hers is his now, so take as much as he needs. After securing the funds, Lee Haran made a quick detour to First High School before leaving J City, and he casually completed his daily quest. Lee thinks his family is in front of him, but he can't even say hello to them. It really feels kind of strange. He then thinks he shamelessly borrowed this money, so he better spend it wisely. Even if she doesn't get into a good university, it's okay to just live a happy and healthy life. At the Red City group, Xue is still feeling it when she thinks she's back at work, but her mind can't stop thinking about last night with the master. Is she really that kind of person, as this is so embarrassing? Just then someone calls her when she gets startled, saying it's not what it looks like. She was preparing for the meeting. The girl tells her that's not it. Last night some colleagues saw people from the Elite Center taking away 2 of their teammates. It's most likely related to Yu Wen's death. At the Elite Center, Suburban Factory, Shu's colleagues are held hostage when one of them asks how many times does he have to say this? They had nothing to do with their man's death. There was nothing left behind but a skeleton when they arrived. The other says that's right. They didn't even see a single strand of beast furs. Since they can't find the killer, they are picking on them small fry instead. That's called bullying the weak. Wang gets angry at them saying they are still acting tough. They both have a death wish. Just then the door burst opens when Wang says who's there. Shui arrives when she in anger says she finally found him, calling him a bald bastard. She asks him to hand over her teammates, now PR, she will tear this place apart. Her subordinate says she really came to protect them. They knew they could count on her. Wang looks at her saying he does realize there are dozens of Silver Scales elites guarding this warehouse. She's just a low-level gold rank then, how the hell did she sneak in without anyone noticing? Shui tells him, his underlings. She already turned them all into ice sculptures, but no worries because he's next. She unleashes her power saying it's time to try her newest technique. She throws ice balls at H when Wang says such a pitiful trick. Her ice can't hold a candle to his flame fist. Last time she was lucky because the young master held him back, but this time she won't be so fortunate. Hearing this, she says without him around the unlucky one is definitely him when she uses her ability 16-fold ice wheel. Zhu attacks, hits him, but Wang blocks her attack, telling her he's one of the strongest gold rank elites. She simply doesn't stand a chance. She asks, so what if he's a gold rank? She's no longer the same before. To her, all of them are the same when Wang rushes towards her. Just then, some ice shards hit him when he gets surprised thinking, what? That's from the scattered ice wheel. She can control even the tiniest size shards with precision. She uses her ability Bloom Ice Flower when suddenly the tiny shards turn into huge ice boulders piercing into his body. He says so, tricking him into attacking the ice wheel was just a trap. She wanted him to destroy it and lower his guard. This was her plan all along. He underestimated her. She tells him he's not completely clueless, but it's too late for that. The ice shards she controlled have entered his body already through his wounds. With a snap, she can freeze his blood solid, telling him he's already lost. If he behaves himself, then maybe she will consider letting him live. She walks towards her subordinates when they tell her that was incredible. She has grown even stronger. Wang tells her he was chosen to be young master, Yu Wu's partner, because he's one of the strongest gold rank fighters, and yet he was humiliated by a gold rank woman. What a disgrace. He then unleashes his power, asking whom is she trying to scare? What if there's ice inside him? He will just melt it. He jumps and rushes towards Zhu to punch her when she calls him a fool and then turns his heart into ice. The shards breaks out of his body when she tells him his flames can't melt her ice, and by the way, she's no longer just a gold rank. She has broken through and now she's at the diamond star level. Afterwards, she asks her subordinates how are they both holding up when they tell her they're tough as nails. Just a few scratches, no matter how much that bald guy tortured them, they didn't say a word to him. Just then, Jui gets surprised thinking this bloodlust, could it be when she turns back and sees Yu Wu there? He tells her that's impressive that she broke through from gold rank to star diamond in just 2 days. It's truly astonishing. He then unleashes his power saying there are two things that he can't stand. The first are those who look asymmetric and the second are those who lie to him, and she just happens to be both. Meanwhile, on the other side, Li Haoran had returned to the Succubus village. He retrieved the weapon he had longed for, the Blood Blade Saw. He says last time he only got a brief taste of it as he never checked its attributes properly. The system tells him Blood Blade Saw, while equipped all stats are 100 plus 30, and at night or in dark environments, physical attacks will increase and he will recover 5% HP per kill. He thinks just like the Crown of Night, it grants nighttime bonuses. Is that a feature of exclusive weapons and its scales? With his level gaining plus 30 to all stats per level, the stronger he becomes, the stronger it gets. Nico thinks Master immediately wanted to perform soul resonance the moment he returned. The way he held the blood blade, it was like he was holding herself. She's so happy when the system tells Lee he is leveled up. Lee gets happy thinking that's Zhu's doing, no doubt about it. She helped him level up 3 times in a row as her opponent must have been powerful. Just then, he gets surprised, thinking if someone that strong is fighting her at this time, then it must be at the elite center. She's in danger. After that, both Nico and he are rushing towards Zhu when Lee asks her if she can fly any faster. Nico tells him with him holding her like that, it's hard to concentrate and she's already at her limit. Sue is standing there when suddenly Yu Wu appears in front of her. She thinks he's so fast when he tells her to feel his wrath. He punches her, causing a powerful impact that throws everything away. Sue gets badly injured when she thinks he just hit her with just one punch and it felt like a truck. This guy's insane. Are those two already down for the count? If she doesn't go all out, then she won't stand a chance. She uses her ability, Ice Wheels, attacking him when he tells her she can control this many ice wheels at once. Not bad, but isn't that her limit? Whether she's a gold rank or even a star diamond, to him it makes no difference. He stands there when she tells him he won't know unless she tries. Just as the attack was about to hit him, he uses his ability Slaughter's Tempest, breaking away her attack. Zhu gets shocked, thinking in a blink he just blew away over 1,000 ice wheels. This is what a legend tier awakened is capable of. Just then, Yu Wu uses some kind of a strange ability when she thinks, what's this? Why can't she move her body? His aura alone is paralyzing her. A control skill through sheer pressure. He rushes towards her to attack when Shui thinks she's a done for. Their story, hers and Master's, has only just begun, but this is really how it ends when suddenly something falls in front of her, creating a large impact. She thinks, what is this feeling, when she suddenly thinks, Master. Just then, Lee stands in front of her when he says she's his woman. He blocks his attack, saying if he lay a finger on her, then he will rip him apart. Lee uses his ability Peak Blood when the system tells him it unlocks the Blood Demon God's full stats and skill set. It grants overwhelming power and the duration is 10 minutes. Yu Wu says so this is why Zhu's been protecting this all this time. Turns out she's been sleeping with the enemy, but thanks to her, he finally revealed his true self. He says he's the beast who killed his brother. Now he can avenge him. Lee asks avenge, telling him that won't be necessary as he rips his arm away. Yu Wu starts screaming, saying his arm, while Zhui falls on the ground. Lee looks at her when he apologizes for being late. She looks at him saying she knew he would come for her. Lee then gives Nico a potion, telling her to get her patched up. He doesn't have much time, so he needs to take him out. Nico agrees when Yu Wu tells him not only did he rip his arm off just because he caught him off guard, he thinks if he can finish him now, he hit legend tier at 13 and he's once in a generation genius. Scum like him will never understand true power. He unleashes his power, telling Lee to open his eyes and behold his ultimate form, six-winged slaughter, angel form as his appearance change. Yu Wu tells Lee this scythe messes with his sense of symmetry. That's why he always hated transforming, but now that he has lost an arm, it's strangely freeing. He then tells Lee he dare offend his aesthetic ideals. He will pay the price, calling him an asymmetrical inferior pickled animal. He then uses his ability Kill God Mode, Soul Reversal Cauldron, saying he has no place in this world. Shu thinks what terrifying killing intent. He wasn't even going all out when he was fighting her. She can't believe Masters is willing to go toe-to-toe with this monster to protect her. The system tells Lee, Purple Gold Mission. Target has overwhelming intent to kill the host. Eliminate within 5 minutes to neutralize risk, and completing the mission will grant a special reward. Lee thinks even the system is desperate for this guy to die, but honestly, without even the rewards, he would kill him. Yu Wu uses his ability, Godslayer 6 Strike, to attack Lee when his attack hits Lee head on. Just then Lee tells him he calls those slashes divine. Let him show him what real slashes look like. Lee uses his ability Bloodblade Torrent when he attacks Yu Wu. Yu Wu dodges his attack, telling him not bad. That actually packed a punch. Too bad that it can't keep up with his speed when suddenly his arm cuts off, shocking him. Yu Wu says what the hell, he dodged that, but it still hit him. Lee tells him that's sword's aura, as if he isn't all about being symmetrical, he just helped him out. Just then, Yu Wu runs away when Lee asks if he's running away. He thinks there's a limit, and he doesn't intend to make it. He uses his ability Devil's Taste and then rushes after him, saying he's not getting out of here alive. The system is showing him the emergency mission time when Yu Wu thinks his strength is real, but the sky is his turf. Up here, he's unbeatable. His flight speed is unmatched and the Angels of Slaughter's power, he can even regenerate his arm. Up here, he doesn't stand a chance. Just then, Lee appears behind him asking what's he so smug about. Yu Wu gets shocked thinking what he's faster than him. Just then, Lee slaps Yu Wu on his face, saying it's a special move, Bug Swatter. Yu Wu falls down, hitting the ground pretty badly when he tells Lee his dad is the CEO of the Elite Center. He can't kill him. If he dies, the whole J-City hierarchy will come after him and they won't let him go. Lee takes out the sword when he says they brothers are really alike. Even when they are dying, they both pull their dads as important cards. They thinks this is a schoolyard brawl. They cry to mommy just because they got punched. Only if he dies can he finally have peace as he attacks the Yu Wu, killing him. The system tells him he leveled up when Shui says that's incredible. Master wiped out Yu Wu without even breaking a sweat, and Yu Wu was supposed to be a legendary tier awakened. Nico tells her this is just business as usual for Lord Haoran. Level 36, new skill unlocked, Skill Torrent. It fires a devastating stream of blood energy forward, dealing explosive damage. Skill changes form based on the weapon used. The system then tells him emergency mission completed. He has received a special reward that's the mini blood moon, consumable for only one time. He says that sounds kinda weird, but if he doesn't have peak blood active. The system tells him it creates a 1-hour blood moon while active. All blood tribe stats are doubled when he says that's a massive boost. After killing Yu Wu, Lee says done, asking them both if they both are alright. Zhu says thanks to the master's position. Suddenly Nico jumps up at him, telling him not to worry. Big sister Zhu, and she's totally fine. As long as he's around, nothing goes wrong. She hugs Lee tightly when Lee tells her that's good. That's all that matters. He then asks Zhu if she's going back to J-City now. That will just put a target on her back. Why not she come with him? Nico agrees, telling her to come to the Succubus village with them. Zhu tells them she would love to stay by his side, but now's not the time. With Yu Wu, the legend tier death, J-City is going to explode. The higher-ups will definitely take action against him, so if she leaves too, then Red City might regard him as a threat. She doesn't want to drag him into more trouble just for her desires. Lee tells her, even now she's still putting him first, then promise him that she will stay safe. If she's ever in danger, then no matter what come, he has got her back. At B City, inside a private rehabilitation center, a guy is coughing up blood when he says it has gotten this bad. If he stayed in this damn rehab center, then he's going to rot away in this bed. His heart is racing like hell, it doesn't feel right. He's Yu Tianxiang, a legend tier awakened, and the president of the Elite Center. He says he has to go back to the Elite Center. A few days later, the news of Yu Wu's death has spread across J-City. Upon returning, Yu Tianxiang is devastated by the loss of his sons. Determined to avenge him, he calls a special emergency meeting, summoning the most powerful awakened groups in J-City. Inside of a room, a beautiful girl is sitting there when she says she's sure they have all heard what recently happened at the Elite Center. Several high-rank awakened were killed, including Gold Tier Yu Wen and even Legendary Tier Yu Wu. She's Zhao Yifei, a Supreme Tier awakened, J-City branch, Awakened Association. She says their top suspect is the mysterious beast that appeared during the recent Mana anomaly. She then says he's the backbone of J-City. Tell her how should they handle this. Yu Tianxiang in anger tells her they must turn the city upside down if they have to. That beast must pay for his sons. Just then, another guy asks he wants to drag their people into this mess just to avenge his son. What if his illness made him senile? High-rank awakened are precious resources, they can't waste them. He's by Lillian, Legend Tier, Senlin Group. He says if he lost people during his wild goose chase, then would he take responsibility? He won't gamble his forces for his personal vendetta. Just then, another guy tells Bai that's not the right attitude. With great power comes great responsibility. Bai thinks that brain-dead Musclehead dares to call him his brother when the guy tells him it's their responsibility to protect J-City. They at the Justice Guild will do everything they can to hunt down that beast. He's Liu Zhengyi, Legend Tier, Justice Guild. A lady tells Liu that's admirable passion, but passion alone won't be enough to stop that monster. She's Li Hongpin, Legend Tier, Red City Group. She tells him she has been to the battlefield where Yu Wu fought. Not a single trace of beast blood was found. Other than Zhao Yifei, anyone here who could kill someone like Yu Wu without a scratch. This beast is likely 8th tier or higher, even maybe after 9th. She then tells him so far only Elite Center members have been killed. What if this beast is only targeting them? Hearing that, Tianxiang gets angry at her, asking what the hell is she implying to. One of her people, Jue, was at both crime scene where his son died. Red City is very suspicious, asking her if she's colluding with this beast. Just then, Zhao says enough. No more bickering. She heard their opinions as they don't have enough intel on this thing. Rushing in blind is too risky. She will report this to headquarters and request 2 more Supreme Tier Awakened ones dispatched to J-City. Until they arrive, nobody moves. Tianxiang tells her Supreme Tier Awakened ones are always busy. It will at least take a month before headquarters can free them up. He can't wait that long. If they rally, then every Awakened in this city, they have a real shot at taking it down. Why not try it? Just then, Zhao says she heard he's seriously ill. It's time he went back to bed. On the other hand, Li thinks he doesn't have much time left. He has to seize every opportunity to grow stronger before they find him. He should max out every follower's affection to unlock exclusive rewards and weapons. He looks at his subordinate stats, thinking Bunheeta's hypersensitive skin, is that from when he used that cucumber? Her reactions were definitely more interesting, so let's start with her. He uses his ability, Victor's Pact, when Bunheeta appears saying she's at his service. She tells him this place doesn't look like a battlefield. He summoned her to the middle of nowhere. She then gets surprised, asking if he's planning to. Li tells her the night is long and he can't sleep. He was hoping she would take a walk with him. She gets surprised, asking what as if he wants to bed her. He grabs her hand out of the blue, saying let's head out. She gets embarrassed, telling him she will go wherever Master Haoran leads. Her affection increases to 55% when she thinks his hand is so warm. She feels his heat flowing into her. It's embarrassing as this is the first time she's ever held a man's hand. Li thinks just by holding hands her affection is already at 58%. Now it's time to notch it up. He then takes her into grassy area where some plants rub her body. She thinks it tickles as the reeds are brushing her backside. She thinks there are reeds everywhere. They are brushing on her, making her sensitive. Anyway, why did her master choose this place for a walk? Suddenly, she stops, thinking that one is just like a man's hand sliding under her clothes. Her affection level increases to 75% when she tells him there are way too many reeds here, making her all itchy and hot. Her body is acting all weird again, as if this goes on, then she can't hold on. Li looks at her, thinking he didn't thought she would be this sensitive. Last time she got overwhelmed just from a bit of blood sucking. If this keeps up, then she might get unsummoned again. Li then picks her up and gives her a piggyback ride, telling her this will keep the reeds off her. Just rest on his back for a bit. She tells him the reeds aren't tickling anymore, but now their bodies are pressed together tightly. Her affection level increases to 90%. She tells him every step he takes, she feels it rubbing against her. It's so much worse than those reeds. Her affection level reaches 95% when she tells him she can't take it anymore. Any more than that, and she will lose control. She tells him to please forgive her, but she must leave when Li gets surprised. He quickly throws her on the ground when she asks what is he doing. Her body is already burning up from his touch. She can't walk like this anymore. Li thinks her affection is almost maxed out. He can't back out now, telling her there's something really important for him to do. He can't let her go yet. She gets surprised, thinking what does it mean? She wonders if he's going to, but they don't even have that kind of relationship yet. Isn't that way too soon? She means if he wants to take things further, then she won't say no. He grabs her face when she thinks his hand is touching her again. He started with her face. Does it mean next to her clothes? Li tells her she doesn't have to try so hard. She is his first summoned companion. She is important to him. Relax, it's just a walk. That's all he wanted when her affection level increases to 98%. She gets surprised, thinking if it was just her being dirty-minded this whole time. Li apologizes, telling her he knew how sensitive her body is and he still brought her to this place. Back then, life was rough to him. When he was at his limit, too tired to fight anymore, he would always come out to the lake and just stare. Something about that still water calmed him. It gave him strength to keep going. Bunheeta thinks even someone like Master has a vulnerable side, and he opened up to her. They are like a couple walking under the stars when her affection reaches 100%. She looks at him thinking so she really is important to him. The system tells Lee his affection maxed out. He has unlocked a special reward, Blood-Forged Castle. Lee thinks so this time it's not peak blood. He guessed those 2 times before were just lucky draws, but still if it's a secret reward then it's going to be strong. Blood-Forged Domain instantly constructs a personal fortress in a desolate region. Within its range, him and his followers will rapidly regenerate HP and MP, a fortress, a healing zone, and home base for building up his forces. It's pretty amazing. He thinks he really needs power right now. He uses soul resonance when Binhida says something is glowing. Did Master put this on her when suddenly a pendant appears? The system tells him Binhida's spirit pendant. Spirit 88% and status resistance 25%, 5% chance to nullify magical attacks, and 10% to nullify control type spells. Lee looks at the pendant saying not only does it boost resistance to abnormalities, it even gives a chance to nullify magic attacks. Against magic users, this will be a game changer. It's a soul resonance exclusive item, only usable when their souls and hearts are aligned perfectly. Lee then tells her he owes her one when Binhida thinks no wonder. Her chest felt like it got electrocuted, all numb and tingly. It's like her soul just gave Master a baby. Lee thinks next he needs to keep pushing forward in the blood prison arena and get more followers. Then max out their affection in the shortest time possible. Just 1 peak blood draw can change everything. Then he won't have to fear the elite center's encirclement and suppression, and if his bad luck and he doesn't pull it, then he can just leave and use Blood Castle to start his own domain. Just then, Binhida hugs him from behind when he asks her what's wrong. She tells him she doesn't know she meant so much to Master. He is the fated one she has been waiting for so long. He said their souls and hearts are aligned. Doesn't that mean they are soulmates? She tells him she just gave him a child on the soul level, then shouldn't their bodies catch up as well? Lee looks at her thinking, the soul resonance must have overstimulated her. She's totally high off it. Just then, Binhida kisses him. After some time, the system tells him follower Binhida has obtained the Blood Demon Essence. Her stats have been massively boosted. Beast rank increased to mid-5th tier. Essence of Blood Demon only takes effect with a follower having 100% affinity. Binhida says that's incredible. Master didn't just help her breakthrough, but he gave her the most intense, unforgettable experience. That was too much as she can't take it anymore. She disappears when Lee says her sensitive skin is still a huge issue. He needs to find a way to help her overcome it, otherwise it will become a fatal weakness in the battle. He then says it's still early, so why not hit the arena while the moon is out? The system welcomed his into the arena, saying all gears and consumables are disabled except for exclusive equipment. He says if exclusive gear still works, then no need to pick a weapon. A defense item or healing potion will do just fine. The system then asks him to choose one of the buffs when he says it's time sensitive. He needs the fastest power gain even though it's risky, so he chooses risky adventure. Sally then welcomes him into the 3rd layer of the Blood Prison arena. Today's challenger, Lee Haoran, enters with 3 pieces of exclusive gear. Can he keep his dominant streak? His opponent, the arena guardian of this floor, charging across the grasslands with unstoppable force and speed. The Divine Knight who wields the sun and the silver moon. A 5th tier beast, Centaur warrior, Santor. Santor says he beat Flame Demon Balo. She will admit that he has got some skills, but against her he won't stand a chance. Lee says that's a rare species, but doesn't she talk big? She tells him if he's not convinced, then prove her wrong. Show her what he's got. System tells him status effect, taunt. He's forced to attack when Lee uses his ability. Bloodblade Torrent to attack. Santar uses her ability, Solar God Shield, when she protects herself. Lee thinks just 1 strike, and her solar shield's already nearly charged. Her attack power is unreal. The silver moon as she rushes towards him. The energy spreads everywhere when Lee thinks something is off. The energy burst is too strong, but also it carries a lot of his own aura. He thinks he got it. She's using taunt. She forced him to attack her shield and then absorb that energy into her spear. Using his own power to attack him, that's her mechanism. Basically, the stronger he hits, the stronger she hits back. Sally says it seems like Centaur is giving Lee quite a headache. Unless he can crack her shield, Lee might not win. He then throws his weapon towards her, but she protects herself using her shield. She thinks he threw away his weapon. What's he doing? She then asks if he already is giving up. That's lame. He shouldn't give up. Hit her like he means it, as she doesn't even feel a thing. System tells Lee he's forced to attack the target for a short duration, but his resistance reduces the deduction. He hops back when she says that's why he dropped his weapon. He wanted to lower his attack power and shorten the taunt window, so she shouldn't have enough time to charge the Silver Moon Lance. It's his first time fighting her, yet he already figured out her whole deal. He has impressive deduction skills, but she didn't become a tier 5 beast just because of her defense. She rushes towards Lee to stab him, but Lee grabs her weapon, injuring himself. She tells him a warrior without a weapon. What can he possibly do now? Lee starts laughing when he asks who told her that sword wielders are the only ones called warriors. He uses his ability, Blood Prison Burial, when sent, or gets surprised thinking that's blood from his wounds. Blood Prison Barrier, level 3, can be cast using the user's own blood. The skill form is fully customizable when Lee takes a hold of her. She, while being unable to move, says so that's what he was setting up from the start. Every move he made was just bad as he lured her into striking first. He's clever, but his moves are seriously embarrassing. Lee says she thought he was on layer 3. Jokes on her, he has moved on to layer 5. Without her shield, she can't activate her defense mechanism. He then gets on top of her, saying he only changed the skill form because he wants her as his follower, otherwise he would have turned her into a pincushion by now. He then grabs her from behind, saying since she's a centaur, it's only fitting he tame her well. Sally says Lee actually used his body to pin Centaur down. The move looks brutal, yet why is her face burning up? Centaur thinks she fell for his trick. This is the first time someone else has ridden her, and it's a man no less. His body is pressing against her and she can't break free. This feels so strange, painful, and yet exciting. If this keeps up, she's going to suffocate. She can't just sit here and die as she has to fight back. Just then, she marches towards the wall, telling him if he doesn't let go, then they will both go down together. Lee looks at the wall when he tells her then he won't hold back and chokes her harder, leaving her unconscious. Sally says she passed out. Centaur has been choked unconscious by Lee's grappling technique. She's completely unable to continue. The winner of the Blood Prison Arena, Floor 3, is Lie. He has earned the right to challenge the 4th floor. The system tells him his stamina is down to 45% when he says he took a few hits, but he pulled through. He drinks the yellow jade gourd when his defense increases, and he gains a skill point. The system asks if he would like to continue to the 4th floor of the Blood Prison Arena. When he says buffs carry over, then he can keep stacking the Adventure Journey bonus, and his gourd still has 2 sips left that should hold him. He agrees when Sally says Lee will carry his current state forward into the 4th floor. Let's welcome the next Arena Guardian of the Blood Pressure Arena. Lee says bring it on because he's still in peak form. Last round, he had to play safe around Centaur's mechanics. He didn't get to show off what the Blood Blade can really do. Hopefully he gets to use it this time when suddenly some tentacles attack him, but he cuts them down saying they haven't even entered yet, and she's already throwing attack skills at him. A tentacle lady appears when she says she can't help it because his aura is just too tempting. The moment she saw him, her instincts ran wild. She's a tier 5 mid-stage mimic tentacle beast, Bide. She asks what would be the most thrilling way to toy with him when he says this woman looks like pure poison. It might be time someone put her in her place as he rushes towards her. Bide says impatient men, she loves them, but who's training who here? That's still up in the air. She uses her ability Tentacle Strangle to attack Lee, but Lee dodges her attack, asking if she thinks she can tame him with that. She tells him not so sure about that when suddenly she uses her ability Tidal Surge. Her tentacle spreads everywhere when Lee thinks she's using her tentacles to turn the ground at high speed. What's she trying to do? Lock down his movements when suddenly she grabs him. Lee thinks that last move was just a distraction and he walked right into it. Holding him, she asks what's the best way to torture him. Just imagining it is driving her wild with excitement. Sally says Lee has been caught by the tentacles. Bide's tentacles aren't just for show. After that brutal battle with Centaur, Lee hasn't fully recovered. It looks like challenging 2 tier 5 opponents in a row really was pushing it. Bide starts choking Lee using her tentacles when the system tells Lee he's poisoned. He will lose 0.5 max HP per second and a duration is 60 seconds. Lee gets surprised thinking her tentacles are laced with poisons and it's potent. At this rate, he will be dead in under 2 minutes. She tells him her tentacles are covered in countless tiny mouths clinging to his skin, constantly injecting deadly toxins. The moment she grabbed him, his fate was sealed, but if he calls her big sister nicely, then maybe she will let him live. Just then she screams in pain when Lee bites her hand, drinking blood. Lee then disappears when she says he's playing dirty now, even using his mouth. He's making big sister really mad. She then gets surprised saying where did he go when the system tells Lee blood stealth mode. He will enter a brief invisible state that reappear when attacking, dealing bonus damage and recovering 5% HP. He drinks the gourd thinking her poison tentacles are seriously annoying. Getting tagged once cost 30% of his HP. His gourd has only got 1 sip left. If this drags on, then he's finished. Bite on the other hand thinks he's using invisibility to sneak attack. Which way is he coming from? Left, right, or above? When standing there, she gets surprised, thinking from below. Lee attacks her using his ability, Blood Prison, when countless needles attacks her. She thinks that's a disgusting move. Chasing her nonstop as they should give it a rest already. More needles appear when she thinks even her landing spots as she protects herself. She then tells him he's really rough. He has no sense of pity for a lady. He's seriously pissed her off now. Lee asks pity when he appears behind her, saying that comes after he tame her. She gets surprised looking at him thinking he has got more tricks. He's devious when Lee attacks her, cutting off her legs. She falls back screaming when the system tells Lee the target has entered bleeding state. She thinks how dare he wreck her body like this as she won't forgive him. The system tells him about poison status when he thinks tier 5 beasts really are on another level. Just that poison alone almost wrecked him. Because of resistance, the poison removed early when he says that's a good thing he had been Hita's resistance and a yellow jade gold, otherwise he would have been toast. He then tells her without those beloved tentacles of hers, what can she even do now? Her fate is already sealed when she tells him to wait as she gets it. She didn't realize who he was. She knows she was wrong now. Just then, she tries attacking him once again when suddenly Benhita's spirit necklace activates and negates her magic attack. She gets shocked saying what the hell? Her skill is gone. Lee says she's really hopeless. Bide tells him she really means it as she apologizes. She surrenders to him, but Lee gives her a final slash, finishing her off saying as if he would believe a word out of her mouth. He will just have to train her extra hard from now on. Sally announces Lee as the winner of the Blood Prison Arena's 4th floor. Who would have thought he turned the tables and took down 2 5th-tier guardians in a row? His growth rate is unreal. He receives poison resistance that increases resistance to poison damage. He also receives a defensive skill, Tentacle Stranglehold, which summons several tentacles from behind to bind and double hit enemies. He thinks he actually got her tentacle skill too. That's a pretty sweet bonus. All in all, this run was totally worth it. Sally says the Blood Prison Arena brings out a boss-tier guardian every 5 floors. Those bosses are always dangerous as hell. The difficulty spikes like crazy. The next one up is a beast straight out of a legend, Gorgon Medusa. If he's facing her, then he should better be fully prepared or he'll regret it. Lee thanks her for the heads up, thinking that's pretty interesting. The next day at Succubus village, Lee says he already drank a healing potion. Did she really had to go this far wrapping him up like this? Nico tells him he really can't be careless. They can't let that perfect body of his get scarred, and this is the first time she has seen him take this much damage. She's so worried that she can barely stand it. He tells her he gets how she feels, but this is the price of getting stronger. A few injuries are nothing. In this world, if they want to survive, then they have to fight with everything they have got. On the other hand, Yu Tianxiang says by the time the Supreme Tier Awakened arrives to help, it will already be too late. None of them gives a damn unless it happens to them. He doesn't have much time left. If he can't avenge his sons, then he can't die in peace. His caretaker tells him there are still a few bloodthirsty guilds in J City. Maybe she can rally them to his cause. She's his personal doctor from B City, and almost nobody here knows her, let alone what she's capable of. She is Liu Yao, Star Diamond level. Tianxiang says she doesn't mean when she agrees, telling him it's a little extreme, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Still, if she gets caught, she's screwed beyond saving. But if she pulls this off, then she wants something small in return. With both his sons gone, and after all her years of loyal service, Donnie thinks it's only fair to add her into his will. At night at the Justice Guild's checkpoint, outskirts of J City guards are patrolling the area when one of them spots a girl asking who is there. He says no one is allowed outside the city right now. There is a dangerous beast on the loose. Guildmaster, Liu Zhengyi ordered them to stand guard and keep everyone safe. It's not safe here, so head back home immediately. Just then, the girl's hair start acting weird when they pierce through everyone, sucking them dry. She thinks sorry about this, really. She doesn't want to either, but the old man has got one foot in the grave and that inheritance is just too much to pass up. This here is a special reagent she made using the beast's lingering aura on Second Master's corpse. With her skills, no one will be able to trace it. One little splash of this and it's just another beast-related accident. She thinks about Yu Tianxiang thinking he's hers. Liu Yao attacked several guild outposts in the same way. She framed Li Haoran by planting her secret toxin formula. Now the whole city sees him as a threat. Zheng Yi checks the dead body when he says it's the same aura, the one who killed Yu Wen and Yu Wu. He says this is an insult to the Justice Guild itself, as he will never forgive them for this. A girl says she spent so long gathering just enough people to debut well, and he wiped them all out in just one night. She's Luo Xuan at Star Diamond level, heavy metal girl group. She asks, what's the point of a solo idol group, as she won't rest until she sees that thing buried. Bai says all those outposts, the guards were all drained dry, and every scene had that beast's signature aura. The evidence says he's the same one who attacked the elite center, but he only ever went after them. Something doesn't add up. At Zhu's house, Zhu is doing yoga, saying there's no way Master attacked J-City outposts for no reason. This is total nonsense. Just then, Li Hongping enters her room saying she thought she stopped doing yoga. She asks if she got a lot on her mind. Zhuei gets startled, calling her mom, asking why is she here. She hasn't visited her in years. Her mother tells her she's been hiding her identity for so long and her job has kept her busy. She apologizes, saying that beast who saved her is making waves again in the city, so she came to check on her. Zhu tells her it wasn't him. It doesn't make sense. He had nothing to gain from this. Her mother asks if she thinks a beast's motive has logic. It sounds like she knows him really well, asking if they're close. Zhui blushes, telling her they aren't. She just got lucky and escaped once. Her mother tells her she's such a bad liar, asking if she knows what her ability is. Zhui says she's not here for her at all. She came to investigate the beast. She then says anyway she's just a kid she doesn't want. No matter how hard she works, she never notices her. Her mother says if she didn't come, then the association or Yu Tianxiang will. This is her way of protecting her. It's serious, what else can she possibly do? She uses her ability and starts looking at her memories. Zhu then gets snap out of it when she says she saw everything. She read her memory without asking. Her mother apologizes, telling her but she has seen that name Li Haoran before. He's not a beast. He was supposed to be dead. A while back, a hired porter died in a mission from Elite Center. She read that incident's report. His name was Li Haoran. The photo matched the one in her memory exactly when she asks what. She tells her he even asked her about Elite Center, then systematically took out every survivor from that mission. That's all the proof she needs. They are the same person. An ordinary man died, then came back days later as a powerful beast, but he still has a human heart. That's incredible. She then disagrees, saying he's a human with beast powers, the who possesses the power of the beast. She then tells Zhuei she did the right thing. Last time he blew his cover to save her from Yu Wu, so this time Red City must protect him with everything they have got. He might be the key to their future. Meanwhile, Li Haoran pushes himself to grow stronger before the storm hits. Inside the forest, Nico asks what does he think? Pretty solid location. This cave is packed with mana. There's no shortage of beast inside when Li says that's perfect, just what he needed. As both of them are walking inside the cave, Nico tells him it's so dark here in this cave, she can barely see anything. Li thinks because he has dark affinity, not only he's unaffected by darkness, he even got buffs from it, but for Nico and the others, this is a big disadvantage. He didn't come here just to level up himself. This is about training the whole team. He activates his skill, Victor's Pact, summoning everyone. Centaur tells him she will fight loyally under his command. Her affection level is 50%. Bide tells Li he really didn't hold back. Her chopped off tentacles still hasn't grown back. She had no choice but to appear in this sad, pitiful form. Her affection level is 69%. Balo asks, why did he summon her and where's that ice woman? Call her out as she wants a rematch. She lost last time because she let her guard down. Her affection level is 10% when Lee tells her to watch her tone, asking if that's how she speaks to him. He summoned her to light the way for the team. Balo gets angry, saying he wants her the flame demon to light their way. That's not happening. She tells him he didn't even beat her in the arena anyway. Just then, the system tells him follower Balo has less affection and rising dissatisfaction. Subdue her immediately. Lee says there's no wonder her affection is so low and her attitude is so awful. She's mad she just lost, as it looks like he has to knock some manners into her. He tries to grab her, but Balo jumps back, asking, where does he think he's swinging that? She then attacks him using her ability Great Fireball, telling him he's trapped in here. There's nowhere to run to this time. This time she will win for sure. Just then, Lee appears behind her, saying she's seriously talking nonsense right now, and Balo thinks, how did he dodge that? Lee then uses his tentacles as he grabs Balo, telling her, and now she has lost again. He asks if they are done now and can they move on when her affection increases to 50%. Balo asks for forgiveness, saying she was wrong. Balo pledges her loyalty to Master Haoran. Afterwards, as they came here to train as a team, do they have to cling on to him like this? Nico says she can't help it. Being close to him just feels safer. Bide tells him he even copied one of her skills, as if he's interested in her. Maybe they can research some new techniques together. Centaur then says there's a fork up ahead. Should they split up? Lee says these forks doesn't seem like they are meant to be taken. They all lead right back to this central chamber, and it's littered with animals and beast bones. Lee says this must be a feeding den, a place where beasts trap prey and eat them. He then asks Centaur to use taunt and draw them out. They will wipe them all out in one go when Centaur says it once. Centaur says they cowardly freaks, hiding in their little holes, come out and fight her when suddenly all of the monsters comes out towards her. All the spiders jumps up at her when she tells them to keep it coming. Is that all they've got? All of them rush at her together. She tells them not to disappoint her. Just as the spiders gather over Centaur, Lee tells the others now's the time. Wipe them all out in one go. They all agree when Nico uses her ability Passionate Whip. Bide uses her ability Whiplash Formation, and Balo uses her ability Flame Breath. The three of them attacks the spiders when Lee levels up. He says even though the spiders are low level, the sheer number of them gave him tons of experience. He also gained a new skill, Devil's Hand, that casts a surge of demonic energy to grab an image or objects from a distance. He thinks still, if there are these many little spiders, there has to be a Spider King nearby. It didn't fall for the taunt, so where's it hiding? Those tunnels the little ones came from aren't big enough for it. Could it be when he looks up thinking if it's above them? The spider throws something towards them when Lee asks the others to watch out. He tells everyone to move when all of them jumps away. A liquid material falls on the ground, melting everything when Bide says that's acid venom. That stuff is pretty nasty. Even a drop of it would be fatal. Nico says that was close. Now this is what a real cave boss should be. Spider King Tier 6 appears when Lee thinks a Tier 6 beast is no joke. They must cripple it while they can. There's no way he would stand a chance alone, but he has got a team. He activates his skill, Devil's Hand, grabbing the spider and then throwing it on the ground. He tells it to get down here. The spider falls on the ground when Lee tells everyone while it's down, unload everything they've got. A Tier 6 beast is no joke, so they must cripple it while they can. All of them attacks the beast when Centaur says her Silver Moon Spear is fully charged. It's time to pierce through it with this blow. She throws her spear towards the beast, but to her surprise, the beast grabs her spear, shocking her. She thinks that was a fully charged Silver Moon Spear attack, yet it caught it with its mouth. The beast throws the weapon back at her and then sprays web at them. She gets caught up in it, saying that webbing is tough, she can't move her body at all. Nico also gets stuck in it when she says it's all sticky and gross. She's completely trapped and she can't break free. Her body feels weird when she says she let her guard down. Once they're caught in its web, then it's over. The beast looks towards Nico when she gets surprised, thinking it turned its head towards her. Is it targeting the weakest one here in purpose? It's trying to break their formation through her. Just as the beast was about to attack her, she thinks she won't be the weak link. Just then, Lee cuts down its arm, protecting Nico, saying not only is its strategy vicious, but even its blood is laced with corrosive acid. A 6th tier beast is really no joke, but if it thinks he won't slash it just because its blood is acid, then it has made a huge mistake. He says he still has got one follower left to deploy. Bin Hida appears and then uses Whale, thinking a 6th tier beast's resistances are too high. Even Centaur's taunt doesn't affect it. Her Howl of Alpha definitely won't either, but her cries persist over time. It might not induce fear immediately, but the longer it goes on, the more it will wear down its resistance, and when it reaches the threshold, it will go into confusion. Just then, the beast uses its ability, Toxic Acid Rain, throwing acid all over the place. Lee tells her it's Poison Rain. He then asks Bin Hida to burn off their web, trapping Nico and the others. He then asks all of them to stay under Centaur's shield and wait for an opening. Balo asks him not to worry, as she will handle this flawlessly. Lee then asks Bide they have poisoned resistance, so they can take this rain for a bit. Let's attack together. Bide says he gave the most dangerous job to her. That means he trusts her the most. Fighting alongside him is thrilling as she's getting excited all over. Just then, Lee attacks the beast, inflicting damage to it. He thinks with the Blood Blade he can easily break through its armor. He has stacked 3 bleed effects already, but its blood is highly acidic, just like when he fought Bide in the arena. But now he has got both abnormal status resistance and poison resistance. He can reduce the duration of the damage of the poison as long as he can outlast its toxins. He wins. Just then, the beast rushes towards him when he gets surprised thinking it's weaponizing its own wounds to strike back. The beast hits the wall, injuring itself when Lee uses his ability, Blood Veil, to hide himself. He thinks the more he attacks, the more it bleeds and the more toxic it gets. If this drags on, then he's at a disadvantage. He needs a one-strike kill. Suddenly, the beast looks at him when he thinks it spot him. This beast lives in darkness, so it doesn't rely on eyesight. His stealth won't work when the beast jumps up at him to attack, but suddenly, the system tells him the target is now confused. Binhida tells him her howl worked. Hit it while it's disoriented. Suddenly, Bide grabs the Spider King saying it's not going anywhere. She tells Lee he doesn't have to hold back on her. Hit them both if he has to, just end this. Bide tells him she doesn't know if she can hold it much longer. She asks him not to hold back and hit it with his strongest move. Lee says then she will have to bear with him. Once this is over, he will make sure to reward her. She tells him just hearing that makes everything worth it when Lee uses his ability, Blood Prison Burial, as he attacks the beast, including Bide. The acid falls on Bide's body when she screams saying it hurts. It's causing too much pain. Lee uses his ability, Demon Grasp, as the beast tries to escape. Lee says it's resilient. Even after being skewered like that, it's still trying to escape. He then says it's time to shatter it into pieces when he slices the beast using his ability. After killing the beast, he levels up and gains a new skill, Kane's Covenant. When HP drops below 10% and he's under moonlight, then a blood rain falls from the sky. Rivers of blood erupt beneath his feet, and he will enter a berserk vampire state with all cooldowns reset. Bide affection reaches 89%, Centaur's affection reaches 70%, and Balo's affection also reaches 70%. He thinks it looks like a strong performance in battle is just as good as raising affection levels. Bide's affection is nearly maxed out. Just then, Bide rushes towards him saying she can't hold on any longer. She gets on top of him saying he said he would reward her after beating the spider, so now is the time. Let's do it right here and now. Lee thinks a horny octopus. She's completely insatiable. Just then, Nico tells her this really isn't the time for this. She has got regeneration, but Master doesn't. They should detox him first and restore his health. Bide agrees, telling her she let her thirst get the best of her. She was too eager, but her tentacles can share her regeneration if he eats them. It won't last long, but it will be enough to heal his acid-burned skin. Lee asks if aren't those tentacles coated in poison. Won't that make things worse? She says not if she doesn't actively release the toxin. He can enjoy her body worry-free when Lee says then he won't hold back and bites her hand. She screams, asking him to go easy now. Centaur looks at them saying this is supposed to be for healing, but it feels kind of lewd. Balo agrees saying it heals, but there's no way Bide's motives are pure. Nico tells Binhida they both must have taken damage too, as they definitely need healing from their master too. Bide says they're such a handful. If everyone is hurt, then let's all eat together. After eating the tentacles, everyone's injuries begin to recover, but something is a little off. Lee says that thing is amazing as it actually regenerated his wounds, but why does he feel hot all over? His blood is pumping like crazy. Just then, Bide tells him she forgot to mention a tiny side effect. For a little while, everyone's emotion will be synced with her. Lee says no wonder his body is heating up. He's even getting excited. So, it's her influence after all. He then gets surprised, thinking if he's feeling like this, then what about Nico and the others as he looks at them? Binhida says she's his star support. She played a big role in that last battle as she cried herself hoarse the whole time. Shouldn't she get a reward too? Nico says she knows she dragged him down this time, but she promises she will do even better next time. Please, motivate her properly with his body. Balo says besides him, she definitely dealt the most damage. If they're all getting rewards, then she should be first in line. Just then, Bide steps up, asking him not to listen to them. Without her, how would anyone have survived the acid, and he promised to reward her first. She should go first. Just then, Lee says they girls seem to be forgetting their place. He's their master, and he will reward whoever he wants, whenever he wants, so all of them come here together. After an intense and passionate reward session, Balo unleashes her energy saying incredible. She feels power flooding through her whole body and she broke through. This is the kind of reward her master gives. It's amazing. She has reached advanced tier 5, high with affection rate of 100%. Bide says this is master's strength. He handled all of them at once like it was nothing. They were completely overwhelmed. She has advanced to tier 6 and her affection reached 100%. She says no wonder she can't get enough of him. Binhida says he was even more intense this time. He's so strong, while Nico says master is truly bottomless. Centaur is looking at them when she asks why did they get rewarded, and she just had to stand there and watch. The system tells Lee 2 followers have reached 100% affection. He has unlocked 2 mystery rewards. Blood Puppet. It grants a humanoid puppet that can absorb 1 instance of lethal damage. Lee says still no peak blood. He really can't rely on something so luck-based. He has to grow stronger through his own power. That's the only way to control his destiny. But what's this decaying moon scaffold? It summons 12 dark moon pillars entwined in chains, which binds the target to an execution platform for a guaranteed beheading. He says no matter how strong they're, if they're bound, then they die. That could take out even the strongest enemies directly. The system asks he has 2 followers eligible for soul resonance. Lee agrees, thinking he needs to get every advantage she can. Balo says something is pushing out from her chest. What is it, as if it will make her stronger? Lee receives Balo's flame cloak. Bide thinks he can actually draw gear from their chests. Master's tricks are really endless. From her, he receives receives Bide's Venom earrings. After equipping everything, he thinks this power surge, with this gear, and his followers' support. Even without peak blood, he's ready to face the Elite Center. He checks the stats thinking he's not the same weakling pack mule he used to be. After leaving the spider cave, Lee and his team cleared several more beast nests, seizing every second to level up as fast as possible. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Yu Tianxiang of the Elite Center disregarded the orders of the Awakened Association. He joined forces with the Justice Guild and several other factions and began a full-scale purge of beasts across 100-mile radius outside the city. Wherever they went, not a single beast was left alive. Yu Tianxiang, while running on borrowed time, clung to life with sheer will alone, all so he could personally avenge his two sons. At J City, Shui thinks that old guy really is going rogue, gathering this many people just to hunt down her master. This is unforgivable. She then rides a bike thinking she can't let him succeed. She has to find her master before he does. She won't let those bastards ambush him. At the Succubus's village, Yu Tianxiang and Liu Yao is looking at the village when Liu Yao says she can faintly sense that beast's aura lingering from here, and this village isn't far from where young Master Yu Wen and Guoji were killed. This place is suspicious. Even if that beast isn't hiding here, this village might still be connected to it, asking what should they do. Yu Tianxiang tells her to kill them all and leave no one. He will make sure he knows how it feels to lose someone precious to them. He uses his ability Meteor Inferno when a bunch of meteors starts falling on the village, destroying everything in their way. All the succubuses runs for their lives, saying meteors are crashing down on them. They all should take cover. Just then, one of the succubus was running, saying she can't keep running. Suddenly, she stumbles upon a rock and falls down, thinking she twisted her ankle. She gets injured, thinking she's done for, but something's off. Why is the meteors only hitting inside the village? It doesn't feel like a natural disaster, as if someone is attacking them. Just then, from the shadows, some guys appear when one of them says, "So this is what a succubus's village is like." He has never seen so many succubus in one place. It's exhilarating. With faces that pretty, what a damn waste. He's Xiao Yu when he says General Yu said not to leave a single one alive, so he guess he has got no choice. As he was saying that, snow starts falling when he asks what's that. The other guy asks why is it snowing now of all times. Zhu arrives there as she uses her ability Ice Flower Bloom. Zhu manages to kill all of them when the succubus thinks that Ice Flower is amazing. It took all of them in an instant, but no one in their village uses ice magic, so who saved her? She wonders if it was Lord Haoran while looking back. Zhui looks at her saying tail and wings just like Nico's, so this must be Nico's succubus village. It looks like they're all under Master's command, telling them not to worry because she's a friend of Lord Haoran and Nico. They will be safe with her here. She then unleashes her power, saying if her master isn't around, then she will protect his village for him. Her power spreads everywhere, putting out the fire. The succubus says she put out the fire. A friend of Lord Haoran has come to save them. Looking at her, Liu Yao says that's Li Jue from Red City Group. She was connected with the beast after all, but the file said she was only a gold low rank. How is she this strong? Yu Tianxiang says she might be strong, but she's still a traitor. Just then, Shui tells everyone not to let the old guy from the Elite Center fool them. The one behind all those tragedies in L City wasn't the beasts here, it was Yu Tianxiang. He brought them all here under false pretenses just to get revenge for his sons. They have all been deceived. Just then, Zhengyi steps up asking what is she talking about. He followed him here, breaking the association rules and risking his life with his brothers because he trusted him. Don't he owe him an explanation? Yu Tianxiang says he trusts a traitor who sits with beasts over him, someone with the right to slay monsters. He ought to get his head checked. Zhui tells them the Red City Group has already reported his illegal activity to the Awakened Association along with the inconsistencies in the L City Kaka incident. Elder Zhao from the association is already on their way here, so if they keep going down this path, the association will hold them all accountable. Liu Yao says she's just trying to buy time, asking everyone not to let her manipulate them. She has no proof, and anyone who sides with beasts is not to be trusted. They should all work together and kill her. Yu Tianxiang in anger unleashes his power, saying that women helped kill his son. She's a criminal from Red City. They shouldn't worry because he wants her dead too. Just then, he creates a massive meteor up in the sky when Zhu looks at it thinking that meteor is massive. If she dodges, then all those succubus behind her are dead. Is what she has got is strong enough to block it when suddenly Li appears in front of the meteor and slices it in an instant. He says he leaves for a few days and come back to his home getting raided. He then tells Shui he owes her one for this when she tells him it was her duty. He then calls Yu Tianxiang saying he wanted revenge for his sons, well come and get him. Lai tells him his both grandsons did indeed die by his hand and they deserved every bit of it. If it's revenge he's after, then face him alone and leave everyone else out of it. There's no need to drag others into this. Yu Tianxiang says he has finally decided to show himself. He has longed for the day he could end him, and now he can die without regrets. He uses his ability, Cataclysmic Inferno, and then attacks when Li gets surprised by his power thinking he's fast. He then dodged the attack thinking that was close. Even if he's old, he still is a peak legendary tier fighter one step away from Supreme Tier. His fire magic is overwhelming. Without his flame cloak absorbing the damage, he couldn't keep up. Just then, Yu Tianxiang appears behind him asking where is he looking as if that's all he has got. He gets angry at him saying he took the lives of his two gifted grandsons. He refused to believe it as that's impossible. He then prepares an attack telling Li, this is the power that will destroy him. He attacks Li when Li gets shocked by his attack power, thinking this old man is going straight for the kill. The attack hits, creating a powerful bang and a large shockwave that sends everyone away. Zhengyi gets shocked thinking that's unreal for someone that old. Yu Tianxiang still conjures fire like a furnace. He's truly terrifying. Yu Tianxiang says he took that blow head on. Even if he survived that, he's as good as a crippled. This battle is over. He has finally avenged his grandsons. Just then, Lee asks who said it was over. He tells him not to be so sure of himself. Yu Tianxiong gets shocked to see Lee all okay, thinking when Lee has used the bloodbound puppet in his stead to take the attack. The system then gives Lee an emergency quest saying Yu Tianxiong has shown lethal killing intent. Killing him within 5 minutes will grant him a special reward. Lee thinks killing a legendary tier like him in 5 minutes and without Blood of Ascension, this is insane, but he has got no choice. He will have to throw down all his trump cards right now. Yu Tianxiong thinks that's impossible when he starts coughing. He thinks there's no way any creature could survive his flame light blast untouched. This is absurd. Liu Hao is looking at him when she thinks as she suspected his body is failing. He can't even go all out anymore, telling everyone to attack as they can't let that beast alive. Everyone rushes towards Li to attack. Luo Xuan says he shattered her dreams. She will never forgive him. Zheng Yi says he will never stand beside evil. Just then, Nico and the rest appear saying, as long as they're here, don't even dream of laying a finger on their master. Bin Hida says they think they can tarnish their master's reputation, not while she still draws breath. Bide says if anything happens to her master, what would she even live for? Li looks at everyone when he says so many people are dying to tear him apart. There's just one nurse left at Yu Tianxiong's side, so this might be his chance. Lee takes out the mini blood moon that makes the user's attack and devourer attributes doubled. Lee unleashes his power when he says that's it. He can feel the power surging in him. Not only is his power doubled under the blood moon, it's strong enough to create a whole new night sky. Nico and Bin Hida face Luo Xuan when she says that's incredible. If they weren't beasts, then she would probably have scouted them into her idol group. Balo, Centaur, and Bide are facing Zheng Yi. Zheng Yi tells them not to expect mercy just because they're women. That just means he will hit harder. It doesn't matter who they are. No one gets off easily. Yu Tianxiong, on the other hand, says he will just have to fight. He should be able to hold on if he takes this new drug from Country M. Liu Yao says that's too much. His body can't handle it. Qianxiong tells her to shut up because he's going to kill him today. Li looks at them when he says this is pathetic. The Elite Center's president is really resorting to drugs just to keep on fighting. Qianxiong then calls Liu Yao asking if she doesn't want his inheritance. He tells her to stall him, saying if she keeps him busy until his medicine start kicking in, then he will put her name on his will. Liu Yao thinks that old geezer thinks he can bribe her. She then jumps towards Li thinking screw it, no risk, no reward. It's not like she has ever had problems with making more money. She attacks Li using her ability Ripper Blade when suddenly Li disappears. She gets surprised thinking he vanished. That speed is insane. Li then appears in front of Tianxiong, kicking him on his face as he falls back. A bunch of syringes are scattered on the ground when he says it's the same drug he used during his revenge match against Chen Zhizhen. He says how much did that old man take when suddenly Liu Yao comes behind him saying there's no way Tianxiong would go down that easily. His will isn't even updated yet. Just then Jue attacks her when she falls back. Jue tells her that's her master's battle to fight. She has no right to interfere, so she will be her opponent. Li Yao asks she's calling that beast master, how shameless. That's twisted even for a pervert like her. A huge explosion occurs when Li says that explosive force, it looks like the drug just kicked in. Yu Tianxiong unleashes a massive surge of energy when he says this feels incredible. It feels like he's 18 again. Power is just pouring in non-stop. This new drug is amazing. He then tells Li this is his peak form. Come fight him in a fight to the death. Li silently looks at him thinking his energy is through the roof. Even with his doubled stats, he doesn't stand a chance. No wonder he's so confident, but that power is coming from the drugs. It's definitely wrecking his body. If he can just stall him long enough, then he will definitely win, but he doesn't have time to spare while looking at the system's countdown. Tianxiong says burn it all as he attacks the ground beneath him. Li thinks he's sending all the flames underground when the attack was about to hit him. Li gets surprised thinking incoming danger when the ground starts bursting with power. Li thinks his pressure is overwhelming. He can't take a hit head on. He has to avoid any direct clashes. He looks at the countdown thinking even with the time limit, he has to stay calm. If Tianxiong lands a clean hit, he's dead. He thinks he will wait for the right opening when Yu Tianxiong asks what's he running for. He's burning up right now. Let him vent out a little as he appears behind Li, catching him off guard. He then attacks Li when his attack hits him. He then says not bad as he will put some real heat into that and he's going to kill him in one blow. He then uses his ability Blazing Cage Pursuit when he hits the ground. To his surprise, he misses completely when he says where the hell did he go? He gets back up when Li thinks this is his turf. He knows every inch of this terrain better than anyone else. He's in an invisibility stage when he thinks the rock is brittle here. There's no way it can withstand his attack, so he just needs to wait for the right moment. Yu Tianxiong on the other hand gets mad when he calls Li a coward, telling him to come out already and face him like a man. The ground starts shaking when Tianxiong thinks the mountain is about to collapse. Li smiles when he says this is his chance. The whole mountain falls down when Yu Tianxiong says this new drug from Country M is incredibly effective. Even this massive mountain can't withstand his fury. His power surges everywhere when Liu Yao looks up in the sky thinking such incredible power. That old man actually injected the entire dose to himself. That kind of drug isn't stable as his body won't be able to handle it. He's bound to suffer backlash. Injecting that much could lead to something far worse. The countdown keeps going on when Li tells Tianxiong to accept his fate. He uses his ability Morning Moon Execution Pillar. Big pillars start appearing when Zheng Yi looks at them thinking what's that? It's giving off such a terrible terrifying and sinister aura. Even he felt a shiver run down his spine. Nico says so that was Master's trump card. It's really terrifying. There's no way that old man was a match to her master. The chains from the pillar bound Yu Tianxiang when Yu Tianxiang asks how dare he attack him from behind. He thinks this thing can hold him down. Li tells him not to get it twisted. This execution pillar isn't here to restrain him, but it's here to behead him. Yu Tianxiang gets shocked when suddenly the chain starts pulling him. Li says commence execution when Yu Tianxiang tells him to stop, but the chains beheads him. His face falls on the ground when Li levels up and gains attribute points. The system tells him he has received a special reward. He gained 3 bonus transformation skill points. Li then tells everyone Yu Tianxiang is dead now, so everyone stands down. Today's matter was a personal grudge between him and Yu Tianxiang. It had nothing to do with them. He simply used dirty tricks to drag them into this. He says he won't make things hard for any of them. He came to kill Yu Tianxiang and no one else. If they know what's good for them, then put down their weapons and scram. Lai tells them he's giving them 30 seconds. If they're leaving, then do it now. Once the clock runs out, there's no second chance. Liu Yao looks at him thinking Yu Tianxiang juiced up on drugs like crazy and still lost. This guy's strength is just unfathomable, but he's actually letting them go. That's not like him at all. Why would he do that as if he suddenly grow conscience, or maybe he's out of strength after unleashing that move? Is he just putting on a show right now? Whatever, she's not gambling her life on the guess. It's not worth it, so she's out of here. A guy asks all the other, what are they waiting for? They should all run. Staying alive is their top priority. He already chopped off President Yu's head. What could they possibly do? They have done enough. No point in picking up a fight with that freak. They should all fall back and retreat now before he changes his mind. Balo gets angry, saying, why is Master letting them go for free? She should have skewered them all and made some cumin kebabs. Bide tells her not to question Master's decision. Even though their leader is dead, they still outnumber them. If it came down to a full-on fight, then they will be at a disadvantage. Master is protecting them. Li then looks at Zheng Yi and Liu Xuan, saying everyone else ran for their lives. Why aren't they both running? Aren't they afraid of ending up like Yu Tianxiang? Zheng Yi tells him his fear isn't for his own life. What haunts him is the thought of his guild brothers dying in vain. If it means giving everything he has, even his life, then he will make sure that they didn't die in vain. Just then, Liu Xuan asks if he's a fool. If he really killed the guards at J-City checkpoints, then he wouldn't have let everyone walk away. Odds are that Yu Tianxiang used them as pawns. Zheng Yi becomes surprised, saying there's no way. How does she always know this stuff? But if she figured all that out, then why didn't she ran off with the others? She points at Nico and Benhita, saying these 2 girls are strong. Her fight with them isn't over yet. Li gets surprised, thinking one is a justice-fueled airhead with more guts than brain, while the other is a wannabe idol who charges headfirst into fights. What a combo. As he was thinking that suddenly, Yu Tianxiang's headless body starts moving. He gets surprised, thinking, what? Yu Tianxiang is already dead, why is his body moving? The body starts swelling up when Li thinks he may be dead, but the drugs are still coursing through him. His energy is expanding, and he's about to explode. The system gives him a warning saying massive energy signature is rapidly approaching when he thinks, massive energy signature. Is it not Yu Tianxiang's corpse? Then what the hell is it? Just then, Zheng Yi says that's a huge summoned beast. A supreme tier. Evolver has arrived. Summoned beast, Devourer Kun arrives while Zhao Yifei is riding it, saying Yu Tianxiang really didn't know when to quit even without a head. That's the price they pay for getting hooked on power boosters. It serves him right. She then calls Devourer a good little fishy, ordering it to eat him. Devourer opens its mouth and quickly eats Yu Tianxiang's body as it explodes inside of it. Devourer then opens its mouth when smokes come out. Li gets surprised, thinking, if is this for real? Yu Tianxiang's bloated corpse exploded inside the giant beast, and it didn't even left a mark. That's just a summoned beast from Zhao Yifei, a supreme evolver. If her summon is that terrifying, then how strong must she be herself? He looks at her thinking, judging by her earlier words, she came here for Yu Tianxiang, but if she turns on him too, then there's no way he will survive. Just then, Zhao Yifei turns and looks at him, saying she has finally found him. He's even more handsome than she imagined. Li asks if she knows who he is. She tells him she knows his name and she knows everything about him. A miraculous human with the power of a beast. He also has a cute little sister in her final year of high school. Hearing this, Li gets angry, asking what's that supposed to mean? What does he even wants from him? He asks if she's seriously trying to threaten him right now. Just then, Li Hongping tells Li not to misunderstand. They mean no harm. She simply peeked into Shu's memories on her own, and that's how she figured out who he is. Zhao Yifei and she came on behalf of the association to stop Yu Tianxiang's plot, but it seems like they were overly cautious. Li asks Xue. She sounds awfully close to her. Don't tell him she's her when Xue apologizes to him, telling him she's her mother, and she has the ability to read people's memories. She didn't mean to leak any information about him when Li gets surprised, thinking if Li Hongping, the president of Hongcheng Group, is her mother, then doesn't that make her his? No wonder she's so loaded. After that, to rebuild the Succubus village destroyed by the meteorite, and to heal his injured followers, Li activated his skill, Blood Castle, that instantly constructs a demon god's personal castle in the barren zone. While inside, the demon god and his followers will rapidly regenerate HP and MP. A Succubus says her wounds are healing so fast. This is incredible. She never expected the Lord to have such a special power, and he even rebuilt their entire village. He gave them a new home. Zhao Yifei and the rest enters the castle too when she says she heard Succubus are a lewd and lustful race. They gain power by seducing and sleeping with men. Li is living with that many Succubus, plus they all worship him like some divine being. That part of him must be as she turns and looks at Shui. Shui gets all flustered when she asks what kind of question is that. She doesn't know. As Zhao Yifei is talking to Shui, Li arrives telling her she went through all this trouble to find him. It can't be just to gossip about bedroom stuff. Zhao Yifei disagrees, telling him that was just a personal curiosity. Indulging a little gossip is all. She came here to talk about something far more important. Can they go somewhere more private as she needs to speak with him alone? Inside the Blood Castle conference room, Li and Zhao Yifei are sitting together when Li says since she already knows all about him and even found his sister, she didn't threaten him with it. Then he assumes she's here to recruit him for his abilities. Yifei tells him he's sharp, she likes that. She's deeply interested in his case. He was just an ordinary guy with no talent and a strange illness. Then after being attacked by the beast, not only did he survive, but he awakened an extraordinary beast-like power. That's practically postnatal evolution when she thinks his rebirth and system are some kind of evolution. Honestly, from their perspective, that's not wrong. She then tells him she wants to recommend him to join the Evolver Association. As both human and a beast, he can help them tackle countless difficult missions. If he agrees, then she will apply for special privileges on his behalf. As long as he promises not to hurt the innocents, him and his Succubus followers will be protected by the association. No more official raids or extermination squads. She can even authorize him to move freely within the city, so long as he doesn't cause public chaos, and his sister. They can secure her a spot in J City's top university. After graduating, she could even land a stable job within the association. A quiet, safe life for her. That's what he wants, asking him to take a moment and think about it. He tells her there's no need to think it over. He likes her offer, so he will accept it all. She says he's so decisive, she loves that. He then thinks he can hide his beast aura to walk among humans, but it's so restrictive. With the official identity, he will have way more freedom for everything he does. Right now, that status is absolutely essential for him. Yifei says since he has agreed, let's begin the sample collection, shall they? He gets surprised, asking what kind of samples when she tells him saliva, blood, and his semen. Please separate them into these 3 vials. He asks semen when she tells him since his powers evolved from a beast, they need a full body analysis. He puts his saliva in the vial, then his blood, and lastly, as he takes off his clothes in front of her. She looks at him thinking just as she thought, to tame so many succubi, he really is something else. She's looking at him when he asks if she really has to stare at him like that. It's super awkward, so can she step outside? She apologizes, telling him no can do. She has to monitor the entire process. That's the only way to ensure everything really came from his body. He says, but with her watching, he can't get anything out unless she helps him when she gets surprised, asking if he's serious. She has never done anything like that before. Doesn't he have a bunch of succubuses? He should just ask one of them. They are way more talented for this kind of task. Afterwards, Nico says since Master entrusted her with this vital mission, she shall not fail as she starts doing it. Zhu, while eating a banana, thinks she figured she pulled Master aside to recruit him, but what was the reason for Master calling Nico in part way? Something about this feels off. She can't help but feel a little jealous. Inside the room, Li thinks Nico doesn't even have experience, so why is this so overwhelming? Is this just a racial trait? She is amazing. Nico, on the other hand, thinks she couldn't help much in the battle earlier, so she has got to give it her all here. Zhao Yifei is looking at them when she thinks she was just joking, but he really called a succubus to help him. Unbelievable, she has never seen anything like this before. Afterwards, a little while later, Yifei tells Li his saliva, blood, and semen, everything has been collected. Great work, both of them. She will get it sent to headquarters for testing right away. Just then, Nico asks Li if he's satisfied with her performance just now. He tells her that was impressive beyond words. She has outdone herself. Yifei then says alright, she has achieved what she came here for. It looks like he has got a mess to clean up, so she won't linger. In 1 week, he will be taking the evolution level evaluation at headquarters, so she will come pick him up then. Li asks evolution level evaluation when she tells him he's joining the association, so of course they will need to assess his strength. Every member goes through it and he's no exception. She noticed his power felt weaker. It must be because he gets stronger at night. She will put his evaluation at the end of the schedule, so maybe it will be nighttime by then. Li thinks as expected of a top-tier evolver. That kind of perception is on another level. She's so sharp. She tells him she gave him a generous offer, so he had better do well. Score high and let her brag a little, will he? Outside the room, Bide is looking inside when Jue arrives, asking how dare she sneak a peek on Master. That's not what a follower should be doing, but anyway, what did she see? Looking at her, Bide giggles, saying something incredible, obviously. She then shows her a sign saying that right here, when Zhu gets surprised wondering what's that, it looks seriously powerful. Just then, Li arrives when he grabs Jue, asking what are they both talking about and why is she so flustered. She gets surprised when she looks at him, asking if he's done with the meeting. He agrees when she asks what exactly is this. She shows him the same sign Bide showed her, when Lee gets surprised and a little embarrassed. He tells her she will understand someday. Afterwards at night, Lee thinks surely he killed a top-tier evolver like Yu Tianxiang in front of everyone, but that was only possible thanks to the Blood Moon's bonus and Lunar Rack's execution effect. With his current power alone, the evaluation will definitely fall short of their expectations. Then why would the association offer him such favorable terms? He has 7 days left, so he needs to grow stronger fast. He has to reach a level where the association wants to give him those benefits. Just then, Nico arrives asking if he's worried about the evolution level assessment. He says she knows what's on his mind. She tells him she has spent enough time at his side to guess his thoughts. She then says she knows he's always striving to become stronger, and she knows how important this evaluation is to him. If he's not afraid of a little exhaustion, then she does have a method that can help him grow stronger quickly. Lee says of course he's not afraid of a little exhaustion. Hurry up and tell him what's the method. Nico says he has probably heard the rumors about the Succubi race. It's a special gift passed down from their ancestors. Their ancestors would extract men's essence through intercourse and use it to strengthen themselves. Even though they have long since stopped doing such things, that skill is still engraved deep in their bloodline, but that skill can actually be used in reverse. Through intercourse, they can transfer their strength to their master. Lee says so. What she's suggesting is that all the Succubi in the village should sleep with him, and that's how they will transfer their power to him. She agrees, saying it's true that he will have to work hard, but it's the best way to quickly grow stronger. She then says he didn't just solve their centaur problem, but also rebuilt their burned-down village into a castle. To them, he's nothing short of a guardian god. If the person they're with is him, then everyone will jump at the chance to participate. Lee says that sounds nice and all, but there are over 200 Succubi in the village. Are they all trying to drain him dry? He then thinks, but having all these Succubi around and not using that resource feels like a waste. He has maxed out some of their affection levels before, but aside from Nico, no one else gives him any special rewards. Even soul resonance is impossible. It seems like this is the only way to get stronger through the Succubi. When he tells Nico, since she puts it that way, shall they give it a try? She asks really, telling him she will go get everyone right away. Afterwards, inside the room, one of the Succubi tells Lee this was his idea, so remember he can't accuse them of taking advantage of him later. Another says if it's for Lord Lee's sake, then they will give it their all. Lee tells them all right then. Show him just how powerful the Succubi's gift really is. They say, well then, don't blame them for going all out. After a little while, one Succubus says she can't move. She's completely out of energy. Another agrees, saying she's so exhausted she can't even straighten her back. Lee, on the other hand, thinks Nico was right. They really can pass their strength to him this way. He is stronger now, but this method burns through stamina fast. Just then, his body starts healing when he thinks, what's this feeling? His drained stamina is recovering. The Blood Castle doesn't just heal health and mana, but it restores his body to its peak condition, meaning he basically has unlimited stamina while inside. Looking at him, the Succubi say even after such a long and exhausting battle, he's still bursting with energy. He truly is incredible. They say if he's still not satisfied, then let's push it even harder. He shouldn't underestimate the Succubi. Lee says trust him. He has experienced the Succubi's power thoroughly now, so bring it on. 1 week later, morning arrives when Zhao Yifei comes on her summoned beast, the Luan bird. She calls to Lee, telling him it's time. Lai walks out of his mansion, telling her he's been waiting, so let's go. Afterwards, on their way toward the evaluation center, Yifei looks at him, saying he feels different than he did a week ago. Lee says that can't be right. She's probably just imagining things when she disagrees, saying definitely not. It's his presence. It's so composed now. He's nothing like how he was before. He seems awfully confident about this evaluation when he tells her, well, he's carrying the hopes of every succubus in the village. They've been doing special training just for this evaluation. Wouldn't it be pretty humiliating to face them without at least that bit of confidence? She says him and the succubus did special training. She then starts imagining things, saying even training requires full effort. Only through constant practice can they truly improve. Just then she thinks, wait a second. Why does her mind keep conjuring indecent, dirty images? Ever since she watched the succubi assist him with gathering samples, her brain has been stuck in the gutter. Lee looks at her when he asks why her face is red. Is she sick? She tells him to shut up. That's none of his business. He then smiles, thinking she's a top-tier powerhouse, and yet she's this much of a tsundere. At B City, Evolution Association headquarters, Evaluation Center, a guy is outside when he says he made silver immediately. This means he can apply to the big companies now. He has to let his mom know he isn't a total failure after all. Another looks at him, thinking he's so jealous. He reached silver intermediate while he's stuck at bronze high. Just then, everyone hears someone saying there's a real monster over there, gold high rank. They say what when a guy walks out of the center, saying they peasants should feel that. He's gold high rank at just 18 years old. He's gold high rank, Hellfire Mafugi. He tells everyone to get on their knees and worship this genius. Everyone line up, he will even give out autographs. Another looks at him, thinking his rank is impressive, but his brain clearly isn't. Someone else thinks he's such an arrogant guy. If his rank were higher than his, he would teach him a real lesson. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurs when something falls from the sky. Dust and debris spread everywhere, and everyone wonders if that's a meteorite. It's hitting the evaluation center. That's nuts. Just then, a guy says that's not a rock, but it looks like a person. Then, Supreme Evolutionary, Crimson War Goddess Lin Yingying is standing there. She thinks it seems like she arrived a little early. That person hasn't shown up yet. The guys look at her and get mesmerized, saying it's Lin Yingying, the Crimson War Goddess. Seeing her in person, she's even prettier than on TV. But why would someone of her level show up at the evaluation center? Fugi, in surprise, says if his evaluation results already made their way to the Supreme Evolvers. Lin Yingying, is she here to recruit him? If she offers him a mansion and a luxury car to join her guild, then he would say yes in a heartbeat. Just then, an old man appears behind him, telling him it's important to know his place. To him, gold high rank is no different than an ant. Fugi falls on the ground, thinking this pressure is suffocating. Don't tell him when he looks at him. Lin also looks at him, saying it's him. He's here too. She thought an event like this wouldn't be his style. He tells her he got curious, that's all. They were supposed to hunt this guy down, but suddenly his prey is about to become his co-worker. He's Supreme Evolutionary, Rainbow-Piercing Sun, Liu Jianyu. He just had to come and see for himself what he's really made of. Liu then hears something when he says he's here. Lin says honestly, she's really curious. A human with the power of a beast, what does he even look like? Just then, everyone looks up at the sky, wondering what's up with that huge bird. Another says that's not a bird but Zhao Yifei's summoned spirit, the Luan bird. Haven't they seen it on TV? They land when everyone says there's no way. It really is Zhao Yifei, and she's absolutely stunning. 2 supreme-level beauties in one day. This has to be a dream, but who's that guy right next to her? He looks so smug. What's his background? How did he get Zhao Yifei to accompany him to the evaluation? They then ask Li who the hell he is. Stay away from Zhao Yifei. He shouldn't be so close to her. What makes him so worthy of standing beside a supreme powerhouse? Li looks at them and shows them his middle finger. Zhao Yifei then greets Lin and Liu, telling them not to be so serious now. Li Haoran is no longer their target. She then asks Haoran to greet his seniors properly. Li says Liu Jianyu of Rainbow-Piercing Sun and Lin Yingying of the Crimson War Goddess. Their names are legendary, especially Yingying, young, beautiful, and her strength is unrivaled. Lin asks him to stop because she's not as amazing as he says. She gets really happy, telling him she won't be flattered by his compliments. Just then, Liu appears in front of him, asking why isn't he praising him. Li says he was just about to, when Liu checks his face, saying his bone structure confirms that he's human, though he has to say he's not as handsome as he was back in the day. He then tells Li to count himself lucky. The association invited him to this evaluation. If they hadn't, then he would already be a corpse under his blade. He will be watching him closely. If there's anything shady about him, then he will deal with it himself. Li thinks he's blind. How the hell is he even supposed to watch him? Afterwards, Li takes the strength test and gets full marks. Then he takes the intelligence test and receives full marks. Afterwards, in speed, spirit, stamina, and much more, he receives full marks. Lin, looking at him, says full marks across the board. Incredible. She hasn't seen such a well-rounded rookie in ages. Liu asks if that isn't the bare minimum. If he couldn't even manage that, then they wouldn't be interested in him. Zhao Yifei, on the other hand, appreciates Li, saying, well done. He's living up to her expectations already, but physical tests only set their lower limit. The true upper limit comes from the potential growth evaluation. Li asks, potential growth evaluation. She tells him ordinary evolvers only need the physical test to get ranked, but at Star Diamond and above, potential growth gets evaluated too. They combine their current power with their predicted growth to determine their true rank. Li thinks they can even measure something like potential. Afterwards, he walks into a room where a little girl is sitting there. She's a Star Diamond lower rank evolver, Fate Judge, Kui Mengyao. Mengyao asks if he's the one here for the growth potential evaluation. She tells him he's awfully late. It feels like she's doing overtime here. Li apologizes, telling her his house is kind of far. She says whatever, let's just get this over with. She opens her mouth and then asks him to put his finger in here, when Li gets surprised, asking what. Mengyao says she said put his finger in her mouth. Is that so hard to understand? He asks if she's joking. She doesn't even look older than his little sister. Where did she learn this stuff? She asks really, and what is he using to judge someone's age, chest size? She's an adult already as she thanks him. She then tells him her tongue has special sensory abilities. By licking someone's skin, she can sense their potential level. Licking his finger is the most conservative method, so now hurry up and stick it out. She's off work soon. He says well, if she insists, then go ahead. When he takes out his finger, she opens her mouth and then sucks on his finger. While he thinks he knows this is part of the evaluation, but no matter how he looks at it, this feels so weird. Just then, Mengyao gets surprised when she finds herself somewhere eerie. She says if this is Li Haoran's potential space, What an unpleasant feeling. It's giving her chills. Just how terrifying will Li Haoran be when he reaches his peak? Just then, she hears someone call her a mere mortal, daring to glimpse the true form of a demon god. How utterly foolish. She should know her place. She screams and gets scared. She starts trembling when Li asks what did she sense. Just then, the guards open the door, saying the evaluation is over. He may leave and wait for his final results. Meng Yao is all shaken when Zhao Yifei looks at her, saying to think even Judge Kui Meng Yao got rattled like that. That's rare. She asks just seeing his future scared her that badly. What level will he even reach? Could he be supreme rank like her when she tells her higher? Hearing this, Yifei, in shock, asks what. Afterwards, the announcement tells everyone the final candidate for today, Li Haoran, has completed his evaluation. His evolution rank is Legendary High Rank. His evolution title is Demon Slaying Crimson Blood. Legendary Evolver, Demon Slaying Crimson Blood, Li Haoran. Li thinks Legendary High Rank. He really likes that rating. It shows his strength, earns him respect from the higher-ups, but it's not so flashy that it will attract ridiculous attention like a Supreme would. It fits perfectly with his low-key style. Everyone starts taking pictures of him, asking him to look over there. They start posting about him, saying a Legendary High Evolver. That's insane. He's like 20. A rising prodigy. They have never even heard of this guy before. With a rank like that, he could easily establish a top-tier organization. It's honestly incredible. Li Xiaoyu looks at her phone and sees a picture of Li when she gets all teary-eyed, saying that's her brother. She knew it. There's no way he would die so easily. Half an hour ago, Zhao Yifei asks Meng Yao if she's saying Li will eventually surpass the supreme rank and reach the peerless rank. Meng Yao says that's right, when Yifei asks if she even realizes what she's saying. A single supreme evolver is strong enough to defend an entire major city. Their entire nation only has a few dozen supremes. Peerless rank utterly outclasses supremes in every possible way. After all these years, their nation has managed to produce only a single peerless rank evolver. In fact, only 5 countries in the world have a peerless evolver at all. She's saying Li will become a peerless rank evolver in the future. If that's true, then that's insane. Meng Yao says she knows it sounds unbelievable, but her senses have never failed to predict accurately. With his evaluation scores and sky-high growth potential, he already qualifies as supreme rank. Just then, a man walks in, saying it's too early for that. Both of them look at him when he says if Meng Yao's assessment of his potential is accurate, then Li could become the backbone of their association for the next few decades. He's the Evolver Association President, Supreme Evolver, Smiling Buddha Wang Jai. Wang says they need to give him a solid, safe environment so that he can develop properly. Supreme-ranked Evolvers are a core measure of national power. If they label him as Supreme now, then the whole world will start paying attention. For now, let's just call him Legendary High Rank. That will keep things quiet. Even though the association and Li wanted to keep a low profile, the reality was something else. Zhengyi looks at the news when he says, no wonder he beat Yu Tianxiang. That guy is already legendary high rank at his age. He's got a bright future. Thank God he didn't try to do anything stupid with him. Li Hongpin also sees the news when she says she saw what he looked like at his peak through Shui's memories, and that level only got treated as legendary. Seriously, it looks like President Wang has high hopes for him. Liu Xuan also sees the news when she says she never thought that guy would blow up like this. He's all over the news now. If she had known, she would have made an effort to get closer to him. Riding his popularity could have gotten her an earlier debut. Afterwards, Yifei is taking Li back home when she looks at him, thinking she always knew he had talent and crazy potential, but she never imagined it was this insane. A peerless ranked evolver, that's basically a national treasure. Just then, Li calls her, saying she has been sneaking glances at him this whole trip. Does he have something on his face, or is she just that fascinated by it? She gets surprised, asking sneaking glances. What's he talking about? She's way too high level to sneak looks at a hot guy. She just pulled her neck earlier, so this angle is more comfortable, that's all. Li gets surprised when he thinks that's the worst excuse he has ever heard. Her lying skills need work. On the other hand, at the Blood Castle, a group of reporters are gathered outside, saying so this is the home of the legendary high evolver, Li Haoran. It looks pretty retro. Everyone is clicking photos and taking videos of his house. One says, why build a house in the middle of nowhere like this? He is probably still on the way back from City B right now. Another says they heard that Li has a rare ability. He can tame exotic beasts as his own. Maybe that's why he built his home out here just for those beasts. They then say if they can't capture Li on camera, then footage of his exotic beasts is still a major scoop. Nico is looking at them when she sighs, saying these humans are so annoying. Chattering outside first thing in the morning, but Master said they are officially registered now, so they aren't allowed to hurt humans. She asks the succubus what they should do. Just then, one tells Nico if it isn't obvious, leave it to her. Nico tells her to make sure not to harm them when she tells her to relax, saying she is just going to play around with them a little. She knows how to teach them some manners. Afterwards, a group of succubi walk out when the reporters go crazy looking at them. They say Li Haoran's tamed beasts are succubi. The succubus then calls out to a reporter, saying they're all here waiting for their master. That is too bad, as they don't know how to behave waking them up like that. It looks like they all need a little discipline. Everyone looks at them when the reporter says, so this is what a succubus looks like. They are absolutely incredible. Their body is a straight-up masterpiece. Living with all these succubi, how does Lee Haoran even survive? Just then, the succubus tells them, mortals could never understand Lord Haoran's stamina. She takes out her whip, saying, now behave and accept your punishment when she starts hitting them. The reporters, being beaten by her, say that whip, that precision, that sting, it feels amazing. She should keep going and shouldn't stop. Another says he's not even into this stuff, so is he awakening some weird kink? It's so shameful, and yet he can't stop. She tells them that's what they get for harassing them, but they've learned their lesson now. Just then, Lee arrives when he asks what she's doing. Didn't he say not to lay a hand on humans? She looks at him, saying he's back. She was merely disciplining these noisy pests a little, but once she started whipping them, she kind of got into it. He says, and that only happened because she ignored his orders and acted on her own. He asks what she's doing now when she hands the whip over to him, saying she broke his command and attacked humans on her own. She has made an unforgivable mistake. Only he can control her with that whip, let his anger out and take it all out on her. She asks him to hurry because she can't wait anymore. When Lee asks why does he feel like she was waiting for him to get back just to say that, she's literally asking for it. The reporters start clicking photos of them, telling Lee to look at the camera and please give them a smile. They ask why he keeps so many succubi at his house. Is it some kind of fetish? What's his relationship with them anyway? And is he even physically okay? Is it true that succubi are so skilled they can make a man see heaven? They ask if he's into hardcore S&M. Do they still have a shot at beating him in the world championship? Lee, upon hearing their questions, says they're seriously getting on his nerves, so enough already. He breaks their equipment when the reporters get surprised, saying, what was that? Was it him? They ask what he's trying to do when Lee tells them to quit twisting things. If they keep messing with his life, then he will make them regret it. Zhao Yifei looks at him, thinking he's so young, yet he already started picking fights with the media the moment he hit legendary rank. These guys are pros at manipulating public opinion, and once that turns against them, it gets real ugly. It looks like his road ahead is going to be a bumpy one. At night, Lee is sitting in his room when Centaur walks in. Lee asks what she's doing out so late, when she tells him she has developed a brand new technique. She wanted to ask for his guidance. Lee gets surprised, saying she has been secretly training while he was away. She is really motivated. Alright, let's see what she has got. When she tells him this is her ultimate mode crafted just to compliment him, she promises that he will love it when she transforms her body and becomes Centaur mount form. Lee looks at her body when she asks what he thinks. She developed this mount form just for him, so is he satisfied? He looks at her, saying mount form, that's not what he was expecting. Wouldn't horse legs make more sense for speed and actual riding? Just then, she tells him the mount she's referring to isn't the same one he's thinking of. Does he remember what happened in the spider cave? Everyone got all worked up after eating Bide's tentacles. Her emotions affected them all, making everyone overly excited. While everyone else was rolling in the sheets with him, she could only stand on the sidelines and watch. Then not long ago, when the succubus in the castle tried reverse seduction to supply him with energy, she still had to stand off to the side and cheer. But now things are different. This mount form was created solely for the purpose of merging with him, so she believes it's finally her turn. Her admiration for him reaches the heavens. It's pure and true. Please don't hesitate any longer. He should let loose on her, as she can't hold back anymore. Lee looks at her, thinking 4 long white legs really are something else, but she's still half horse. Even if he tried, it just feels weird. Just then, she tells him to come on now. Doesn't she look appealing enough to get his attention? Just then, the system tells him follower Centaur's desire is overflowing. Please respond immediately or her affection will drop significantly. Lee gets surprised, thinking don't tell him the system is going to force him to get involved again. Then again, he's been neglecting her for a while. Her affection hasn't maxed out yet, and she has never used his essence to evolve. If he has got to do it anyway, then he might as well give her everything he owes her in one go. He walks up to her and gets closer when her whole body trembles, thinking he's coming. He's finally making a move on her. She's finally going to become his woman, and her dream is coming true. Afterwards, the next morning, the system tells Lee, Centaur's affection has reached 100%. Lee thinks a white stallion with 4 legs, her battle power is no joke. The system tells him he has unlocked a mystery reward, so please check his inventory. He opens his inventory when the system tells him he has received the Heart of Nature, a rare gem that doubles the effect of nature-type skills when equipped. Centaur then calls him, and he looks at her asking if she's awake. He says she has finally got what she wanted, so how does she feel? She tells him it was amazing. Even now, just remembering it makes her whole body tremble. The system says follower Centaur has obtained the Blood Demon's essence. Her attribute points have increased significantly, and her beast level has upgraded to mid-tier, stage 6. Lee says now comes the extra exciting part, when Centaur gets surprised, saying something is gushing out from her chest. Just like Balo, Bide, and the others, she's about to give birth to equipment for her lord. Lee then obtains Centaur's reflective chest plate. Lee looks at it, saying it has great defensive stats and boosts, means tons of HP, plus he also has a chance to reflect damage. This is solid and suits him perfectly, but still he doesn't even have any nature-type skills. What is he supposed to do with the heart of nature? Lee thinks if he can't use it himself, then maybe giving it to someone else will still work. The only people under him with nature-type abilities are Flame Demon, Balo, and Li Juer, if he gave it to either of them. He thinks about Balo being aggressive and short-tempered when he quickly dismisses the thought, thinking absolutely not. It's too dangerous. He can't risk giving it to him. It needs someone emotionally grounded. On the other hand, inside Ju's house, she's typing aggressively, saying she got him. He really came at her master without a clue, letting clickbait media manipulate them like that. Do they even think for themselves? She is going to lose it. Don't they dare badmouth her master. She then takes a deep breath, saying these trolls are the worst, sitting there spewing nonsense when they don't even know anything about what he has been through. Just then, Lee says she's seriously letting online drama get to her. Let them talk. Who cares what they think? She gets surprised, asking, when did he get here? He says he's been here since she started typing. She looked so focused that he figured he would let her finish. She says she just couldn't stand watching them drag his name through the mud. Did he come all the way from the castle just to see her? He tells her he's visiting his sister in J City, so this was on the way. She asks if it was just a detour when he says technically he came to drop off a gift. It's a big one, and this place is a little cramped, so let's head outside. Afterwards, Lee is flying when he thinks she's hugging him so tightly that he can feel her heartbeat through her chest. This reminds him of the time he carried Nicole through the sky. Xue, on the other hand, thinks the room was too small and now he's taking her outside. She guesses he has been waiting for a chance like this. Her heart is pounding. Afterwards, Lee says this place will do, so let's stop here. Xu looks around, saying there are mountains all around, secluded and quiet. It's perfect for both of them. He tells her hold on, he's got her gift right here. He then takes out the gem, telling her this is for her. Pretty nice. He doesn't hand these out lightly. Once she takes this into her body, she will feel a real transformation. Hearing that, Xue gets surprised and asks, take it in where? Down there. Isn't it a little big for that? Just then, he asks what she's even thinking. Get her mind out of the gutter, when he throws the stone towards her. The stone hits her and merges into her body when she screams. He then asks, how is it? Did she notice any change in her body? Xu is sitting on the ground as she's breathing heavily. She then turns, saying incredible. Her whole body feels alive. Lee says it looks like the heart of nature is already working. He asks if she's ready to try it out right here and now. She tells him she figured he might say that, but hearing it out loud like this is still a little embarrassing. He asks what is there to be shy about. The Heart of Nature is a rare and powerful gem. It enhances her ice abilities by tenfold, so now he wants her to give him everything she's got. Show him how strong she has become. She asks if that's why he brought her here to test her ice abilities that have been enhanced. Lee then says he already knows what's on her mind. He's been so busy with testing lately that he has been neglecting her. It's only natural she would want some attention now. If she can satisfy him in this battle, then he will make sure to satisfy her too. Hearing this, Zhu asks really? He better not go back on his word. She's going all out then. She uses her ability, 16-fold ice rings, and then attacks Lee. She thinks these ice rings are way bigger than before, so this is the Heart of Nature's boost. It looks like she's not far from earning Master's reward. Just then, Lee unleashes his power when he fends off her attack, asking if that's all. He was hoping for a real challenge. Show him her limits. He uses his ability, Crimson Storm, when a swarm of bats rushes toward her. Xu asks if he thinks that's all she can do. She's going to make sure he's completely satisfied when she uses her ability, Domain of Ice, Absolute Zero, turning everything around her into ice. The system tells Lee he has been afflicted with chill. Lee says she froze the whole forest in an instant, and even inflicted chill across all targets in range. Giving her the Heart of Nature was definitely the right call. When she thanks him, she then says, but she doubts that's enough to impress him. She will push herself even harder. She then jumps and appears in front of him, asking him to please forgive her. She locks him using her legs and then pins him down onto the ground as she uses her ability, Ice Crystal Prison. Lee gets trapped inside when she asks how's that. He's totally trapped now, asking if that was good enough for him. The system then tells Lee, Binhita's spirit necklace is activated. He's immune to Ice Crystal Prison. The main resistance trait, Chill, has ended. Lee says that's not bad, but what he liked the most was that position just now. Just then, Lee grabs her, and she gets shocked, saying she already used both the scissor lock and the ice crystal prison, so how is he able to move? Lee breaks open the trap, saying if something like this could hold him, then what right would he have to call her his master? She tells him he's incredible. That's exactly what she would expect from her master. She can't believe she really thought she could trap him. She was far too overconfident, so she admits defeat completely. But didn't he say he would grant her wish? Isn't it time to follow through? Just then, the system tells him that Li Shuer has gone a long time without affection and is currently burning with desire. If not satisfied immediately, her affection level will decrease. If a follower's affection level drops below 100%, then soul resonance equipment will deactivate, and the blood demon essence buff will vanish. He thinks the affection system doesn't just require maxing out their fondness, but the hard part is keeping it at 100%, or he will lose the power he worked so hard for. He then grabs her hand and gets on top of her, saying that pose just now was quite something. Why don't they just keep going like that? She thanks him for indulging her. He gets close to her and kisses her. Zeus says it's truly astounding. She can't take it anymore. After a while, she stretches her body, saying that felt amazing. She then asks Lee how it was. Was her performance up to par? He tells her of course it was. She then says actually, she does have one more request. Would he consider joining the Red City group? He says let him guess. Her mother asked her to say that, trying to use their relationship to pull him into Red City. She tells him she knew she couldn't hide it from him, but sorry, she insisted. He tells her not to worry about it because there are plenty of groups trying to win him over lately, but now that he has official status, he doesn't need to join anyone else. Besides, with the bond they have, does it really matter if he joins or not? He's planning to found his own Evolver group. Zhuo, eyes wide in astonishment, asks he wants to form his own Evolver group. Lee Haoran nods, a faint smile on his lips. Ever since the evaluations ended, groups have been lining up to recruit him. No matter which one he joined, he'd offend all the others. The smartest solution is to form his own group. Shui nods slowly, thinking it over. Now that he mentions it, going solo really is the cleverest option, but setting up a group isn't easy. She pauses, then adds, she can help fund it. Her mother and she can support him. He won't need approval to form a small Evolver team of 10 members, but to establish a large-scale group, he'll have to pass the association's review. Lee frowns, asking, and to do that. To form a group of that size, he'll need a record of slaying at least a Tier 7 beast, Shui explains. Lee blinks in surprise. That's almost legendary level. Beasts of that rank are rare these days. He's not even sure if he'll find one. Meanwhile, at J City, Zhao Yifei's residence, she steps out of the bath and gazes at her reflection. Maybe she's not that young anymore, she thinks, but her figure can still rival those succubi. She experiments with several outfits, muttering to herself, she often bury herself in work too deeply. If she actually took the time to dress up, she could give those succubi a serious run for their money. Her thoughts are interrupted when Wang Ji calls. He tells her he just got word that Li Haoran has accepted the beast-slaying mission in the Endless Black Swamp. Yifei frowns, surprised, saying that mission's been on hold forever. No one wanted it because it's classified as Tier 7 high. Why would he take it? Wang sighs, saying it's the one thing standing between him and starting his own Evolver group, but that's not the main concern. The real issue is this. Wu Qiu Shui, the witch, has been spotted in the Black Swamp. Yifei stiffens, her eyes narrowing. The legendary Evolver witch hiding out in the Endless Black Swamp, she mutters. Her voice hardens. That woman has murdered countless people in the name of sorcery experiments. The association stripped her of all status and put her on the most wanted list long ago. She's an outright lunatic, a total monster. Wang, puzzled, asks, why does she get so worked up every time Li Haoran is mentioned? That's not like her. Yifei clenches her fists, saying because she personally recommended him to the association, she won't let someone with his potential fall into that witch's hands. At the Black Swamp, Li Haoran arrives with Li Shui in tow. Holding her gently, he tells her, they're here. She can get down now. She steps off as they both take in their surroundings. So, this is the Endless Black Swamp, she murmurs, her fingers clutching his arm. The swamp gleams with a strange, eerie light, its atmosphere thick with menace. He smirks, teasing her, saying she's supposed to be strong and yet she's scared of this. He quickly forms a magical formation, muttering that he will summon someone to bolster her courage. Almost instantly, Bide and Banhida appear, joined by Balo and Centaur. They greet Li Haoran respectfully. Li explains their mission this time is simple. Cleanse the entire Black Swamp. Split up and search for any beasts. Kill the males. Capture the females for blood extraction. If they encounter a Tier 7 beast, do not engage. Report to him immediately. Everyone nods in agreement, then vanishes silently into thin air. Deeper into the forest, Bide moves cautiously, sensing movement. No need to hide any longer, she shouts. They may reveal themselves, and maybe then she'll go easier on them. Suddenly, Tier 4 beasts, the Raven Queen, appears. Bide narrows her eyes at its arrogant tone. The beast asks if she's tired of living like this. This swamp isn't some playground. The Raven Queen hisses, asking if she even know whose territory this is. Trash like her deserves to be torn apart and devoured. They all lunge at Bide, but she reacts instantly. Using her tentacles, she ensnares them in a flurry of wet, sticky, grasping limbs. Gross, what kind of disgusting attack is this? They shriek. It's so wet, so sticky. It's revolting. Bide's voice is calm, almost gleeful. She says her master instructed her to secure the blood of females for the blood harvesting. Conveniently, they have walked right into her grasp. If she brings them back, he might even reward her. Bide sneers at them, telling them that struggling will do them no good. These tentacles are not something they can break free from. They should just give up already. Soon enough, all of them will be nothing more than nourishment for her master. She tightens her grip even further. They cry out, saying they cannot take it anymore. The pressure is increasing, squeezing harder and harder. Poison seeps from the tentacles, burning as it spreads. They beg her to let them go. Bide scoffs, saying she could not care less what they think. Her only job is to deliver them to her master. That is all. Elsewhere, Bailey walks alone through the forest, casually humming a rhyme to herself when suddenly a hand bursts out from the earth, startling her. Before she can react, it grabs her foot and drags her underground. She cries out in surprise as she is pulled beneath the soil. Moments later, a group of Tier 3 beasts, burrowing ratmen, emerge and surround her. Balo narrows her eyes and snorts. So it is just a pack of sneaky little ratmen. Anger flashes across her face as she snaps at them, saying they really do love crawling around in filth. Power erupts from her as she activates her ability Lava Burst. Molten heat floods the earth beneath them as she channels lava directly underground, vowing to roast every last one of them to a crisp. When the dust settles and the screams fade, nothing remains. She wrinkles her nose and mutters that burnt rats reek. Meanwhile, Haoran continues to gain experience steadily. He thinks to himself that this is not bad at all. Everyone seems to be holding their own. Clearing out the endless black swamp should earn them a decent haul. Joey clings tightly to his side, her thoughts drifting. Even though the place is dark and eerie, as long as she's beside her master, she feels completely safe. He even looks like he is enjoying himself. Honestly, this almost feels like a romantic getaway. Somewhere deep in the forest, a group of Tier 1 beasts, ancient worm larvae, wriggle through the soil when Centaur discovers them. Without hesitation, she activates her skill, War Trample, and charges through them, crushing every last one beneath her hooves. She clicks her tongue in annoyance. If this is really supposed to be a Tier 7 high-class beast nest, then why is she only running into weak little worms? Everyone is going to laugh at her for such pathetic results. She demands a real fight, just once. She shouts into the forest, asking if this whole place is nothing but squirmy little maggots. Suddenly, the ground beneath her explodes. A massive creature erupts from below, flinging her aside with overwhelming force. She twists midair and lands cleanly, grinning wildly. Now that is more like it. It is about time it finally showed itself. A Tier 6 high-class adult ancient worm rises before her, its massive body riding with rage. It roars that she's slaughtered countless of its children, and it will tear her into 1,000 pieces. Centaur cracks her neck and scoffs. So this is what all the fuss was about. Turns out it's just a bigger maggot than the rest. Elsewhere, Binhita suddenly finds herself trembling. Her breathing grows uneven as her thoughts spiral out of control. What is happening to her? Her mind is filling with indecent thoughts. Why is she getting turned on all of a sudden? She collapses to her knees, clutching herself as panic floods in. She cannot hold it back. Was she really this desperate all along? Then her gaze snaps forward. This is her doing. That pink mist she released, this is what twisted her into such a state. A figure materializes before her, a Tier 7 high-class beast, the perverse Queenflower Roth. Roth chuckles softly, saying Binhita made it sound like she did not enjoy it at all. She explains that her intoxicating floral scent is something special. Anyone who inhales her fragrance loses all sense of reason and succumbs to uncontrollable desire. If they do not find someone to mate with, within an hour, they are driven mad by lust, then die from the unbearable craving. Roth smiles as she holds Binhita close, asking if her ability is not simply delightful. Binhita recoils in disgust, calling it vile. Roth is a Tier 7 beast, she should let her go. As her thoughts struggle to remain clear, Binhita realizes something terrifying. This may be the very beast Lord Haoran has been searching for. She has to report this before she completely loses control. Roth tilts her head, amused. Let her go. Why would she do that? She has a little fetish she would like Binhita to help her indulge. Binhita grits her teeth, saying she knew it, this was something filthy. Roth laughs softly, admitting she loves watching from the shadows. Those infected by her poison lose control and begin writhing uncontrollably. Whoever appears next, handsome or hideous, human or beast, they will break free of all restraint and throw themselves forward in a frenzy. That moment, the collapse of will, the surrender to desire, is the scene she craves the most. Binhita shouts that Roth is completely insane. Roth only smiles wider, asking who the next visitor will be. She says she can hardly wait. Just then, Haoran feels something strange ripple through him. Shui notices immediately and asks if something is wrong. He tells her it is Binhita's signal. She may have discovered the master of the endless black marsh. His expression tightens. Binhita is in danger. He says he has to get to her first, then vanishes in a blur, leaving Shui behind. Shui blinks in surprise. So that's his true speed. He was far faster than when he had been carrying her. Only then does she realize something feels off. Her master is gone, which means she's alone in this eerie swamp. A chill crawls up her spine. Don't tell her there are water ghosts here like Kirin May or something. Suddenly, something lashes out at her. Yue twists aside, narrowly dodging the strike, and shouts, demanding to know who dares ambush her. She tells them to stop playing tricks and show themselves. A figure emerges from the shadows, a Tier 6 high-class siren, Naga. Naga tells her she has had her eye on her for quite some time, but the man beside her was far too overwhelming, so she waited watching from the darkness. Now that Shui is all alone, she would be a fool not to seize this opportunity. Shui exhales in relief, saying she was frightened for a moment. Turns out it is just a beast. As long as it is not a ghost, they are fine. Naga sneers, asking if she is looking down on her. She can sense it clearly. A peerless treasure on Shui's person, brimming with primal nature energy, perfect for her growth. Leaving something so precious on her is a waste, so she should hand it over. Shui's eyes sharpen. A peerless treasure. She is after the nature's heart her master gave her. Shui snaps back that it is a token of love from her master and filth, like her has no right to touch it. Naga laughs coldly, calling her a love-struck fool on top of everything else. If she refuses to give it up, then she will simply split her open. Either way, the treasure will be hers. Naga lunges forward, launching her attack. Sui reacts instantly, activating her ability, Frozen Grasp, and blocks the strike head-on, stunning Naga in place. Naga realizes she is facing an ice elemental, her natural enemy. Instantly, she activates her ability, Water Escape, and dives back into the water. Yu scans her surroundings, eyes narrowing when Naga suddenly appears behind her and calls out, over here. Even if their elements counter each other, Naga's raw strength still eclipses hers. She immediately unleashes her ability, Water Prison. She's gotten the attack, her body locked in place. She can't move, she thinks. Naga rushes toward her, killing intent flaring as she shouts for Shui to die. Just as Shui's body is dragged into the water, Naga freezes in shock. The water has turned solid, ice. It should have immobilized her completely. Then in the next instant, Shui erupts with power. She shatters the prison through sheer brute force alone. The backlash sends Naga flying as she slams hard into the wall. How is this possible? Naga thinks in disbelief. Shui broke free using nothing but raw power. That surge alone froze the entire marsh in an instant. From what she has observed, there is no way Shui is weaker than her, otherwise she would never have dared strike first. It must be that treasure. That artifact is amplifying her strength. Shui brushes aside the remnants of the shattered attack and scoffs, telling her she's had enough of this dithering. They will end it here, as she needs to regroup with her lord. If Naga has any other tricks, Sweat tells her to use them now, hearing that Naga's fury ignites. How dare she look down on her? She snarls that this ground will serve as Shui's grave. She will perish here like the dog she is. With a roar, Naga launches herself forward, once more unleashing another full-powered assault. Shui's eyes flash coldly as she answers back, telling her to know her place, before unleashing her own power and striking Naga head-on, shocking her to the core. Shui's attack lands cleanly, sending Naga crashing back as she spits blood. Gritting her teeth, Naga apologizes to Lady Shushu, thinking that the subordinate can no longer repay her kindness. Shui scoffs, saying that the treasure her master bestowed upon her is not something the likes of Naga are worthy of touching. Then she pauses, momentarily startled, recalling that her master did instruct her to bring the woman back for feeding. Ugly or not, she has a chest, so she's definitely female. Sui tilts her head, muttering that she might have hit her a little too hard. Don't tell her she's already dead. Just then her eyes widen as she spots a snake sliced cleanly in half. A water snake. That so-called 6th rank beast was nothing more than a water serpent, but abnormal beasts are supposed to come through rifts from other spaces. So how did a mere water snake become that strong? Something is wrong. Elsewhere, Lee lands lightly, thinking this should be the place. Suddenly, the system issues a warning. Poison detected. He stiffens in surprise. Thanks to his resistance, the poison's effects are weakened, so those strange pink fumes are toxic after all. He can resist part of it, but what exactly does this poison do? Why doesn't he feel anything yet? A snap to Binhida, who is bound nearby. He demands to know what happened to her. Where is the 7th tier beast? Still tied up, she tries to answer, but no sound comes out. Lee immediately draws his sword and cuts her free, asking how she feels and what happened. Why does she seem so strange? She staggers, clutching herself, and tells him her body feels unbearably pent up. She cannot stand it anymore. She is so starved she can barely hold herself together. She inhaled the perverse blossom scent. If she does not sleep with someone within an hour to purge it, she will die, consumed by unquenched desire and starvation. Lee's expression darkens. So the pink miasma is a lust poison. Then wouldn't that mean he, from the shadows, Roth watches in disbelief? What is wrong with this man? He has been breathing the scent for so long, so why isn't he reacting? He's completely different from that woman earlier. Benhita gasped, saying she truly cannot endure it anymore. She rises unsteadily, then suddenly leaps toward Lee and kisses him. He stiffens in shock, instantly sensing something is wrong. The system alarms again, warning of poison escalation. Roth narrows her eyes. That banshee absorbed a massive amount of the blossom's scent. She has effectively become a premium vessel for the lust poison. Even if the man can resist the airborne miasma, a direct mouth-to-mouth transfer is something he will never be able to endure. Lee Haoran exhales sharply as realization hits. So he has been poisoned too. The system confirms it immediately, issuing a final warning. Please engage with an opposite-sex target immediately. Failure to do so will result in fatal consequences. Lee clenches his teeth, struggling to restrain the surging urge, and mutters that there is no defending against this. What kind of beast would use something so filthy? Benhita trembles in front of him as he admits that he does not think he can hold it back much longer. She swallows and tells him that if he cannot endure it, then he should not. This is necessary to save their lives. Roth watches from hiding, her thoughts racing. Just get on with it. She has been craving something like this, raw and unrestrained. Let her enjoy the view up close. If she is entertained enough, she might even spare their lives. Lee tells Benhita that if this is to purge the poison and survive, then they cannot afford to be shy. He pulls her into his arms, saying he will begin the purge now, and asks if she is ready. He draws her closer. She whispers for him not to hold back. He hesitates, asking where they should even begin, only to feel his restraint slipping. Roth narrows her eyes as she watches. He's starting from there. He should have lost all reason by now. The only thing your shelved been base instinct. Yet he is still lucid enough to choose how to act, guided by preference rather than blind impulse. This one isn't simple at all. Lee starts to remove his shirt, then pauses, frowning. That could be a problem. If that beast ambushes them in the middle of purging, they will surely die. Benhita shakes her head sharply and tells him to forget it. They either purge first or they die. There is no third option. Either way, that thing felt like a real pervert. She's probably hiding somewhere nearby, peeping at them. If she gets carried away watching, she will not bother attacking, so he should just ignore her. Roth's breath catches. This isn't like the couple she has watched before. Those were crude, nothing more than raw animal redding. But these two are different. There is humanity here. Tenderness. Even her own mood is being quietly pulled along. Benhita presses Lee down and climbs atop him, declaring that his servant will take the lead. He exhales, saying that if they are doing this, he will give it everything he has, and in her heart, Benhita thinks only one thing. Master Haoran is the light of her world. After a while, Benhita stirs awake, wondering if she had dozed off. She must have overdone the detox and completely worn herself out. Sitting up, she murmurs that her body feels so much better now. It seems her master has purged the lust poison completely. Lai looks at her and remarks that she is finally awake. She apparently got a little too excited and blacked out. Benhita freezes in surprise, realizing that she did not fall asleep. She fainted. Lee nods, explaining that she is unusually sensitive, so her reactions hit much harder than most. She hesitates, then asks if that means her master has been watching over her this entire time. He confirms it calmly. At that, she loses her composure, blurting out that the moment she saw him, her body started trembling uncontrollably. She collapses again, muttering that the stimulation must have been far too much since she can still feel it lingering. Lee clicks his tongue, commenting that her hypersensitivity truly is something else. He then shifts topics, asking where that poison-spewing beast is hiding. While the two of them were coupling to purge the toxin, it would have been the perfect opportunity for an ambush, yet there was nothing. He has kept watch this entire time, and not even a whisper. Surely she is not plotting some other dirty trick? Elsewhere, Roth is spiraling in confusion. What is happening to her? She was only peeking, so why is her body reacting this violently? It finished ages ago, yet she's still drowning in the sensation, unable to pull herself away, as though she were the one being purged by him. This has never happened to her before. Why is that man so different, Lofor? Why is that man so different? Lee's gaze drifts to a nearby flower. He remarks that it looks suspicious. Benhita tilts her head, saying it looks familiar, but there are countless flowers like that in the marsh. What could possibly be strange about it? Lee points out that this one's blossom is twitching just like her. He reaches out and touches the flower. Roth stiffens, realizing he has actually laid his hands on her. He continues to brush against it, thoughtfully wondering aloud if the lust poison from earlier might be coming from these flowers. He says he needs to examine it properly. Roth shudders inwardly. It tickles. Lee leans in and smells it, noting that he cannot detect anything distinct. Roth is flustered, wondering why he keeps teasing her like this. Has he seen through her disguise and is doing this deliberately? Lee straightens, concluding that since scent is yielding no answers, there's only one method left. According to ancient methods of identifying herbs, he will have to taste it himself. Roth's eyes widen in shock. Lai picks up the flower and brings it to his nose, sniffing it curiously. Roth steels herself thinking she has no choice but to endure it. She absolutely cannot reveal her true form in front of him. If anyone were to see her in such a humiliating state, she would never live it down. Lee licks the flower lightly, then wipes his mouth, remarking that aside from being a little salty, there is really nothing unusual about the taste. Maybe he was just overthinking it. Roth exhales internally. That's it. He was imagining things. Now go, just leave already. She is not in a good mood, so she will let him live. Then Lee casually plucks a leaf. Roth screams in pain. The flower twitches violently as Lee's eyes narrow in fascination. He murmurs that this is truly extraordinary. In the next instant, the flower twists and reshapes and Roth appears directly in front of him. She snaps that time and time again he has done such indecent things to her body. Not only with his hands, he even used his mouth. This has gone too far. He already suspected that the flower was her. He deliberately molested her. Staring straight at him, Roth tells him it was her. She is the one who released the poison. She is the 7-star beast ruling the swamp. Lee scoffs and tells her not to flatter herself. All of his followers are stunning and flawless. Why would he waste his time on her? On top of that, not only did she abuse that vile poison, she hid in the shadows and spied on them while they were purging it. He remarks that she is one hell of a rare breed. Roth clicks her tongue, saying he has quite a sharp tongue. She asks for his name. Lee introduces himself, then asks if she is planning to suck him into a gourd or something. She replies that she will remember that name. She has urgent matters to attend to, so she will let his assault slide. But the next time they cross paths, she will not spare him. With that, she turns and leaves. Lee watches her go, muttering that she is really full of herself. She completely underestimated him. As Roth makes her way back, she realizes the sensation flooding her body is far too overwhelming. She cannot fight right now. She needs to find somewhere secluded and take care of it herself. Suddenly, Lee appears behind her, asking if she is leaving so soon. He adds that while he may not care about molesting her, he does care about her spying on him. Roth stiffens in shock. He actually kept up with her this easily. She had been so focused on watching earlier that she neglected to properly gauge his strength. Lee, on the other hand, calculates calmly. If he defeats her, he will secure the qualification needed to establish a major guild. She finally tells him to stop following her because she truly cannot hold back any longer. She blocks his path. Lee scoffs, asking if she seriously thinks a few thorns can stop him. He is quickly proven wrong. It will not be that easy. Just then, the system issues a sharp warning, informing him that the object ahead is highly toxic and urging him to retreat immediately. He clicks his tongue, just as he suspected it is a trap. If he had charged straight in, he would have been finished. Yet the more she resists, the more exhilarated he becomes. He cannot afford to miss this chance. Today she will become his. Elsewhere, the centaur collapses heavily, utterly exhausted, muttering that it is finally over. The giant worm had been far tougher than she anticipated. As she catches her breath, she wonders how her master is faring right now. Suddenly, the worm begins to shrink, its massive body compressing until it transforms into a tiny insect. She stares at it in disbelief. A caterpillar. The body of a so-called 6-star ancient worm reduced to nothing more than a small larva. It makes no sense. Something is very wrong with these beasts. Not far away, the Raven Queen dissolves into a flock of crows, scattering into the air. Bide stiffens in surprise as she watches them. She mutters that even ordinary animals here are mutating into dangerous beasts. This worm, no matter how simple it appears, carries something deeply unsettling. At that moment, a girl appears behind her. Bide turns sharply. The girl remarks calmly that it is impressive Bide managed to take down all of her Black Raven maidens alone. She then asks why Bide would attack her own kind. Bide answers coldly that she acts on her master's command. The order is to cleanse the endless swamp. She tells her to prepare to die. Her tentacles lash out, but in an instant they are severed. Bide reels in shock. She has not seen the girl move a single finger, yet her aura alone shredded the tentacles apart. The girl suddenly rushes forward. Bide demands to know who she is and asks if Lee sent her some insignificant nobody. She has never heard of him. The girl attacks without hesitation. Bide is driven back, blood spilling as she crashes to the ground. She gasps, realizing that unleashing that level of destruction with such a casual strike is impossible for ordinary beasts. This opponent is nothing like the Raven Maidens from before. She understands now. This is the 7-star beast her master has been hunting. The girl tilts her head when she hears 7-star, then smiles. That's correct. She is a 7-star high-ranked beast, Death Raven Kuro. Kuro asks mockingly why this so-called Haoran would come after her. Is he tired of living? Meanwhile, Roth steps back into the water, sighing softly. The lake feels cool enough. She might as well bathe here and let it soothe the heat still burning through her body. She takes off her clothes and steps into the water, telling herself there's no reason to react this strongly. Yet, she is caught off guard when her body starts to stir again. The scene keeps replaying in her mind, looping relentlessly, and no matter how hard she tries, she cannot shake it off. What is worse is that she's beginning to insert herself into it. She dives beneath the surface, thinking that she was the one who released the poison, so why is she the one losing control like this? She has witnessed scenes like that countless times before. The endless marsh is so remote that hardly anyone ever wanders here, and most of the figures she has spied on were unappealing at best. But those two were different, striking in both appearance and presence. She almost never comes across prey like that, especially him, manly and refined both at once. No wonder she cannot look away. Even submerging herself completely fails to erase the sensation clinging to her skin and thoughts. She realizes she cannot keep hiding in the lake. If this is to end, she will have to deal with it herself. She emerges from the water just as Haoran spots her from a distance. He pauses, thinking that it is quite a sight to stumble upon. Concealing himself beneath the blood veil, he considers that she might be a tier 7 beast, but in her current condition, how much strength could she truly muster? He reaches toward her. Roth suddenly stiffens, sensing something approaching, and the next instant, Lee appears and strikes. She narrowly dodges the attack, snapping that she has already let him walk away twice. So why does he keep chasing her? Does he truly believe she will not kill him? He replies that the way she speaks and carries herself makes it sound as though killing him would mean nothing at all. But she has it backwards. She is his prey, and more importantly, she is barely clothed. How exactly does she intend to fight him like this? Her face heats with embarrassment. She demands that he at least let her put her clothes back on before they fight. Unfortunately, he tells her he will not wait even a second longer as he rushes toward her. And Lee leaps into the air and activates his ability Crimson Flash. Roth's eyes widen in shock as she thinks he's insanely fast. This is a teleportation strike. He follows up instantly with his ability Bloodblade Torrent, slamming the attack into the ground. To his surprise, Roth evades it cleanly. Lee narrows his eyes, noticing something unusual in front of him. What's that? Meanwhile, Roth slips away, analyzing the exchange. Her shock fruit releases high-frequency vibrations that detonate the core. Not only does it unleash crushing force, it also paralyzes the target for several moments. Lee rapidly closes the distance again and calls out she's using vibrating fruit as nothing more than throwing weapons. Isn't that a waste? Something like that should have far greater applications. Roth calmly pulls her clothes back on, her composure returning. She's feeling much better now, she says coldly, which means it's time to reclaim her pride. In the next instant, Lee appears directly in front of her. She's been darting around endlessly, he says. All he wants is a clean, decisive fight. A decisive fight, Roth repeats, her eyes flashing. Fine, but he'll regret forcing her to use her full strength. Suddenly, countless leaves begin to rise and swirl around Lee. Several graze his body, slicing shallow cuts into his skin. He stiffens in surprise as Roth declares this is her ultimate technique. No one who has ever seen it has lived. Her voice hardens. She never intended to use this on him, but he has already seen her body. She can't let him walk away alive. Lee's mind races. She's pulling in every leaf of the marsh and turning them into blades. There's no way to dodge this. Roth activates her ability Leaf Storm, engulfing him completely in the raging vortex. He saw her body. She sneers. But don't forget, she saw his too. That makes them even. Her tone turns icy. She didn't want to kill him, but he pushed her again and again. This end is his own doing. Then her eyes widen in disbelief. The figure caught in the storm is nothing more than a clone. Before she can react, Lee appears behind her in a flash. She gasps in shock as he grabs her from behind. Roth feels his body pressed tightly against hers. Even though she already took care of her needs earlier, her body is still hypersensitive. With him holding her this close, she can feel the warmth of every heartbeat against her back, making her tremble uncontrollably. He tells her not to even think about resisting. There's no breaking free. She replies that she isn't trying to resist. This is simply her body's natural reaction, something she can't control. If he wants to spare her even a little mercy, then he shouldn't blame her for what comes next. With that, she activates her ability Poison Bloom. Lee inhales the poison once more, thinking his chest is burning hotter as the heaviness spreads through his body. Roth tells him that stopping the leaf storm was impressive, but her true pride lies in her fragrant venom blood. Once someone inhales it, they have no chance unless they find a partner immediately. There is no cure. Lee begins acting as if he has been affected, then suddenly says, that's exactly what he would say if he truly were poisoned. Roth freezes. What she blurts out, suddenly feeling a burning sensation surge through her own body. She collapses to the ground, gasping. What did he do? How can she fall to her own venom? He tells her that ever since he traded antibodies with the Banshee, he has been thinking that if he couldn't counter her poison, he would never be able to win against her. He happened to be holding 2 unspent skill points, Each level of soul resonance strengthens one unique piece of equipment, and after reinforcing the same item twice, its hidden ability unlocks. His spirit necklace glows faintly as Roth stares in disbelief. To be undone by her own technique, how could she fall to someone like him? He answers calmly that she said it herself. There is no antidote to the lust poison. If she doesn't couple within an hour, she will wither away and die in agony. As the caster, she isn't exempt either. She demands to know what he's getting at. Don't tell her he intends to help her. Before she can finish, he lifts her up and pins her against a tree. She struggles, asking what he thinks he's doing. He shouldn't assume that just because she uses poison, she's some shameless deviant. Voyeurism is her only indulgence. She watches, but she doesn't touch. He tells her he doesn't care what she claims. She knows the power of her poison. She has seen its victims writhe and perish. If she doesn't want to meet the same end, then repeat after him. She must swear eternal loyalty to him and promise never to betray him, neither in this life nor the next. She snaps back that there's no way she'll say something like that. He turns away indifferently, telling her not to bother. It won't be his problem if the poison kills her. Wait. She calls out, panic creeping into her voice. She says she'll say it. She swears loyalty to him forever and ever, asking if he will cure her now. At that moment, the system notifies Lino follower required. Roth's status window appears before his eyes. He studies it briefly and says that since his follower has fallen to poison, it's only natural that he help her out. A few minutes earlier, Bide is badly injured, realizing grimly that her opponent is simply too strong. A tier 7 beast isn't something she can truly handle. Kuro remarks that for a tier 6 to tussle with her for this long is quite impressive. She has guts, but unfortunately for her this ends now. Kuro launches her attack, declaring it's over. Just then she notices a violent whirlwind in the distance and narrows her eyes. Leaf blade storm, she mutters. It seems Big Sister has actually found an opponent strong enough to force her to use that move. That won't do. She'll have to step in and help. With that, she leaps away. As she rushes forward, she suddenly senses the poison and skids to a halt midway. Good thing she stopped. If she had walked into that flower-centered grove, even she wouldn't have lasted. Just what the hell was Big Sister doing? On the other hand, Shue's also running, her heart pounding. There was a massive energy fluctuation coming from this direction earlier. She needs to hurry and back up her lord. Suddenly, she stumbles and falls. Confused, she wonders why she suddenly shivered. The pain feels strange wrong. Her body burns as if her temperature is rapidly rising. She inhales the poison without realizing it. Elsewhere, Baldo clutches her head, panic rising. What's happening to her? Her mind is filling with indecent thoughts. Why does she suddenly feel so hungry? Is she really this kind of woman? She feels like she's losing her mind. Meanwhile, Bidet regenerates her wounds and slowly sits up. That was close. The head was heavy, but her regeneration held. That one must have gone after Haoran, and she has to stop her. Roth, on the other hand, revels in the sensation coursing through her. This feeling is incredible, completely different from the thrills of voyeurism. It's unparalleled. Lee, however, frowns as he senses her affection rising at an alarming rate. She really is twisted to the core. The system informs him that her affection has reached 45%. He thinks that the physical resilience of a tier 7 beast truly is something else. Detoxing her was a monstrous effort. Roth tells him he completely cleared the fragrant venom. She feels reborn, both body and spirit. Turns out, practice really is the only way to test the truth. She was foolish to only ever watch before. He tells her that particular slang wasn't meant to be used in this context. Just then, Shui arrives. Lee turns and looks at her as she exhales in relief and says she finally found him. Shui drops to her knees as Lee rushes toward her urgently, asking what's wrong. He catches her before she collapses, his hand pressing against her shoulder as he realizes she's burning up. Who did this to her? Her body is shaking uncontrollably. She tells him it hurts, that she feels awful, like she's falling apart from the inside. Just then, Roth speaks up, telling him she has been poisoned by the fragrant venom bloom and it's deep. They have to detox her immediately or she won't make it. Lee thinks that detoxing her has to happen right now. Roth just swore loyalty to him and her affection isn't maxed yet, but she wouldn't stab him in the back while he's detoxing Shui. Shui clings to him, pleading for him to save her. Roth watches the scene unfold, feeling strangely unsettled. She actually started doing it openly without hiding. She used to watch everything from the shadows. Standing out in the open like this feels strange. What exactly is her relationship with him? He clearly cares deeply about her. He's even putting more effort into detoxing Shui than he did with her. So, why does that make her chest feel tight? Why does she feel resentful? Could she be jealous? Just then, Balo rushes in, calling out to Lee and saying she finally found him. Roth turns in surprise as Balo grabs onto him, asking him to help her stop the unbearable itch. Bide then emerges from the shadows shivering as she complains that she's freezing. Roth stares at her and mutters that there's more. Centaur arrives shortly after staggering, as Roth asks if this nightmare is ever going to end. Centaur says she feels like she's about to die. Roth looks at the group in disbelief. One is itchy, one is freezing, and now one is starving. How did they all get hit by the fragrant venom bloom like this? Every possible reaction all at once. Suddenly, Lee appears behind Roth, his voice cold as he tells her that this is because she keeps spraying that filthy toxin everywhere. If anything happens to them, he will hold her accountable. Time is running out, and all of them need detoxing now. He orders them all to come to him. Roth freezes in shock, asking if he seriously plans to detox 4 of them at once. That's far too risky. They're poisoned badly and their urges will only intensify. Only by fully satisfying them can the toxin be purged. He already detoxed the Banshee and then her body won't hold up. He cuts her off, telling her this is her fault in the first place, so she can just watch and see whether he can handle it or not. Looking at them, Roth thinks that her toxin should already be gone, so why is she still trembling? Could there be residual poison lingering inside her? Is that the reason her body feels like this? She suddenly drops to her knees, realizing the truth. It isn't poison at all. This is her body's instinct. Her body has been completely conquered by him. Just then, Lai steps in front of her and tells her he will give her one chance. Will she join them? She agrees. Afterward, Roth is soaking in a bath, murmuring that this feeling is incredible. Shui is there as well, telling her that she is a 7th-ranked beast. Even though she was once their enemy, they owe her because she gave them the excuse to be rewarded so thoroughly. In the end, they all benefited from her. Bid says she has already sworn loyalty to Master, so from now on, they are colleagues. Centaur adds that since they are one family now, there's no need to hold back anymore. The next day, Kuro wakes up wondering if she had fallen asleep. The fragrant venom is completely gone now. Her sister must be finished by this point. She suddenly notices movement ahead, her eyes narrowing. It looks like someone is coming out. No, there are many people. Just then, Lee and the others emerge, with Roth clinging tightly to him. Lee tells her she's pressing far too close, it's uncomfortable. Roth replies calmly that she's very comfortable. Kuro stares at Roth in shock and demands to know what's wrong with her. Roth looks back calmly and asks why she's even here, saying this is no place for a kid. Kuro snaps back that she's not a kid anymore, then hesitates as she looks around frowning. Why do they all look so flushed? A horrifying thought strikes her. She blurts out, telling Roth not to tell her they took advantage of the fragrant venom and did that with her. Her imagination immediately spirals into all kinds of disturbing scenarios. Roth quickly shuts her down, saying it's not what she thinks. She explains that the reason she looks like this is because she was poisoned by the fragrant venom as well. Just then, Bide steps forward, asking what's going on and why everyone suddenly stopped moving. Kuro's gaze snaps to her, her pupils shrinking in disbelief. She asks how she's still alive. Rage erupts instantly and she lunges forward, declaring that this time she'll end her for good. Bide is startled, realizing she's far too fast. There's no way she can dodge this attack. Suddenly, Lee appears in front of her and blocks the blow head-on. His expression darkens as he glares at Kuro, demanding how she dares lay a hand on his people right in front of him. That level of disrespect, he says, leaves him no reason to hold back. He unleashes his ability Bloodblade Torrent. Kuro's eyes widen. It's insanely fast. She barely dodges at the very last instant. The attack tears through the forest behind her, slicing down a swath of trees in a single brutal sweep. She clicks her tongue, realizing this one is strong. He must be the man who forced her sister to use Leaf Blade Storm. Lee studies her calmly and remarks that she's another 7th-rank beast. It seems his intel was off, but her temper is clearly far hotter than her sister's. Kuro snarls that he must have used some vile trick to seduce her sister. Roth immediately steps in, telling her that's not true. He only did it to save her. She explains that she was the one who suffered backlash from the fragrant venom and ended up like this. Because of that, Roth states firmly Kuro is not allowed to attack him. Kuro snaps at Roth, telling her she's just being blinded by that man's looks, and to snap out of it. Roth demands to know why she won't listen to her. Kuro scoffs and tells her to stop making excuses. She says Roth has grown up now, so she understands everything. She can imagine exactly what happened between them without even trying. A peeping freak who bottled up her urges for years, and the young handsome man overflowing with vigor. Under the fragrant venom, her desires would skyrocket. Dry wood meeting fire. Then they linked together all night long. Was she wrong? She adds coldly that Roth has never even touched a man before. She only ever dared to watch from the shadows. Roth responds that, of course, after tasting the forbidden fruit, she would want it even more. Maybe there's some truth in what Kuro is saying, but she doesn't even understand it herself. It's as if her body and soul already belong to him. Lee, watching silently, thinks that's because she already swore herself to him. She's bound to his system now. Kuro's fury erupts. She declares that whether Roth lifts a finger or not doesn't matter anymore. She just needs to kill all of them. If Mother finds out about this scandal, she knows exactly what will happen, so she'll clean up this mess herself. She unleashes her power, and a swarm of ravens materializes out of thin air. Lee scoffs, calling them cheap tricks as he cuts the ravens down one after another. Kuro sneers, telling him not to get cocky so soon. She isn't done yet. She activates her ability Six Sun Warbird, and a massive avian construct manifests in the air. Bide stares at it in shock, thinking that power is terrifying. This is the true strength of a 7th rank beast. Kuro wasn't even serious when she fought her before. Roth watches silently, realizing her sister is going all out. Kuro declares that all of them will perish as the colossal bird hurtles toward Lee. Lee narrows his eyes. The attack holds incredible energy. He can withstand it, but he knows the others can't. The strike lands and a massive explosion erupts, sending dust and debris flying in all directions. Kuro demands to know if they finally understand now. Her sister's purity isn't something the likes of them are allowed to defile. As the dust slowly settles, Kuro freezes in shock. Roth is standing there, having shielded everyone with her power. Roth looks at her calmly and says she truly doesn't understand her. She told her not to touch them. Shui explains that the skill belongs to Master's new follower, Roth. She was the one who saved them. Centaur quits her tongue in disbelief, saying it was just roses, yet they blocked such a powerful attack. Her defensive power might even surpass her own. Lee turns to Roth with clear approval and says that was impressive. As expected of a 7th rank high-grade beast, they owe her one this time. Roth waves it off lightly, saying it's nothing special. She's simply doing what she should. But if he keeps praising her like that, she might melt. At that moment, Kuro explodes in anger, screaming at Lee, demanding to know what the hell he did to her sister. One compliment and she's already grinning like a fool. Her sister was a pure girl, and he's turned her into a puddle. Roth immediately speaks up on Lee's behalf, telling Kuro not to speak to him like that. It's rude. Kuro snarls, accusing him of hiding behind her sister again. She guesses he can't fight without a woman covering for him. Lee's expression darkens. He says her little sister has a real talent for pissing people off. It seems he'll have to teach her how to respect her elders. He steps forward. Kuro scoffs and tells him not to brag too much. He'll look pathetic once she smashes his face in. She summons a heavy hammer knight crybird, declaring she'll pound him into paste. She charges forward. Lee tells her to go ahead and try as he rushes toward her as well. The two collide head-on. Lee blocks her strike and remarks that she's small, but her strength is unreal. She's packing some serious power. Watching the clash, Shui thinks in shock that this little girl is overpowering Master in raw strength. That's unbelievable. Strength is one of Master's greatest attributes. Kuro snarls that he's weak and should drop dead, then swings again. Lee is forced back, crashing hard into a wall. Lee grimaces, thinking that brute force is terrifying. They're sisters, yet their temperaments and fighting styles couldn't be more different. If he can tame her too, then with both Roth and Kuro under him, his overall power will skyrocket. The thought excites him. This will be fun. Kuro clicks her tongue, noting that he took a direct hit from her hammer and is still standing. Not bad, he's tougher than he looks. Lee grins and says he guesses he should thank his sweet sister-in-law for holding back. Kuro freezes. Then her eyes blaze as she demands to know what he just called her. Does he think being with her sister makes him her brother-in-law? Keep dreaming. Her fury explodes as she raises her weapon and unleashes her ability Rampaging Smash. The attack lands squarely. Kuro scoffs, asking on her. She tells him not to kid her. She doesn't need him holding back. Those soft hits can't do a thing to her. She's perfectly fine. Wings burst from her back as she surges toward Lee, declaring she will never hand her sister over to him. Lee clicks his tongue, calling her a real pain, when suddenly he freezes in surprise. Vines erupt from the ground without warning. They coil around Kuro, binding her mid-charge and dragging her back. Kuro struggles, snapping at Roth, demanding to know what she's doing. She tells her to let her go. She hasn't settled this fight with him yet. Roth's voice is calm but firm as she tells her that she already lost. Kuro demands to know what she's talking about. Roth explains that she saw the cutting power of his blade at close range. He had countless chances to use it point blank, yet he kept his sword sheathed and chose to punch instead. Does she really think he couldn't have struck her down if he wanted to? Kuro falls silent. After a moment, she admits that he did hold back on her because of Roth. Everything she did was for her sake. She doesn't want some unknown man toying with her sister's feelings. She only wants her to find someone truly worthy of her. Lee watches her, thinking she's hot-headed, sure, but she genuinely cares about her sister. Her bond with Roth runs deep. Just then, Shui steps forward, sharply telling Kuro to watch her mouth. Her master isn't some unknown man. He is Li Haoran, a legendary ranked evolver titled Slayer Weeps Blood. The association rates him highly, and our city tried and failed to recruit him. Roth nods, adding that it's true, he is special. If Kuro spends some time with him, she'll see that he has the makings of a great brother-in-law. Kuro frowns, thinking that right there is exactly why she feels she's been duped. Suddenly, a voice echoes through the air, amused and cold, remarking that even the association is here. Everyone stiffens. Yu demands to know who's speaking when the system abruptly floods Li's vision with warnings. Extremely hazardous presence detected. Evacuate immediately. Li's heart tightens. He's already at this level, yet the system is screaming. Just who is approaching? Roth, meanwhile, goes pale with terror. She recognizes that voice. It's her mother's. Why would she appear in the endless mire? Kurus is under her breath. That is Mom. Now this is really going to turn into a disaster. The sky darkens as thick clouds roll in, blotting out the light. A figure descends from above. Li exhales slowly. It's far too late for warnings now, and far too late to retreat. The supreme-ranked evolver Wu Tu Shui arrives. She gazes around with faint nostalgia and says the Evolver Association. What a familiar name! It's been years since she last saw anyone from the association. Roth asks why she's here. Wasn't she supposed to be in seclusion? Kuro hastily tries to downplay it, saying it's just a minor situation. She and her sister can handle it. There's no need for her to intervene. Lai studies the newcomer, his thoughts racing. A supreme rank, and she's human. How could she possibly be their mother? Wu Shui turns her gaze toward him and smiles faintly. A legendary rank at his age. Has the association standards fallen that low while she was away? Lai observes her closely, noting from the way she speaks that she clearly knows the association well, but he's never seen her name on any official records. She smirks and says he should better ask President Wang Ji himself, but before that, she wants a good look at what this so-called prodigy is really made of. With a flick of her hand, she conjures a crystal ball and hurls it toward Li. It passes straight through him. He blinks in shock, asking what did she just do to him? She peers into the ball, her expression amused. So many familiar faces, how delightful. To think he has drawn this much attention from supreme ranks. He's no ordinary talent, isn't he? Li's mind races. That crystal ball can peer into his past. If she detects the system, he's finished. He has to stop her no matter what. Anger flares through him, peeking into someone's privacy so brazenly. Doesn't she think that's crossing a line? If she doesn't stop, she'll make her stop. Before he can react further, she commands him to kneel. His body obeys, dropping to the ground as if weighed down by a mountain. He struggles in disbelief. His body, it moved on its own. This is a supreme-ranked evolver. He can't control himself. The girls around him bristle with anger. What did she do to their lord? Let him go. But Wu Shui doesn't relent. She commands them to kneel as well. One by one, all the girls except Shui collapse to their knees, their bodies betraying them. They cannot resist, their own will is overridden. Shui's eyes widen in recognition. Controlling enemies with words alone. She's seen this sorcery before. Words, spirit art. Imbuing language with spiritual force, using mere words to bend others to their will. This woman was the former head of the association's J City branch, the legendary figure who once suppressed Zhou Yaifei, the witch Wu Shui expelled for her mad human experiments. Her strength runs terrifyingly deep. There is no confronting her head-on. All they can hope for is to find a way to get Master out safely. Stepping forward, Shui addresses Wu Shui. She pleads, speaking of her mother. She often speaks of her as a remarkable grand mage. They only came because they accepted the association's commission. They never meant to disturb her seclusion. They bear no malice. For her mother's sake, could she please let them go just this once? Wu Shui's lips curl into a smile of scorn. Oh, frowned Li Hongpin. She dares use her name to plead with her. Her voice drips with disdain. That name holds no sway here. Kneel. Xian feels the oppressive weight of her power. She cannot move. It's as if a massive field of mana has slammed shut over her, crushing her chest and making it impossible to breathe. Without equivalent power, there is no breaking this word. Spirit art. Even knowing her mother, even seeing the plea in her eyes, Wu Shui refuses to relent. She is not only forceful, she is erratic, unpredictable, and terrifying. Shui's mind races. How can they possibly escape from under her hand? Lai thinks to himself, even Shui has been hit. The whole team is down, and that woman is still prying into his past. If she keeps going, she'll see everything from last night. Wu Shui delves into his memories and fury floods her face. She moves down toward Roth with lethal intent. Kuro, witnessing this, thinks this bad sister has really unleashed her wrath this time. Wu Shui glares at Roth. So this is her fine work. She knows exactly what she despised most. Roth stammers, apologizing. Last night was an accident. She didn't mean to. Uchiwu Shui interrupts, her voice sharp and dripping with disgust. She know what she hate most. That filthy, sordid business between men and women. She unleashes her power, binding Roth in chains, peeping on filthy, lowly beast Redding. She has tolerated all of that, but she dare turn it into practice behind her back? Shameless to the bone. She raises her whip and lashes Roth mercilessly. Just then, Kuro throws herself in front of Roth. Please. She knows she was wrong and she swears she won't do it again, so spare her this once. Uchiwu Shui's eyes flash with cold fury. No better than her. How dare she defy her? If she hadn't raised her, endowed her with unmatched power, what would she be today? Who does she think she is lecturing her? Her whip descends onto Kuro, punishing her with equal force. Lee, watching this, seethes with rage. No one, he thinks, gets to grind him under their foot ever. He clenches his fists, energy crackling around him, and tells himself, time to get up. He unleashes his power, a storm of raw force ready to erupt. A powerful surge of mana erupts, and Roth thinks in disbelief he actually broke free from Mother's Word's spirit art. Unreal. Kuro's eyes widen. She's never seen anyone resist it before. Is he really that strong? Uchiwu Shui scowls at him, calling him an annoying brat. No wonder the association has started taking him seriously. Lee glares at her, his voice icy. Do women like her even deserve to be mothers? No matter what they've done, a mother shouldn't treat her children like this. Binding, whipping, humiliation. She has used every vile tactic on her own family. She even turned her kids into sacrifices just to flaunt her authority. There's something seriously wrong with her. Uchiwu Shui's expression darkens with fury. What would a snot-nosed brat like him understand? She hasn't even settled the score for him leading her daughter astray. Look at the woman behind him. They're all flushed, unsettled by lust. Anyone who can't escape men and base desires isn't worthy of being alive. Lee's anger surges. She doesn't get to insult his people. He draws his sword and strikes, but Uchiwu Shui smirks. Decent power, but too slow. She dodges effortlessly and soars into the sky, hurling something toward him. Lee catches sight of it and thinks, don't tell him. The spear smashes into the ground, creating random explosions that shake the battlefield. Uchiwu Shui's eyes narrow. Bold of him to strike first at a supreme rank evolver. He has guts. The association's juniors grow ruder by the day. Today she'll teach him a proper lesson. As the smoke clears, she looks down, her gaze sharp. Could that kid really be? She sees Lee battered but standing firm. He mutters under his breath, so this is a supreme rank evolver's power. Even a casual move can tear the world apart, and yet her two daughters remain shackled in place while she unleashes a full-scale, indiscriminate attack. Does she not care at all? Lee moves to protect them both, his resolve absolute. Kuro watches in awe and disbelief. He threw himself into harm's way to pull her, his sister, and his people to safety. That takes insane speed and a fearless will. Uchiwu Shui looks at him, her gaze sharp and piercing. To risk himself for a bunch of deadweight subordinates, even Roth and Kuro, who have nothing to do with him. He lets his own body bear this kind of punishment. He's the one who's not right in the head. Lee's eyes harden as he replies. Back when he was weak, his subordinates abandoned him without mercy. When he clawed his way back from death's door, he promised himself he would never abandon a single one again. Sui watches, admiration filling her chest. That's her master, sturdy, responsible, unwavering. Roth's heart races. The only man worthy of taking her first. She made the right choice. Her affection spikes dramatically to 95%. Lee thinks 95% already. He has got a chance. He'll get everyone out of here in one piece. Suddenly he coughs up, blood alarm flashing in his eyes. This isn't good. Her mana pierces him directly and his HP starts plummeting. Uchiwu Shui's lips curl in a faint smile. Fine slogans. If she was 30 years younger, she might have even fallen for him. Lee grits his teeth, realizing the truth. She's flooding his body with her mana. She's probing him, trying to read deeper. She exhales, slowly, eyes glinting. Interesting. He might just be the perfect test subject she has been searching for. Lee frowns. Test subject? What does she mean by that? Her gaze sharpens. He's defiant, hardly the type to obey. She'll need to grind down those sharp edges first. If he can survive the Myriad Thunder Calamity, then he will become her son. Kuro's face pales. Myriad, Thunder Calamity. Every candidate Mother picked died to that move. Not a single one survived. Roth whispers, panic rising. Don't use that on him. He won't survive. Bid's heart clenches. The master is in mortal danger and they're trapped by some lowly word spirit art. They're completely helpless. If anything happens to him. Suddenly the sky splits with blinding lightning. Wu Shui's voice booms as she unleashes her ability Myriad Thunder Calamity. Roth's eyes blaze with determination. He mustn't die. Even if she defy her, she will protect him. She summons her own power, erecting a verdant barrier. Verdant Wood Domain. The protective aura erupts around Lee, shielding him from the initial onslaught. Roth desperately shields Lee, thinking he can't die like this. Wu Shui's eyes flash with fury. She dares to defy her openly, yet she's still far from true power. The surge of electricity crashes into Lee, triggering a massive explosion that shakes both sky and earth. When the dust clears, Lee lies crumpled in a giant crater unconscious. Roth's heart seizes as she rushes to him. Please be okay, she can't lose him. Wu Shui's lips curl in disdain. Another failure. The association's prodigy is only so-so. She got excited for nothing. She strides toward Roth, her aura seething. She's growing insolent. Alas, Floggin taught her nothing, so this time it will be harsher. A spell lances through Roth's chest, and she screams, blood spurting from her mouth as she collapses in agony. Kuro cries out her name, rushing forward, but Wu Shui stops her with a single command. Leave her. If she bites the hand that feeds her as she did, she will share her fate. Shui, lying on the ground, struggles to see her master. How is he? The angle hides him and panic wells up inside her. Then a rush of relief hits her as can move again. The word spirit art has worn off. She bolts toward the crater, her heart hammering. What she just heard doesn't sound good. Seeing Lee battered, an unconscious rage ignites within her. Her powers surge around her like a tempest. How dare she leave her master in this state? She will never forgive her. Looking at Sui, Wuchi Persue says that she must be Li Hongping's daughter. She does carry some of her mother's youthful spirit. Shui leaps into the air and unleashes her ability, 16 layers of ice wheels, sending the attack crashing down. However, Wu Shui calmly responds by activating her own ability, Crystal Coffin, trapping Shui inside a sealed magical box. Sui is shocked. Barrier magic? How are all of this woman's techniques so strange and unnatural? Just then, Bit declares that they will live and die alongside Li Haoran. Beilo also erupts with power, shouting that she will fight Wu Shui to the death. In response, Wu Shui casually traps them as well. Bead grits her teeth in rage. This witch is truly vile. Facing her makes it feel as if her strength is being completely suppressed. Are they so powerless that they cannot even risk their lives for their master? Bello shouts for Wu Shui to release her, daring her to fight them head-on. She claims she will burn her to ashes, insisting that she could shatter the crystal coffin in a heartbeat if given the chance. What kind of despicable ability is this, using such underhanded methods instead of direct combat? Kuro watches them all trapped and shakes her head inwardly. It's useless. The crystal coffin cannot be broken from the inside. Other than her mother personally dispelling it, there is no escape. She then looks at Li Haoran and thinks how unfortunate it is. This man's entire team is about to be wiped out. Still, she had already begun to change her opinion of him. Suddenly, blood begins to rain from the sky. Kuro freezes and looks upward in shock. What just happened? A blood moon rises overhead. Upon seeing it, Wu Shui's expression shifts. That aura so thick, so violent. It's that boy. Something unbelievable has occurred. He didn't die. Did he actually withstand the power of Myriad Thunder Calamity? At that moment, Lee unleashes his power as the system announces the activation of his skill, Opportunity of his hospital. When health drops below 10% and moonlight shines, blood will rain from the heavens and rivers of blood will surge from the earth. The user enters their primal vampire form, resetting your skill cooldowns and unleashing a frenzied slaughter. Gazing at his transformed form, Wu Shi laughs softly. This is magnificent. He truly did not disappoint her. He is exactly the person she chose. The perfect experimental subject she has searched for her entire life. She tells him to become her son, promising to infuse his body with the strongest power imaginable. Suddenly, her words are cut short as she coughs up blood. Lee's fist slams into her abdomen with terrifying force. Wu Shui is sent flying, crashing hard into the ground. Watching this, Kuro is utterly stunned. Mother was struck and blown away? She has never witnessed anything like this in her life. Lee turns his gaze toward her, and Kuro's heart jolts. He activates his ability, Hand of Evil, as dark power materializes and coils around her. She struggles in disbelief. How can an aura take physical form? The bindings are absolute. She cannot break free. Lee grips her cloak and tears it away. Kuro gasps, demanding to know why he is removing her clothes. He has already entangled himself with her sister. Does he intend to treat her the same way? Before she can react further, Lee sinks his fangs into her, draining her blood. Moments later, Kuro collapses to the ground, her strength completely spent. Wu Shui watches from above, her expression sharp and calculating. Bloodlust. This boy is born with demonic instincts. He truly is a vessel chosen by heaven. However, his mind is clearly unstable. He has lost his rationality and is fighting purely on instinct. The pain in her head still throbs faintly from the earlier blow. She needs to raise the intensity of her lesson. Otherwise, how can she force him to submit? She prepares another attack, but Lee notices instantly. He intercepts it with his bare hands. The impact explodes outward, the force scattering in all directions. Shui trembles as she watches. Something about her master is terribly wrong. Though his power is overwhelming, this presence feels alien, too violent, too absolute. Panic grips her heart. Lee's hand is mangled by the impact, blood dripping freely. Wu Shui sneers. Now that he has tasted pain, perhaps it will knock some sense back into him. She coldly tells him to call her mother and she might forgive him. Lee lets out a thunderous roar as rage erupts from him and his power surges violently. Wu Qiu watches with interest and remarks that even with one hand crippled, he still refuses to yield. That is fine. Wild horses are never easily tamed, no matter how feral a horse may be. Once it has been ridden even once, it can be ridden again and again. If she puts in a bit of effort today, it will only make things easier later. Lee lunges at her in a savage strike, but she effortlessly sidesteps, noting with mild amusement that even without full consciousness, he can still unleash such formidable attacks. He vaults into the air and assaults her again, yet she evades once more, dismissing it as too slow. Lee activates his ability Scarlet Glitter. Watching the attack unfold, Wu Qiu Shui admits she is momentarily dazzled. Now this, she thinks, is speed worthy of excitement. In the next instant, Lee appears behind her and strikes. She acknowledges the speed. It's impressive, but still inferior to her own. Then she notices her clothing has been torn apart. For the first time, she becomes visibly flustered. This is the first time a man has ever seen her body in such a state, yet this boy shows no reaction at all. The sheer disregard infuriates her. Anger flashes in her eyes as she casts a gravitational spell. Lee is slammed violently into the ground. She declares that there will be no more games. He has already seen what she is capable of. Now she will give him a small dose, just enough to test the waters. As Lee crashes to the ground, Wu Qiu Shui calmly retrieves an object and hurls it toward him. The moment it makes contact, Lee's body reacts violently. She giggles softly, remarking that the process will be somewhat painful, but the dosage should not be as severe as one Liniarin's. He only needs to focus on integrating it properly. He will become her greatest creation. She will mold him into the strongest warrior in existence. Witnessing this, Sui erupts in fury, demanding to know what Wu Qiu Shui has put inside her master. Balo snarls that using their lord as an experiment is unforgivable. What does she think their master is? Ross pales as realization dawns on her. That organization, it's over. Once fused, separation is impossible. Lee will become just like her. Wu Qiu Shui calmly observes Lee's transformation when Zhao Yefei suddenly arrives. Wu Qiu Shui glances at her and remarks that she is too late. Zhao Yefei shouts angrily, accusing her of never being allowed to give away the tissue of that thing. Wu Qiu Shui openly confirms it. That is the beast organization she meticulously cultivated through magic. Although she only incorporated a small amount of tissue, it was more than enough to bring him completely under her control. He will be just like her, 2 daughters, her most obedient child. Zhao Yifei demands that she return him immediately or face the consequences. Wu Qiu Shui scoffs, asking if she truly believes she has the right to threaten her. She is nothing more than a backup plan meant to replace her if needed. Suddenly, an overwhelming surge of energy floods the area as a girl appears, greeting Wu Qiu Shui with confidence. She is Lin Ying, a supreme-level evolver and renowned battle maiden. Ying humbly states that she does not know if she is qualified. Alongside her, another presence descends, supreme-level evolver Lu Zhongyu, known as White Rainbow Piercing the Sun. Lu Zhongyu draws his sword, remarking that he has not stretched his muscles in a long time. He will use Wu Qiu Shui as a practice subject. Wu Qiu Shi simply watches them in silence, her expression unreadable. Zhao Yifei once again demands that Wu Qiu Shi return Li Haoran to her, warning that otherwise she will have to bear the consequences. She has no other choice. Cooperating with the association might still preserve her dignity as a supreme. Wu Qiu Shui sneers, saying Zhao Yifei is still far too naive. Does she really believe that bringing both of them along would resolve everything? She may not stand a chance of victory against 3 supreme-level opponents at once, but that thing's structure has been continuously nourished by her magic. Once it fuses with the human body, no one can ever separate it again, and if she insists on leaving, then who among them can truly stop her? She unleashes her power. Zhao Yifei immediately shouts for the others to stop her. Liu Zhongyu scoffs, saying he does not need anyone to teach him what to do. He knows exactly how to act. Both of them launch their attacks toward Wu Qiushui, but she coldly remarks that they are already too late. In an instant, she disappears into the Book of Ella. Lin Yangying reacts without hesitation and jumps in after her. Seeing this, Zhao Yefei frowns sharply, stating that entering an enemy's alternate dimension directly is far too reckless. But her expression changes when she notices Li Haoran being dragged inside as well. Rage surges through her. Wu Qiushui was fortunate enough to escape alone, yet now she dares to take Li away too. That level of greed is unforgivable. Zhao Yifei grits her teeth and rushes into the dimension as well. Once everyone enters the alternate dimension of the Book of Ella, Wu Qiushui's crystal coffin and the followers summoned by Li Haoran immediately become ineffective. Sui collapses to the ground, realizing that all of her master's people have vanished. Now only Liu Zhongyu and she remain. Judging from his condition, she knows she cannot rely on him. Without hesitation, she leaps inside the dimension as well. The moment Shui enters, her eyes widen in shock. Is this the inside of the Book of Ella? Miko arrives at the scene, her expression grave as she says that her master's aura has become extremely strange. Just moments ago, even his breathing had stopped. He absolutely must not be allowed to come to harm. Her gaze locks onto the Book of Ella, and she realizes that this is where he disappeared. Without hesitation, she leaps inside as well. Watching all of them enter, Liu Zhongyu frowns in disbelief, wondering what this man even looks like to make so many women willing to risk their lives for him. He himself had been famously handsome in his youth, yet never had women gone this mad over him. Inside the Book of Ella, Shui urgently calls out to Li. Slowly, he opens his eyes and looks at her. Relief floods her face as she says he is finally awake. That old witch had stuffed something strange into his body. How is he feeling now? Is there anything that feels wrong or out of place? Li answers that he has not sensed anything unusual within his body yet, but there is one thing he cannot understand. Why has she become like this? Zhu has transformed into a succubus. Zhao Yifei steps forward and calls out to Li, saying that it is not just Shui. She too has become like this in order to save him. Li stares at her in utter shock when Lin Yingying adds quietly that she is the same. It is all because of him that they have ended up in such a shameful state. If this cannot be undone, then he will have to take responsibility. Li reels inwardly, realizing that his memory is completely blank from the moment he was struck by lightning. What happened in between? Was it because his skill was triggered? Just then, Nico calls out to him, startling everyone. She rushes forward, throws herself into his arms, and hugs him tightly, saying that his subordinate has finally found him. She was terribly worried and is beyond relieved that he is safe. Li asks if she really came all the way here from the castle. He apologizes, telling her he made her worry. Suddenly, a voice rings out, dripping with amusement. So gentle. This is unbearable. Li's eyes sharpen as he demands to know who said that and where they are. He tells them to stop playing tricks and reveal themselves at once. A lady succubus appears, smiling as she welcomes them to chapter 1 of the Book of Ella, Lust. She declares herself the god of lust. In this chapter, only by defeating her will they be qualified to advance to the next one, otherwise they will be trapped here forever. Lin Yingying clenches her fists, saying that since there is still a way to reverse this, she will defeat her. The god of lust laughs softly and replies that in the chapter of lust, they cannot defeat her by force. Yingying asks if force is useless. Then what exactly does she mean by that? The god of lust explains that each chapter of the book has its own unique rules. Her rule is lust. If they wish to leave, then they must play by her rules. A magic circle suddenly spreads across the ground, glowing ominously. From it, a bed materializes out of thin air. Staring at it, Yingying asks what she intends to do with a bed. Then realization dawns on her face and she instantly turns red with embarrassment. The god of lust smiles and declares that the bed is the battlefield. They can only leave if they defeat her in bed. She adds smugly that she is extremely skilled at this by their own standards. She is a seasoned professional. Are they truly confident they want to compete with her? Yingying grows even more flustered as everyone slowly turns to look at Li. Li asks why they are all staring at him. Zhao Yifei tells him plainly that he is probably the only one who can handle her. If he does not step up, then who will? Yingying nods in agreement. Li exhales and steps forward, saying that since things have already reached this point, he has no choice but to go. She may be an experienced driver, but he is not exactly inexperienced either. Facing her directly, he tells her to skip the compliments. Since this is a battle in bed, how exactly do they determine the winner? He has never competed like this before. She answers simply that whoever surrenders first, loses. In the next instant, Li appears right in front of her and asks if she is a succubus. She admits it openly. Li says he will try out something interesting he obtained during the association's assessment training. He activates his title. With this title equipped, a succubus's sensitivity toward him increases by 60%, while his own combat endurance rises by 50%. He tells her to make the first move. She scoffs and says he is merely bluffing. She will crush him completely in no time. She begins her assault, and Lee is instantly shaken, shocked by the overwhelming sensation. Is this really the power of the god of lust? Even with the title's bonuses, it is nearly unbearable. If he had not been wearing it, he would likely have already lost. The others begin cheering him on from the sidelines as the god of lust presses forward, her smile widening as the contest continues. The god of lust covers herself slightly as Ying anxiously asks what is happening. If Li Haoran loses, then none of them will be able to escape from here. Zhao Yafei admits that she does not understand this kind of competition either, but at this point, all they can do is place their trust in him. Inside the battlefield, Li does everything he can to endure. The god of lust watches him closely, clearly impressed, and praises him, saying he is no ordinary man. He actually managed to withstand her first wave of attacks. Today's competition is becoming more and more interesting. She then informs him that what he just endured was merely a warm-up. Now, she will use her ultimate technique to take him down. Without warning, she leans in and kisses him, confident in her ability. Her kiss carries a special power, one that briefly transports its victim back to their innocent, naive youth. She intends to make him fall in love with her on the spot. She attempts to cast her spell, but Benhida's deceptive necklace activates. The spell is resisted and reflected straight back at her. She freezes in shock. Why has she suddenly become so shy? Her thoughts spiral into chaos as she realizes she is the one who has lost her composure. How did this happen? She quickly snaps back, telling Lee not to act so high and mighty. She still has many techniques left. This time she will unleash her true ultimate move. Lee responds calmly, saying that he carries everyone's hopes on his shoulders. The god of lust releases her power, declaring that all life within this red cocoon will be infected by her emotions. He will become restless and agitated, then unbearably sensitive and excited. She will devour him completely in a single sweep. Lee acknowledges that she truly is a formidable opponent. But he is no ordinary person either. Living among hundreds of succubi, it was inevitable that he would face situations like this. He had long since prepared for them. He consumed several supplements in one motion. Watching him, she admits that he is far more capable than she expected. Lee steadies himself and says that now it is his turn. The god of lust's eyes widen in surprise. Lee launches his attack, and she immediately realizes that his offense is simply too overwhelming. She has never encountered such a ferocious assault before. Lee tells her to fight him to the death as he relentlessly presses forward, leaving her no room to breathe. Suddenly, he pauses in surprise. Outside, Ying feels the violent tremors and says the entire ground is shaking. Could their competition really be causing such an enormous commotion? Zhao Yifei admits that she does not fully understand what is happening either. However, Lee is a man who cannot be judged by common sense. If anyone could reach such a level, it would be him. Back inside, Lee declares that she has likely reached her limit. If she does not want to lose face completely, she should admit defeat now. She responds coldly, saying she still has one final trump card to play. Does he know why they were transformed into succubi in the first place? Lee is taken aback and asks what she plans to do to them. Suddenly, all four of them begin to feel something strange spreading through their bodies. Lee demands to know what she did to them and why her expression has suddenly become so calm. She explains that their senses are now linked to hers. Any harm he inflicts on her will be shared among all five of them. This is no longer a one-on-one duel. It is now 1 against 5. Now, she says, it is her turn to take control of the game. He can simply relax and enjoy himself. In response, Lee grabs her hand and asks what nonsense she is talking about. There are hundreds of succubi waiting for him outside. Why would he hang himself on a single tree? He pins her down, his gaze unwavering, and declares that he intends to win. He tells her that he will take her down in a single decisive blow, but she asks him to wait. After a brief pause, she speaks again, saying that after navigating the sea of desire for countless years, this is the first time she has ever encountered an opponent like him. She admits that she has lost this battle and accepts the outcome wholeheartedly. She asked for his name, saying she wants to know the man who defeated her so clearly and unequivocally. Lee introduces himself. Upon hearing it, she says that he truly deserves to be called the man who defeated her. Even his name, she remarks, sounds grand and majestic. Lee then steps outside and immediately notices everyone else crawling on their knees. He asks what kind of behavior this is, telling them that they are moving on to the next chapter. Nico explains that it is not as if they wanted to act this way, but the shock they just experienced was simply too overwhelming for them to control themselves. Sweat adds that even the 2 supreme-level seniors experience this kind of simulation as well. Lee says that judging by their condition, they have clearly been deeply traumatized. In a situation like this, only a different kind of stimulation can wake them up. He apologizes in advance and begins striking them. After a barrage of slaps, Zhao Yifei and Lin Yingying finally regain their senses. Li apologizes to both of them, explaining that due to the urgency of the situation, he had no other choice but to hit them. Yifei replies that it is all right. Extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. Yingying quickly adds that they should not talk about it anymore. The god of lust then addresses Li, saying that he is the first man to ever break through her defenses. He is truly astonishing. She tells him that she will now take him to the next chapter, but he should pray for good luck in the chapters that follow. Yingying barely has time to process those words when she suddenly finds herself in a completely different place. This is chapter 2, Gluttony. Food floats everywhere around her as she stares in disbelief, wondering what exactly is going on. Yingying looks around puzzled. Why is there nothing but food here? Where did everyone else go? It feels as if she's the only one present. She glances at the spread, thinking that even in books, this amount of food would likely make her gain weight. Eating just a little shouldn't hurt, she reasons, and takes a bite. Wow, that's delicious, she murmurs. Just as she's savoring it, a beast suddenly appears behind her, growling. Who's there? Startled, she spins around. The god of gluttony bellows, furiously asking she ate his donut. He seethes, his voice booming as he declares that all the food here, her included, belongs to him, and now he's going to devour her as well. He begins sucking in all the food around him with terrifying force. Yingying's eyes widen. What a powerful suction, she thinks. Is this beast trying to pull her into its mouth too? Anger flashes across her face. She clenches her fists and prepares to fight back. Meanwhile, Nico finds herself in chapter 3, Jealousy. She looks around, bewildered. If this isn't the Succubus village already destroyed, then how did she end up here? Before she can ponder further, the god of jealousy manifests, taking the form of Vera. Nico, she asks coldly, wasn't she supposed to find Li Haoran? Why is she here all alone? Nico frowns, asking, wasn't she at the Red Castle? How did she got here? Vera interrupts sharply, saying she can come here, but she's not worthy. Nico starts to explain, but Vera cuts her off, saying no explanation is needed. What she means no longer matters. She has never understood why from childhood to adulthood she always been better than her at everything. Yet she always draw all the attention and affection. She's the one who deserves Master's favor, not her. A chill runs down Nico's spine as Vera continues saying, if she disappear here, perhaps Master will finally fall for her. Elsewhere, Shui finds herself in chapter 4, Laziness. She is stretched out comfortably, basking in the sun and sand. This feels incredible, she sighs. So relaxing as if only she could lie here forever. Suddenly, she jolts to her senses. Wait, this isn't a vacation. She came here with her master to face Wu Qiu Shui. How could she possibly be sunbathing now? Before she can react further, a girl appears, smiling lazily. What's the rush? She asks. Wouldn't it be a shame to waste such a beautiful and wonderful moment?